On day 1, I spawned in as Vegeta. Tremble before the prince of all Saiyans. What? Only 5 hearts? That doesn't make sense. Isn't he supposed to be super powerful? I guess I'm gonna have to do some serious training if I want to live up to the real Vegeta's reputation. Where's an old martial master when you need him? Is that one over there? He looks like he might know some wisdom. It's me, Zozo. I'm looking for someone to train me. Are you worthy to train a Saiyan?
No, I am not worthy to train a Saiyan, but I am worthy to capture one and make him fight to his doom.
This is no martial arts master. He's a wicked wizard, and he's attacking me with magic.
You're mine, Zozo. I've captured warriors far more capable than you.
Not today, wizard. Nowhere to run. I've got to jump off this cliff to get away. Hopefully I can fly. Vegeta can fly in the show, so why not? Here goes everything. Uh-oh, I can't fly yet. Ah, I'm falling. I guess Vegeta doesn't take fall damage. Must be the ability I start with. It'll probably upgrade to flying later. That wizard said something about capturing Saiyans. Maybe he has some of my friends, or even Goku. But Goku isn't Vegeta's friend. He's more like a rival. Every tough guy needs a good rival, and I guess for now I'll have to settle for that wizard guy. I'll rest at the bottom of this cliff until morning. On day 2, I start punching trees and rocks, and get the supplies to make my wooden pickaxe. I think I'll build my base somewhere away from this cliff, since I don't want to run into the wizard again before I've gotten stronger. I'll need wide open spaces to fire my ki blast, so this rocky desert will do nicely. There are some nasty coyotes here, but I'm a Saiyan. I can beat a few coyotes barehanded. Confusing me for just another helpless villager, the coyotes attacked, but I was ready. It looks like I have some buffs to my punching damage, probably from being a martial artist. That'll come in handy. Get out of here, coyotes. This is my turf.
Okay, we're going. You don't need to be such a jerk about it.
You should have known who you were messing with. With my pickaxe, I start mining for sandstone. That will be the main material that I use when making my base. At least until I can go underground and get some more durable blocks. There are some cactus blocks here too, but I don't have any armor or weapons, so I'm just gonna leave them alone for now. If I decide later that I want green dye, then I'll be sure to start farming those cactus blocks. I end the day by building a fence around where I want the base to be, and a tiny tent to sleep in. When it's done, this will be the perfect gym to train as a Super Saiyan warrior. On day 3, I travel to a nearby forest to find some more wood for my fences. If there's a river I can redirect into the desert, that'll also be a good future project. Of course, I wouldn't be Vegeta if I wasn't also looking for a fight. Saiyans get stronger the more they battle tough enemies after all. That giant tarantula should make for a worthy opponent. Spiders give me the creeps, but Vegeta isn't afraid of anything. Let's go, tarantula. I started punching and doing some damage, but I was also losing too many hearts too quickly. Oh no, he's biting me. Gotta run. Didn't think a spider would be giving me so much trouble. But is it really fair that he has 6 more arms than me? While I was escaping from the tarantula, I found that there was an entire monkey caught in its web. Monkeys are like distant cousins to Saiyans, so of course I have to help him. I punch away the webs and set that monkey free. Be free, monkey. Oh, I guess he has something to say. What's up, new monkey friend?
Thank you for releasing me. My name is Stu, and I was chased here by an evil wizard.
I'm Zozo. I've seen that wizard too. Why was he after you?
He thought I was a Saiyan, so he tried to kidnap me.
Well, you're safe now. Why don't you come back to my base with me?
Sure, but only if you've got bananas. Stu the monkey is bananas about bananas.
On days 4 to 5, I made the fence surrounding my base bigger in order to make space to build a house for Stu. Full of bananas, obviously.
Yeah, baby. Stu loves bananas.
That should keep him entertained, while the real Saiyan focuses on important things, like getting so strong that I can totally send that wizard flying into space when I next see him. The problem is, a bigger base meant that I was much closer to the cactus blocks, and the cactoids were starting to become aggressive. And I don't have enough buckets of water to tame them off. Back off, you greedy cactoids! The fence can keep the little ones out, but when night comes, the local cactyrant is going to transform and attack me. Those guys are no joke, and they attack at night when the sun can't make me stronger. Or is it just Goku that powers up with the sun? Either way, those creepy cactus creatures have the advantage, unless I take my arsenal up a notch. I have until night falls to craft a weapon from the materials I've mined. Nobody wants to fight a cactyrant barehanded after all, damage buffs or not. There's plenty of stone around, so I use some stone blocks and a stick to make a stone sword and some tools. I wait until it gets dark, and then I go out and face the cactyrant. I defeat him using my new weapon. He drops boots of swiftness. Wow, that's unexpected. Now I can run around at high speeds with the best of them. Bet that evil wizard would never see this coming. Woohoo! If only I knew where I was going. On days 6 to 8, I'm deep in the desert gathering up sand to craft some pockets of sand. Vegeta doesn't always fight fair, so I want to be able to throw sand at my enemies, and I might need to, because here comes that evil wizard from earlier, and it looks like he's riding on a go-kart.
There you are, Saiyan. This time you won't get away.
You'll never capture the Prince of Saiyans. But the scary thing is, he actually might. No matter how fast I try to run with my boots of swiftness, it's like he's always catching up to me.
I told you there'd be no escape this time.
That vehicle is really fast, so I have to lead him to the cactus patch where he has to drive more carefully.
You think some puny cactuses will stop me, Zozo?
The plural is cacti, actually, Dark Wizard. Maybe you need to go back to school.
I'm evil. I don't have to get things right. I do things wrong on purpose.
He throws a spell at me from long range, and now I'm taking damage. I hide behind a tall cactus, then I throw a pocket of sand at him. Yes, it looks like that threw off his steering and made him stop the go-kart.
Well, I'm not going to drive when I can't see. That's just basic road safety.
The effect will wear off soon, so I'm going to get out of here. Thank goodness he doesn't know about my base. On days 9 to 10, I still don't know why that wizard wants to capture me. How can I be the Prince of all Saiyans when I'm afraid to fight the first guy I met in the world? Stu thinks I'm being too down on myself.
Don't worry, Zozo. You're doing a lot better than I could. You saved me from that spider, and I'm sure you'll save us both from that wizard too.
Well, maybe, but I think I should build a statue to get my mind off of things.
Get your mind off of things like being afraid you won't defeat the Dark Wizard forever and all time?
You're not helping me out, Stu.
Sorry. Stu does believe in you, though.
I think I'll build a statue of Vegeta's father, King Vegeta. That way I can show everyone who comes to my base how powerful the Saiyan people once were. It might encourage me too, who knows? But this won't be just any statue. The King of Saiyans needs a huge statue made out of strong material. I better start mining stone and gathering all the materials in my base. And who knows, maybe all this mining will help make me stronger too. It's good exercise. I'm also going to get a source of water in the base by redirecting a nearby river. My Saiyan fists are super strong, so these blocks are like nothing to me. I also made myself a bigger place to live and constructed a house out of sandstone. And now that I have more water in the base, I can start taming the nearby cactoids with buckets of it. You nerds work for me now. On days 11 to 12, a Viking villager arrived outside my base with a story to tell. He had apparently traveled a long way seeking my base.
You must be the Saiyan I've heard about. I am known as Charles, and my people are the Vikings. Days ago, I escaped from a terrible place where the Dark Wizard Baraka is making all the greatest warriors in the land fight until only one remains. He continues to gather the mightiest fighters he can find and pit them against each other.
Why is he doing that?
Who knows? Before it was my turn to fight, I ran away as fast as I could. Now I have come to you with a warning. Baraka will stop at nothing to capture you. With a true Saiyan in his collection, he'd be able to make the battles even more violent.
So that's where all the strong people are hiding? Interesting.
It's strange. There was another one like you there, except he wore robes of orange.
Wait, Goku is there? But he's my tough guy rival. No one gets to defeat him until I defeat him.
I guess you'd better start training then.
For now, I'll still avoid getting captured, but it sounds like the wizard is holding a tournament for powerful fighters. I better hope I can qualify. In the meantime, how about we get you some water, Charles? You look exhausted after all that.
Thank you, Zozo. It seems you truly are the hero people say you are.
On days 13 to 15, I train non-stop to make myself even stronger, because that is what a Z-fighter does when push comes to shove. Cutting down some of the cactuses is great training for swordsmanship. I can't just rely on my fists if I want to win this thing. And I also can't let my opponent look down on the Prince of Saiyans, so I go back to that giant tarantula and challenge it to a rematch. This time, I'm armed and ready. Bring it on, you 8-legged freak. I start the fight by throwing a sand pocket, and then I run in, swinging my sword. I'm doing a lot more damage now, and my ki blast is also very helpful. Not so tough now, are you, Spidey? It tries to trap me in a web, but my sword can cut straight through like it's no problem. The bigger they come, the harder they fall. This spider is toast. Whoa, I feel like my power level is rising. This is gonna be good. I've become Super Saiyan, with 15 hearts and way stronger attacks. Tremble before me. I'm the legend that all of my enemies of the Saiyans fear. I know that Vegeta can still get a lot stronger than this, but the change in appearance shows I've made some real progress towards my goal. I'm going to prove that I'm the strongest warrior in the world. Even Goku won't be able to defeat me when I'm fully leveled up. On days 16 to 19, I dig deep into the mine in search of materials. If I can get my hands on some metal, I'll be able to have better gear to match my brand new Super Saiyan form. It feels good to be a legend. The way forward is infested with skeletons, so it looks like I'll have to take them down first. Out of my way, skeletons. You're all just jealous that you don't have muscles like Vegeta. I guess that really struck a nerve with the leader of the skeleton horde.
You think you can come in here and make fun of us, Zozo? We're working for the Dark Wizard, and he sent us here to capture you.
Well, tell him he should have sent better. Or don't, because I'm sending you back to oblivion. The skeletons that charged me directly were easy enough to deal with, but those archers were always a pain. It's a good thing that I have Key Blast to return fire. No bones about it. You guys are done for. I take out the ones at close range and then mop up the rest. But it looks like their leader got away. He's probably going to tell the Dark Wizard that I'm a force to be reckoned with.
You haven't seen the last of me, Zozo. I'll be back.
Now it's time to give my armor an upgrade to full iron. While I'm at it, I'll craft an iron sword and iron pickaxe too. Iron everything. Oh, the irony. On days 20 to 22, I was surprised to see Charles the Viking return to the base. What's going on?
Be careful, Zozo. Baraka somehow found out where I was, and now he's followed me here to the base.
Get inside. I'll handle this. Charles went inside the base. I went to go face the Dark Wizard Abraka alone. He was waiting just outside. I'm ready for you this time, Dark Wizard. Show me what you've got.
Foolish Saiyan, you are light years away from being able to defeat me.
We'll see about that. I threw a sand pocket at Abraka to blind him, then followed up with a Key Blast shot. To my surprise, he wasn't there. He was right behind me instead.
You've met the Viking, so you know why I'm here. You know about the battle to find out who's the strongest fighter in the world.
I swung my iron sword at him, but he avoided it.
Will you accept my challenge?
Oh, so now you're giving me the choice.
It's because you've grown a bit stronger, Zozo. If I fought you now, I couldn't go easy on you.
Is that right? I'm not afraid. Bring it on. I threw another pocket of sand at the Dark Wizard, and this time he was blinded. I followed up with a few powerful strikes from my sword. Yeah, I really got him.
That's enough. Don't make me destroy you, Saiyan.
The wizard summoned an explosive block of TNT. I ran for cover as it exploded. When I looked back over, he was gone. Was he really holding back, or just afraid of what the Prince of Saiyans could do? Either way, I would happily take him on again and find out. On days 23 to 26, I was finally able to start farming the cactoids and cactyrants for materials. And this is the fruit of my labor. No, not the prickly pears, even though they did drop a lot of those. Using the thorns that the cactyrant dropped, and with a little bit of crafting, I can make a thorn shooter. Looks like building a training center in the middle of the desert has its perks. This new thorn shooter will be my ranged weapon of choice. I don't know what kind of totally crazy warriors I'll be facing when, and if I take the Dark Wizard up on his challenge. But it'll be good to have some variety in my attack options.
Stu thinks that thorn shooter is really cool. I'm impressed.
Thanks, Stu. Let's go test out this weapon in the desert. Who knows? Maybe we'll even find some strong enemies to defeat. Me and Stu headed out to the desert and made a few targets out of sandstone. They'd be a perfect way to focus my shooting skills. Bam! Bam! Look at those targets go down. This thorn shooter is so powerful.
Hey, can Stu try that thorn shooter? I've got a score to settle with another monkey back in the forest.
Yeah, maybe I should keep it for now, Stu. I feel like things are about to get even crazier. And if you'd like to find more of my videos, you should like, subscribe, and type ZOZO in the search bar. It never fails. On days 27 to 31, I start to add some of the more durable material to the statue of King Vegeta. I want to make sure his armor is absolutely perfect. For the blue parts of the armor, I've got to get my hands on some diamonds. But that's a really rare material, so it looks like it's time to go underground. Stu, hold down the fort while I'm away.
You can count on Stu. It's not like I'll monkey around while you're away.
Venture down into the underground, farther than I've ever gone before, until I am greeted by the bright light of orange lava. Somewhere in these lava caves, I should be able to find a vein of diamond. It looks like a couple of magma cubes don't appreciate me trespassing down here. If the cactus blocks damage me when I touch them, there's no way these things don't. The last thing I want is to touch any kind of magma in a place like this. Gotta put my thorn shooter skills to the test and take them out at a distance. Magma cubes always split into smaller magma cubes when they take hits, so I won't keep moving until they are completely gone. My key blast area attack helps with that. Just past the area where I thought the magma cubes... Wait, where are the diamonds? Huh? No diamonds down here. Well, then I guess I'm gonna need to find another way to get the blue for the King Vegeta statue's armor. Wait, I have a plan. If I mix sand, gravel, and some blue dye together, I can make blue concrete blocks. That'll do just fine for now. On days 32 to 35, I felt tired from all the farming and training I did, so I couldn't access my Super Saiyan form. I'll have to rest soon, but for now, I received another visit from my old nemesis, the skeleton that ran away from me in the mines. Still working for the Dark Wizard, I see.
You're gonna get it now, Zozo. I brought the Desert Lord with me, and he doesn't take too kindly to some Saiyan wannabe building bases in his desert.
Well, too bad. I am the Prince of Saiyans, and I don't take orders from the likes of you guys.
Then I guess we'll have to fight you.
The Desert Lord ran at me. I won't lie, he was big, and I felt a little intimidated. Thankfully, I didn't have to fight him with my sword. I was prepared for a battle, and my thorn shooter had full ammunition. Eat my thorns, Desert Lord.
No way! You've got a thorn shooter! No fair! Let's mosey on out of here.
Cowards! The skeleton and the Desert Lord ran away. Hopefully they won't be back again. It looks like some of the other mobs have returned as well. The gang of coyotes are back. Didn't I already teach you guys a lesson?
We know, Zozo, you're very strong, but that's why we need your help.
You coyotes need my help?
Yes, our friend the tribal gremlin was taken by the Dark Wizard's second in command, the champion Colossus. He's holding him in his fortress until the Dark Wizard wants him to fight.
You took some gremlin before he got to me? I guess I'm going to have to see this for myself. Your friend is as good as rescued. On days 36 to 39, I set off to go save the tribal gremlin from the champion Colossus. Those coyotes are going to owe me one. Whoa, is that the champion Colossus's base up there on that hill? I really need to start expanding my base if I want it to look like that. He had a pair of iron golems guarding the gate, and there were gargoyles on the rooftop. I don't know what I was expecting from the Dark Wizard's henchman, but this guy must be really serious. I can't just fight my way in there. I'd be totally outnumbered. I'm going to need a solid plan if I want to get in there and save the coyote's friend. I made my way around the entire mountain, searching for any less guarded areas that I can sneak into. On the far side of the fortress is a tunnel, but I'll still need to avoid those gargoyles that are flying around on patrol. I guess I'll have to use a frontiersman's cap to engage stealth mode. Sorry, raccoons, your sacrifice will not be soon forgotten. I'll need your tails to make the cap, and if I can use this to free the tribal gremlin, it'll all be worth it. But what if something even scarier is waiting for me down in the tunnel? Wait, I said earlier Vegeta isn't afraid of anything. I need to be courageous. The tribal gremlin and all the coyotes depend on me. Tomorrow, it's go time. On days 40 to 43, I'm sneaking through the fortress and avoiding detection from the mobs that the champion Colossus has been using to guard this place. I'm still not scared, obviously, but if they know I'm here, they might suspect the tribal gremlin of planning an escape and do something to hurt him. The coyotes would never let me live that one down. Using the thorn shooter, I can pick the mobs off from a distance without them ever knowing I was there. As long as I'm doing it one by one, of course. First, I take out a couple gargoyles. Then, I finish off the iron golem, guarding the entrance to the fortress's dungeon. I've got to be careful though, because even though these guards are nothing to worry about, the champion Colossus is somewhere in this place, and he has to be almost as strong as the Dark Wizard. After a whole lot of sneaking about, I find my way to the tribal gremlin's cell. Hey, gremlin, up and at them! The coyotes sent me here to rescue you.
Ah, good. I was getting tired of waiting for a good fight. Let's get out of here.
You say that like you could have left at any time.
I've never slept in a fortress before. It was kinda cool, honestly.
Well, I'm building the ultimate training gym out in the desert. If you need a better place to crash, you should stay at my base. The tribal gremlin seems sure of himself. Either way, we make tracks and find our way back to the coyotes.
Thanks, Zozo.
On days 44 to 49, I continue crafting more blue concrete for the statue of King Vegeta. He is going to look so regal. It'll be the centerpiece of my base when it's finally finished, but a job this big requires the help of many friends. I had Stu gather fur from the forest that I could use to line the king statue's tail.
Stu can get you all the fur you need. Just don't ask whose it is.
Charles, on the other hand, went to the ocean for some lapis lazuli stone. That way I had 2 shades of blue to work with for the armor.
Blue is my favorite color. Vikings love the sea after all, and I'm no exception.
While everyone else is gathering materials for the statue, the tribal gremlin and the coyotes are building a sandstone wall around the perimeter of the base.
Does this look good, Zozo? Don't worry, guys. I think it looks great, no matter what anyone says.
I've got a few larger rooms for training and keeping spare weapons, and I also reused some of the materials from my fences to build a pen for the tamed cactoids. Stu also came back from his last trip with something I'd never seen before.
Hey, Zozo.
What is it, Stu?
I found a bunch of banana blocks in the forest and thought we could use them to make even more bananas.
This is your wildest idea yet, Stu. But I guess having enough bananas to go around never hurt anybody.
That's the spirit. Bananas to all, and to all a banana.
On days 50 to 53, the Dark Wizard finally reared his ugly head. And he wasn't alone. By his side were all of the henchmen I'd come to know and hate. The skeleton leader.
I told you I'd be back, and now I'm back. Again.
The Desert Lord. He doesn't say much. And most terrifying of all, the champion Colossus. He's probably pretty upset after I managed to sneak into his fortress and save the tribal gremlin.
I'm pretty upset that you managed to sneak into my fortress and save the tribal gremlin.
Told ya.
The time for your reckoning has come, Super Saiyan Zozo. I may have offered you a choice before, but now you have stolen 2 of my fighters away. That is unforgivable.
Well, have you thought that maybe those guys didn't want to be taken prisoner?
Intriguing. Now perish.
I felt my power rising, and once again, I turned back into my Super Saiyan form, ready for the fight. The Dark Wizard's forces attacked the base. Everyone did their best to repel the attack, but the champion Colossus was simply unstoppable. I couldn't worry about him now, because Skeleton and Desert Lord had closed into melee range and were looking to take me down.
Yeah, no match for us this time, Zozo.
I drew my iron sword and took out the Desert Lord without much difficulty. The skeleton was a lot tougher, but even he couldn't withstand the power of a Super Saiyan. Speaking of Super Saiyan, I felt my power level grow once again as I buffed up to Super Saiyan Blue. I've got 30 hearts and I can fly now. How do you like me now? I was so excited that I almost didn't notice that the Dark Wizard and the Champion Colossus were retreating, and they had taken Charles with them. Charles, no! On days 54 to 57, myself and the other NPCs in the base did our best to repair the walls and training room. Nothing could repair the loss of Charles the Viking though. We had to get our friend back. He didn't deserve to fight other warriors until the end, and he definitely didn't deserve to fight Goku before I got to. I went to the tribal gremlin, half wondering how he didn't get captured when he had already gotten taken beforehand. How can we get Charles back?
It's simple. We go and save him because we want to, and we succeed because we believe we can.
That doesn't sound like a real plan.
The true warrior does not need plans, only the will to triumph.
Okay, look, DG, I just need to know if you have any idea where this Tournament of Champions is being held.
Fine. The truest warriors know that there is a Colosseum deep in the Nether, where only the mightiest fighters have gone. I think Baraka has probably chosen that place as the location of his tournament.
Nether Colosseum. Got it. How do I get there?
The only functioning portal to the Nether in this world was inside of the Champion Colossus's fortress. After you broke in, they most likely destroyed it so you couldn't follow them.
Well, there has to be a second portal. Otherwise, how could they get back to the Nether with Charles?
Think of it this way, Zozo. You could scour the entire world for that second portal, or you could be a true warrior and build one yourself.
Well, I guess I do want to be a true warrior. Building another portal it is. On days 58 to 62, I finally found an underground cavern with some diamond veins. Jackpot! I know that lava caves can be dangerous, but they're perfect for finding diamonds and also the obsidian I need to make the outside of the portal. But of course, diamonds come first. I'll need a diamond pickaxe to mine those obsidian blocks, and full diamond gear wouldn't hurt either. In addition to the magma cubes from last time, there are a few other mobs deep inside the lava caves, like these fire elementals that really meant to do me harm. But now that I'm a Super Saiyan 2nd grade, my buffs to melee attacks without a weapon are through the roof. I can punch cactuses bare hand, magma cubes barehanded, and now even the fire elementals can be defeated with just punches. After I dealt with those mobs, I got back to mining, and before too long, I had all the diamond ore that I needed to make myself a diamond pickaxe. And since I'm here, I think a newly upgraded Super Saiyan deserves some super cool diamond armor and weapons to match. That's right, I'm now decked out in full diamond armor, and a diamond sword too. Next, I rerouted some of the water in my base into the lava caves, creating a field of obsidian blocks ripe for mining. I'll be ready to make that nether portal in no time. But there are a few last things I need to do before I can start my quest to finally defeat the Dark Wizard. On days 63 to 66, I take a break from building my portal to continue work on the statue of King Vegeta. Wow, it really is starting to look like him. I wonder what the real King Vegeta would say if he were to see us now.
This is King Vegeta saying, subscribe to Zozo for more cool adventures like this. For the sake of all Saiyans, you should hit the red button and then the bell.
On days 67 to 70, it's about time I went to the Nether and settled this. I craft a flint and steel out of materials I found in the caves. Then, I gathered my obsidian blocks and arranged them into the shape of a nether portal. I used the flint and steel to light the obsidian, and boom! The Nether awaits. Not too far from the other side of the portal was a giant coliseum over a huge lake of lava. Of course, it had to be close, since Baraka was kidnapping warriors from nearby. But I never would have found it if I wasn't in the Nether. I guess me and the tribal gremlin are even now, since he gave me the hint about this place. Don't worry, Charles, I'm on my way. I made my way toward the Colosseum and found that it was guarded by a pair of zombie Spartans. No doubt the undead remains of warriors that had faced their demise in the Dark Wizard's arena. But they weren't going to stop me. Thorn Shooter, go! Blam, blam, blam! With a few whacks of my diamond sword, I knocked them down for good. On days 71 to 74, I stepped into the Colosseum only to be surrounded by a cheering crowd of skeletons in the stands. The arena itself was empty, except for another fighter who was standing not so far away from me. He looked really tough, too.
Are you my next opponent?
I'm Zozo, and I've come to rescue my friend Charles the Viking.
I don't know who that is, but I have heard of you, Zozo. Long have I dreamed of fighting a Saiyan warrior.
There's no talking you out of this, huh?
Of course not. I am willing to fight any worthy opponent until the end, and that goes for you too.
The Aztec warrior ran towards me and attacked. He was strong, so I took some damage. I had to play this smart, so I flew into the air and shot him with the thorn shooter a couple of times. Then I landed behind him and hit him with a punch. I drew my diamond sword, and the two of us faced off.
You fight as well as the legends of your people suggest, Zozo.
I don't understand. Isn't Goku here? If you wanted to fight a Saiyan, why don't you fight him?
There is no Goku here. I would have remembered facing another Super Saiyan before you.
But Charles said there was a guy in an orange robe.
I did face such an adversary, but he was no Saiyan. If he was, I probably would have been defeated, like I have been defeated now.
And with that, the Aztec warrior fell. No more time for arena battles. I had to go find Charles. On days 75 to 78, I went to the barracks below the Colosseum and found Charles down there among the prisoners.
Zozo, thank goodness. I knew you'd come to rescue me.
Let's go home, Charles. I've done my share of fighting in this arena, and I say we don't give the Dark Wizard any more satisfaction. We ran backwards towards the arena, but as misfortune would have it, there was an ambush waiting for us. The champion Colossus stood ready to take us on. Well, take me on anyway. Did you think I was gonna have Charles fight this guy? Get behind me, Charles. It's time for Super Saiyan Blue Zozo to show the champion Colossus who the strongest fighter in the world is.
Strongest fighter in the world? Well, that would be me. This isn't the first tournament that the Dark Wizard of Baraka has held. I was the winner of the last one, and he let me go in return for becoming his eternal servant.
That's a sad story, but you're no match for me. I'm stronger than any warrior here. You can't beat me.
We shall see. On guard, Zozo the Saiyan.
The champion Colossus was definitely the strongest enemy I had fought up until this point, but there was no way I'd let him beat me. Too much was on the line. I reached for another pocket of sand, but I was out. Oh no! The champion Colossus hit me hard and sent me flying. Literally flying, because I can fly.
Is that all you've got, Zozo?
Leave Zozo alone, you big jerk.
Charles rushed in for a surprise attack, but it was all in vain. The champion Colossus hit him once, and he was struck down on the spot. Charles! I wouldn't let Charles throw his life away for nothing. I hit the champion Colossus with my diamond sword over and over until finally he collapsed. He was defeated.
Good job, Zozo. You avenged me.
Charles, you're gonna be fine.
I was destined for Valhalla the moment I was captured. You are a true warrior. It's always been you. Take care of yourself, Zozo.
And with that, Charles was gone. I made my way out of the arena and back towards my nether portal. On day 79 to 84, I was still in the nether when I heard the wicked laughter of the Dark Wizard of Baraka echo behind me.
I've finally done it!
What is it now? I turned and saw the Dark Wizard had grown to a massive size, and he was brimming with power. Holy moly, what happened to you? He cruelly stared down at me like I was an ant he was about to step on.
Now that all the greatest fighters in the world have perished in my arena, I, Dark Wizard of Baraka, have been able to absorb their martial arts and become master of magic and might. I am now the perfect being.
You're not perfect. You're not even close. You just stole the strength of a bunch of other people. You don't deserve to have their power, especially if you had to destroy them for it.
It is not for you to decide what I deserve. I have become a true warrior, and that means that all I need now is the will to triumph. Compared to that, what do you have, Saiyan, with that meager power you've gathered?
Maybe I'll never be the strongest, but at least I know who I am. I'm Zozo, a Super Saiyan, a Z-Fighter, and a truer warrior than you'll ever be.
You'll be nothing once I've destroyed you for good.
He stepped forward with the stolen power of all the fallen warriors. I knew I couldn't fight him just yet, so I turned and ran through my nether portal. As soon as I got to the other side, I used my diamond sword to break the portal, trapping the Dark Wizard in the netherworld. That should hold him for now. On days 85 to 89, I told the others at the base that Charles didn't make it back. They understood what it meant. He was in Valhalla and at peace. What mattered now was making sure that Baraka paid dearly for all the warriors he had sacrificed to gain his dark power.
Hey Zozo, Stu knows how bad you must feel about the rescue mission, so Stu decided to cheer you up by giving you a powerful new weapon. This will definitely help you defeat the Dark Wizard.
Stu gave me a banana bazooka, which was many times more powerful than my thorn shooter. This would be my new ranged weapon. Thanks, too.
Like Stu always says, bananas make everything better.
Later on, I completed the statue of King Vegeta, finally adding the diamond blocks he deserved to his armor. Nice! I had a feeling that the Dark Wizard would be on his way soon, so I went to seek the advice of the tribal gremlin. TG, I need your help.
The true warrior has finally arrived.
What?
I'm speaking about you, Zozo. You went down to that Colosseum and fought and returned. That means that you are now the strongest fighter in the world. You are the champion who must set things right.
What can I do? Baraka still has so much power.
You have power too. You just need to awaken it. There is a great waterfall behind the high cliffs. If you train there, you will be able to unlock your full potential.
On days 90 to 94, I followed the tribal gremlin's advice and sought out the great waterfall. The cliffs were really steep, so I had to use my flying abilities to climb up them. It's a good thing I still don't take any damage when I fall. Thinking back, this was the place I started my journey almost 100 days ago. It was remarkable to think how much I'd done in all that time. I had made friends, won battles, and even traveled to a whole different dimension. It was crazy. There were many waterfalls around this area, but somehow my spirit could tell which one would actually unlock my full potential. I trained my skills with both my sword and my punches, and I could feel myself growing stronger by the day. This is it. I'm going to become the true warrior I was always meant to be. At one point, a few giant lizards attacked me and tried to interrupt my training, but I saw this as another test of my power, and I fought them all off. The banana bazooka that Stu gave me was an excellent weapon for dealing with enemies at a distance. Of course, my melee attacks worked just as well. I will be the one who defeats the Dark Wizard. Me, Zozo, I've got this. When I finally reached the last day of training, I knew that I was the most powerful that I had ever been. A magical halo appeared in my inventory when it was over, probably to show that I had achieved my potential. On days 95 to 97, I was at the base when the coyotes told me that they had found another portal to the Nether, deep in an emerald cave across the desert. It must have been the same portal that the Dark Wizard used to take Charles back to the Nether when the one in the fortress of the Colossus was destroyed. Without a doubt, the Dark Wizard would be using that portal to re-enter the world and wreak havoc. I wasn't about to let that happen though, and prepared to meet him there and settle our score. But first, I had to enchant my gear and put the finishing touches on my base. Using the diamonds and obsidian from the lava caves, I crafted a few enchanted books and gave my diamond armor the Thorns enchantment. It would sacrifice durability, but in exchange, those who hit me would suffer damage. By now, I had enough green dye from the cactus blocks that I was able to make a green carpet across all the floors of the inside of the building. There were now enough bananas and prickly pears to feed an entire village, and with the help of the tribal gremlin, I was able to plant a lovely garden in the shadow of the King Vegeta statue. This place was now the perfect gym for martial artists and warriors everywhere to come and train, and I'd make sure that the world would be safe enough for them to do so. On day 98, I got some last-minute training in with the tribal gremlin. As a fellow warrior, I respected everything he had done for me until now. I promise when I return, nobody will have to worry about the Dark Wizard ever again. Please cheer for me in the comments and let me know what character you want to see me play as next. Tomorrow would be the test of whether or not I was a true warrior, so I spent the rest of the day getting ready. It was almost time for the final battle. On day 99, I was in the Emerald Cave, standing in front of the Nether Portal, when the Dark Wizard finally stepped through.
Zozo, this is a surprise. You ran from me last time.
Never again. I'm going to stop you right here. If you don't want to fight, then go back to the Nether and leave us alone.
What fun would that be? I need to be on this side of the portal, where weaklings like you live.
That's where you're wrong, Baraka. I'm no weakling. I'm a true warrior, and I use my power to protect people. You will go no further. I fired the banana bazooka a few times to slow the Dark Wizard down. As he got closer, I drew my sword and attacked.
You think you could beat me in that form? Pathetic Saiyan.
His attacks were pretty strong, but my thorn enchantment did damage back to him.
Oh, clever trick, but it won't be enough.
Maybe you're right, Dark Wizard. But then again, this isn't even my final form. I started up the halo and allowed the power of my potential to flow through me. My spirit awakened one last time and gave me the power to become Ultra Ego Vegeta. 100 hearts, full power. Here we go. I will not let you destroy this world. With my new Ultra Fists, I punched the Dark Wizard over and over. This is for Charles! The Dark Wizard tried to strike back, but in Ultra Ego mode, the more damage I take, the more damage my attacks dealt.
No, all my power, it's being used against me.
It's not your power, but this is mine. With one decisive blow, I punched the Dark Wizard into space dust. Sayonara! The battle was now over. On day 100, I found Stu training with the tribal gremlin in the gym to become a stronger fighter. I guess he really looks up to the Saiyans after all, and all that true warrior talk set a positive example. There's nothing wrong with having a martial arts student, but I guess I wasn't expecting I'd become the master at the end of my journey. I'll be on guard here at the base while I train Stu and anyone else who shows up, because after all, there will always be people like the Dark Wizard who misuse power. From here on out, I'm going to make sure that the power is in the hands of true warriors. On day 1, I spawned as a baby Zoglin. Oh, I'm pretty adorable. But I only had 3 hearts. I was small, but I had a super strong sense of smell. I could smell everything I was seeing. Whoa! Great rivers of fire. I'm in the nether. Cool. Oh, look, there's a group of Zoglins. That must be my family. I went over to them. They were nice and shared their crimson fungi with me. Life couldn't have been better. That is until a hungry illager came looking for some bacon.
Run for cover, little Zozo. We'll take care of this. You're too small for battle.
But I want to stay and fight. Leave it to the real warriors, you shroom sniffer.
Bebop, knock it off. He just likes to pick on other Zoglins. He's a bit of a bully. You will join us one day, but not today. You must grow bigger first. Now hurry, before they turn you into lunch.
Sir, yes, sir. I ran as fast as my little hooves could go when suddenly I was covered in purple smoke. I had no clue what was happening. Suddenly, I was dropped near a river in a green field with blue skies. This didn't look anything like my home. Where am I? I looked around and saw a squirrel with sunglasses on.
Bro, you just dropped out of the sky. For real, for real.
I don't know where I am. This isn't the nether.
No, little dude, this is the overworld. You must have gone through a portal or something. All I know, bro, is it got all purpley and then poof, there you were, dude.
I was so confused. I didn't know what the squirrel was saying, and I didn't know how I got into the overworld.
Whoa, bro, something's up.
I started to see red, blinking red. I felt weird. Something was happening to me. I was changing.
You're going zombie, my dude.
Zombie? The blinking red stopped, and I could tell my whole body looked different. You could see my bones, and my mane had gone flat. Oh no, I'm a Zoglin now. What will my family think? How will they want me back now? I guess it's kind of cool to be a zombie.
100%, my dude. It's the gnarly bones for me.
Well, any ideas what I should do now?
My guess is to find a portal to take yourself home. I bet you could find one in the forest. Just be careful out there, little guy. Here, take this.
He handed me a potion of strength.
Only use it when you're really in a jam. Good luck, bro. I gotta go gather my nuts I dropped when you popped out of the sky.
Thank you, Mr.
Call me Squeaks.
Thanks, Squeaks. It was nice to meet a cool squirrel like you. He hopped away and I started towards the forest. Passing by a river, my thoughts were suddenly interrupted by a shark that popped out of the river behind me. Luckily, I jumped out of the way just in time. Someone was feeling bitey today. I then continued making my way into the forest. On day 2, I wandered through the forest to find a portal. I wasn't sure where to go next, but that's when I remembered my nose never failed me. Even though I was a zombie, my nose was just as powerful. I took a whiff around. That's an interesting smell. I followed my nose to a llama eating some berries. I decided to ask her if she had seen the portal, but she just ignored me. Hey, I'm talking to you. The llama turned and spit right in my snout. Okay, you're asking for some drama, llama. I wasn't going to let her get away with spitting in my face. I ran at her full speed and attacked. Unfortunately, I was too weak to do any damage. I didn't even have a weapon.
Oh, how sad. Why don't you cry? Wee, all the way home, little Zoglin. You're much too small to be on your own.
Really cool picking on someone smaller than you. Listen, I'd love to go home, but my home is in the Nether, and I can't get home without a portal.
Oh, the Nether. I heard they have great crimson fungi there.
Yeah, they do. I pulled out a crimson fungi and flashed it at her.
Okay, kid, fine. I'll tell you where a portal is if you let me have that.
How do I know you aren't lying?
You'll just have to trust me.
You spit in my face, and you want me to trust you? Tell you what, I'll give you one now and one later if you take me to the portal. She thought it over and finally agreed to the deal.
The last portal I saw was up ahead at a waterfall.
I threw her a mushroom and she chomped down on it.
A little spicy with some smoky flavor. I like it. All right, come on, follow me.
On day 3, we came to a clearing, and up ahead was a glistening waterfall against a big cliff.
There it is. The portal is up ahead. This is where we part. Time to hand over the other half of that mushroom.
I handed her the rest of my mushroom, and she gulped it down.
You know, kid, you're not so bad.
You're not so bad yourself, Llama. Thank you for showing me the way.
Well, let's not get all mushy. Good luck, and try not to get in any more trouble.
The llama trotted off into the forest, and I headed towards the waterfall. It was so beautiful that I forgot to pay attention to my surroundings. Out popped a snake from the long grass. Mind if I slither on by? I guess the snake did mind. The snake was trying to strike me, but I was determined to get to the portal. I didn't have a weapon, but I had my tusks, and I was bigger than the snake. I hit him good and hard, knocking him out. Your history, snake. As he disappeared, I saw he left behind eggs. Oh, nice. I better hold on to these. The portal was just up ahead. I could see it now. Unfortunately, I could also see a pack of wolves. Please, I don't want any trouble. I just need to get back home through that portal. I can pay you in eggs?
The Horned Enderman has commanded all Zoglins to be taken to him. You're coming with us.
Just then, a bunch of skulls came shooting at the pack of wolves. The wolves backed up, but stayed close, guarding the portal.
Come with me if you wish to live.
This dude was a little creepy looking. I'm sorry, who and what are you?
I'm a wither. My name is Smithers. Now come on, those wolves are going to try and take you to the Horned Enderman. We have to get you out of here.
I have no clue what you're talking about, but I don't want to be eaten by wolves. So yeah, let's go. On days 4 to 5, I followed Smithers into the shadows of the jungle.
You need to make some weapons, little Zoglin. Now's a good time. After that, I have a quest for you. I need you to find the Mushroom Field Islands. Only a special hoglin can find them.
But I'm trying to get home. I need to get to the portal.
If you find these islands, I will help get you home. For now, all the portals are being guarded. I think you are the Zoglin the Horned Enderman is searching for.
Me? You got the wrong Zog. I'm just your average ham.
Yeah, you might not be special, but we shall see.
How will I know the way to the Mushroom Island?
Follow your nose. If you really are the chosen one, you will have extra strong smelling powers.
With that, Smithers flew away. It left me with a million questions. And what was that about smelling powers? I always had a good nose, but no, I couldn't be the one they were looking for. One thing was for sure, I needed to be able to defend myself. I started mining wood, stone, and coal. Then I made myself a crafting table. After that, I made a bow, an axe, a sword, and a pickaxe. Take a look at me now. All will tremble before me. Just as I was really getting into being dramatic, I caught the scent of something nearby. I wasn't alone. I looked up and noticed eyes staring back at me. An ocelot jumped down from the tree. He crouched, getting ready to pounce. Easy, little kitty. You wouldn't want to eat me. I'm rotten and don't taste good. But the truth was, I was scared. Those claws were no joke. How would I ever be able to win this fight? Oh wait, the potion! I quickly pulled out my potion of strength that Squeak gave me and drank it. I grew a little bigger and got extra hearts. It's a good thing I met that weird squirrel. The ocelot pounced as I tried to get out of the way. We kept swinging at each other until I was able to push him out of the way. Luckily, I noticed that there were some arrows nearby. I guess an explorer left them here. I hurried and got on my bow and then started firing. It didn't take too many hits and I was able to take him out. So much for cats having 9 lives. Just then, my nose picked up a different scent on the tree. Cocoa pods. Oh, these would be great for making a color or a snack for later. It was then that I could hear a crunching sound coming from somewhere in the jungle. I decided to follow the sound. I rounded some trees and saw a thicket of bamboo. It wouldn't be a bad idea to collect some of that. The crunching continued and I soon saw a panda relaxing on the ground, enjoying some bamboo. I hope he wouldn't mind if I took some for myself. Hey there, I'm Zozo. Could I take some of that bamboo? The panda looked up at me and shrugged, then went back to munching. Sweet, that was easy. It was definitely a relief to come across an adorable animal that didn't want to attack me. I mined a good portion of the bamboo, but made sure to leave some for the panda. I was very excited about my new supplies. Goodbye, Mr. Panda. Thanks for the bamboo. On days 6 to 8, I decided I liked the jungle so much that I'd take a couple days to go jungle glamping. After all, who knew if that wither was even trustworthy? The mushroom fields could wait. I sniffed around for a good spot and went to sleep in a cavern. Later, I woke up and decided to explore some more. Hey, check it out, a wild patch of pumpkins. I'm pumped. This would be a cool spot to build my glamping base with my bamboo. I'm thinking a yurt would be cool. I even found some melon seeds while cutting down plants. I trotted happily to the patch and began to make my jungle yurt. This would be a great little place to sleep and hide from mobs. Once I had the outside done, I put some finishing touches inside, including some jungle plants. Then I put a little fence around the pumpkin farm, melon farm, and my yurt. I also built a small melon and pumpkin farm outside. Yurt, sweet yurt. Ouch! Something had just hit me. A monkey was in a tree. It was throwing throwing stuff at me. Hey, knock it off.
As you wish. I'll knock all the blocks off your little house thingy.
It's a yurt, you uncultured baboon. Now stop. The monkey didn't stop. He just wanted to be naughty and aggravate me. All right, enough monkey business. I grabbed my bow and fired a warning shot. The monkey screeched and swung off the tree. Hopefully he had learned his lesson. With the monkey gone, I could focus on some much needed dinner. Pumpkin chocolate bean cookies sounded good. I'd better hurry. It was getting late and mobs would be showing up. I crafted the cookies and went outside to enjoy the mood. Hey, this is pretty peaceful. It's just me, the trees, these pumpkins, and that horned enderman over there. A horned enderman! A very tall horned enderman was staring at me from outside the fence.
Well, hello, little Zoglin, without a care. I am the horned enderman. No need to fear.
You're that evil enderman trying to capture all the Zoglins, and you probably are the one who teleported me here.
I searched for the perfect Zoglin, but as for this teleportation, that is the wrong accusation.
You're very poetic for an evil jerk.
And you are very cheeky for a Zog who is not very beefy. You are coming with me. Do not try and flee.
Not by the hair of my chinny chin chin. There's nothing that won't make me win. Oh, look at that. He even got me rhyming. I whipped out my bow and shot at him, but he teleported and suddenly was right next to me. I pulled out my sword and tried to attack him with that, but it was no use. The enderman punched me so hard that I was stunned. There was no way I could do anything to fight this guy. Just as I lost all hope, the enderman was hit with a big rock in the head. Something kept hitting the enderman with all sorts of objects. Eventually he got fed up and teleported away. There was that crazy monkey sitting on the roof of my yurt. Whoa, you saved me. You chased the enderman away by being annoying. Most impressive. I think we started off on the wrong foot. Would you like some pumpkin cookies? The monkey liked that idea and threw a banana at my head playfully.
Aren't you glad I didn't throw a rock?
What a silly monkey. I'm glad he decided to come back after all. Soon the monkey left and I went to sleep. On days 9 to 10, I thought I'd sniff around to see if the mushroom field was anywhere nearby. I set off around the jungle. I didn't smell mushroom fields, but I did smell a village nearby. I figured I could sniff it out. Maybe there would be some shops. I exited the jungle and kept sniffing and walking until I finally found a village. I walked into the village and all the villagers were looking at me. They didn't seem too excited about me being there. I walked into a shop and the shopkeeper didn't want to sell me anything. He said Zoglins were dangerous to have around because it might bring the horned enderman's cronies around. Man, this enderman is ruining everything for me. I was about to leave the village when a chicken went flapping past me. The villagers were upset. They chased the chicken around, but it got away and ran out of the village.
She is gone. The heavenly hen has left us. We will be cursed.
Hey, maybe I can help.
You? What are you going to do besides bring the horned enderman around these parts?
I've got a very sharp-smelling nose. I can follow her scent and track her down.
Very well. Find the heavenly hen.
Okay, but if I do, I get to pick some things out of your shops for free, okay?
Fine. Whatever you want. Please hurry. And whatever you do, don't look her in the eyes. And don't threaten her, or you will regret it.
Okay, that's strange, but fine, I won't. I had seen some really cool armor in the shop, but I probably couldn't afford it, so this was a good deal for me. I headed back towards the jungle to find the chicken. On days 11 to 13, I trotted toward the jungle mountains. I climbed up a hill covered in foliage. It was kind of hard to see, so I started chopping down some of the jungle leaves. Whoa! Oof! The leaves were so thick I didn't see the quarry below my feet. Oh no, I disturbed a nest of scorpions. Yuck, these guys were nasty. I'm in a real pinch. I tried to tell them that I meant no harm, but they were not going to leave me alone. I did not want to get stung. I swung my sword to get them to back off. Yikes, that was a close one. I jumped above them and pulled my bow out, hitting a few of them. I wanted to just get out of there, but the problem was I smelled the chicken down there. Maybe she got eaten, but it was just then that I saw a mine shaft below. Maybe the chicken had hidden inside there. I'd have to take these guys out. One by one, I finished them off, except for one. It was gold, and turned out to not be a scorpion at all. It was a scorpion-sized gold statue. I decided to enter the mine shaft and check the statue out. On day 14 to 16, I was inside the mine shaft and had a smell around. It didn't just smell like chicken, there was something else too. Oh, jackpot, so many resources, but most importantly, iron. Something was a little creepy about this place. Okay, Zozo, ignore the creepy feeling and just keep mining, just keep mining. After that amazing song, I created a crafting table and furnaces to smelt the iron I just collected. I had enough iron that I could craft myself some iron armor and tools really quick. Something told me I was going to need it. I continued deeper into the cave to find the chicken. Hold up, what's that? I pulled my axe out. It was a spider. But wait, it was another gold statue. What is going on here? I just need to find this chicken and get the creep out of here. Soon enough, from the shadows, crawled a mob of spiders. I knew my spidey senses were tingling. They weren't deterred. They just kept coming. One of the spiders hit me good. It was a big hit. I swung around like crazy and finished off all of the spiders. He left behind a bunch of webs, a crafting table, an iron sword, and some arrows and a slime ball. I guess some explorers must have left in a hurry. I collected them all and made a lead out of some of them. I kept walking down into the cave and eventually saw some lava. Across from the lava was that crazy chicken. You are lucky you aren't fried chicken by now. The chicken stared at me with angry eyes. My body felt weird. I suddenly remembered what the villager said about not staring at the chicken in its eyes. I tried not to look directly at it and started making a bridge across the lava over to the chicken. Listen, Miss Hen, I'm just trying to help you. I've got some cookies for you. I'll give you some if you follow me out of here. She didn't say anything because she was a chicken, but I assumed she was okay with this. She ate them and then followed me across my bridge. Well, that worked out. Come on, let's get you home. Everyone is worried about you. On days 17 to 19, we had made it out of the cave and were on our way back through the jungle when the ground under my feet felt funny. It was so soft and squishy. Then I realized I was sinking. It was blue quicksand. Help! The chicken just stared at me blankly. She was no help.
Quack, what's wrong?
It was a group of parrots. I'm sinking.
Quack, what are you thinking about?
Oh, I see what you did there. Okay, might have been about to die, but that was pretty punny. Nice one.
Thanks, we have been working on the stand-up routine.
Neat. Well, I'm thinking about how I need help getting out of here.
We have this sinking feeling you are in some real trouble, but what can be done?
Do you think you could pull me out of this quicksand with my lead? The quicksand had almost swallowed me up by this point.
Sure thing, hand us the lead.
They were able to pull me out just in time. Phew, that was a close one. Thank you for saving my life.
Quack, no problem.
I was just escorting this chicken home.
Quack, quack, what chicken?
I looked around and the hen was gone again. Oh no! I told the parrots thank you, but had to run off to find her. I followed my nose. She was close, but so was an ocelot. Look out, chicken! The chicken stared at the ocelot with angry eyes. I took out my sword, but before I could do anything, the ocelot turned to solid gold. Did you do that, Miss Hen? I can see why you're so special now. She pecked at the ground. Come on, let's get you back home. On days 20 to 22, a fox was watching us run back to the village and tried to cut us off. Sorry, fox. Trust me, you don't want this chicken for dinner. I ran at him and punted him into the sky. I knew I was doing him a favor, better than dealing with Gold Winger over here. We made it back to the village and the villagers were super stoked. I was super stoked about picking out some items from the shop.
A sacred hen has returned. What is your name, Sir Zoglin?
Zozo.
3 cheers for Sir Zozo.
Shucks, I just followed my nose. At the shop, I picked out diamond armor and some TNT. Mission accomplished. With my swanky new treasures in hand, I was ready to go back to my yurt. On the outside of the village, I was stopped by an iron golem who offered me a puppy. He told me his name was Geo. He was a super nice guy. I told him I had to get back to my yurt before it got much later. As I came out to my yurt, it had already gotten dark. Oh, just fantastic. My yurt is swarming with creepers and red-eyed spiders. It's a jungle out here. Time to test out this armor and explosives. The mob saw me and started coming for me, so I ran into the trees. I set the TNT on the ground and then punched it, running for my life. As the mobs came by, the TNT exploded. It didn't kill them all, but it took out a lot. I handled the rest of them with my weapons. With the mobs gone, I trotted back to my yurt. I checked on my melons. They were growing well. I'd harvest them tomorrow and then set out to find that mushroom island, or field, whatever you want to call it. On day 23 to 26, I woke up and went outside. To my surprise, Geo was standing around my garden. Hey there, Geo. How did you find me?
Geo here, big boo. Geo come to save Zozo.
That's super nice of you. I tested out some TNT on some mobs. Sorry to worry you. I explained to Geo that I had to go on a mission to find a mushroom island. Geo insisted on accompanying me. He said he could help protect me from the horned enderman. I agreed, then harvested my melons and pumpkins. I took a bite of the melons and it helped me to grow some more. Ooh, check out these tusks. Then I went inside to get some more materials. After that, we were ready to set off. My nose led us out of the jungle and across some icy plains and glaciers. There were a lot of polar bears. I was relieved Geo decided to join me because there's no way I'd be able to fend them off by myself. When some of them wanted to give us trouble, we gave them trouble right back. Geo was able to fling them up like pancakes. Hey Geo, wanna build a snowman? I decided I might as well mine some snow while I was there. It might come in handy. I threw together some snow and a pumpkin head to make a snow golem. Geo clapped excitedly.
Snow friend, snow friend.
Happy birthday.
Yes, happy birthday to you, Ice Golem. My name is Zozo. This is Geo. What's your name?
Burr.
Burr, huh? That checks out.
Play with Burr.
Sure, we can take some time to play. Hey, I know. What if we build a snow fort out of snow?
Play.
Burr, play.
I made a little snow fort and we had a snowball fight. It was very fun, but Geo was a little too strong and hit Burr too hard, and he poofed into a giant pile of snowballs. Don't worry, Geo. Snowmen don't last forever anyways. We collected his snowballs and added them to our supply. At least he could always be with us now, in a weird sort of way. On days 27 to 31, we wandered to the seaside. The smell of Mushroom Island was super strong. I was led to the seashore. We looked out and saw an island with funny red trees. I think that's it, Geo. Now to get over there. I crafted a boat, but it wasn't big enough for Geo to come with me, so Geo agreed to hang out on shore until I came back. As I sailed closer, I realized the red trees were actually giant mushrooms. I started to drool. Someone was on the island already. It was Smithers.
You found me. You truly are the chosen one. Only a Zoglin with the strongest sniffer can find this secret place.
Why does the Enderman want me?
I will explain everything. Let's show you around first.
I ran around the island exploring its resources. This ground was so spongy and bouncy. Oh, look, cows. Wait, those are mushrooms. That gave me an idea. A huge statue would be pretty cool in this field. I gathered up some supplies and started working on the first part of the statue. The cocoa beans would also be perfect for some brown dye. I'd want some red though too. I'd need to get some red flowers on the mainland. Smithers showed me the base he had made. It was a nice little cube. You know, Smithers, this is awesome, but are you okay with me doing some renovations decorations, just so it's big enough for all of us, including some of my friends I've met along the way.
I mean, this is already a pretty elaborate cube, but okay, I'm cool with it.
Great, I'll start tomorrow. On day 32 to 35, I decided to make the base look like a giant red mushroom with spots. I wonder what gave me that idea. First, I'd need to make the stem. It would be a staircase, and then I could make the top a big mushroom-shaped room with a loft above that for bedrooms. We'd have a nice view of the island while we hung out in the base, and we could keep an eye out for danger too, and wandered around the main area inside. There's so mushroom in here. Get it? Mushroom? Mushroom?
You should stick to sniffing and leave jokes to someone else.
I can't please everyone. Outside, I created an awning for Geo to stand under and keep watch. Our base was ready for action. On day 36 to 39, I went back to shore to get Geo. Once on land, he and I mined some flowers and some other things for the base and statue. I smelled something familiar. Hey, I smell another Zoglin. I wanted to follow the scent, so we went looking. I had to see if they were okay. I followed my nose to a pillager base. A fire was roasting, and there sat a Zoglin chained up to a log. The pillager was humming and wandering around the yard. We walked up to the hut. Excuse me, but what are you planning to do with that Zoglin? The pillager nearly jumped out of his skin. He hadn't seen us sneaking up on him.
Geo, kill pillager.
Have at it, Geo.
Geo, smash.
That pillager didn't stand a chance against Geo. Wow, nice going, Geo. And look, there's an emerald on the ground now. I picked it up and put it in my supplies, then walked over to the Zoglin. Hey, my name is Zozo. I could smell you from miles away. I'm here to rescue you.
Thank you. My name is Hogatha. The Horned Enderman sold me his dinner because I wasn't the Zoglin he was looking for.
That's rough. I told Hogatha how to find my base and invited her to meet us up there. She liked that idea. There were voices in the distance. A mob of pillagers came into view. We better get out of here. We don't need that kind of trouble.
Yep, time to run. I'll find you later. Good luck.
On days 40 to 43, I was back at the base, and Geo and Hogatha had joined us. Hogatha added some grass around the base. It was looking pretty gnarly. I went over to the statue and kept adding to it. Things were coming together for this epic statue, but it wasn't done yet. Do you know what it's going to be? I'll have to keep working on it later. Smithers called me into the base meeting room to finally tell me all about what's been going on with this Horned Enderman dude.
It all began with greed.
I could tell a flashback was coming because the music got all dramatic.
Flashback.
Called it.
The Horned Enderman had been taking over the overworld, enslaving and destroying. He seeks to control this world, and the Nether too. Everyone is afraid of him. He summoned the Witches of Fate. He asked them to reveal the location of a weapon called the Black Trident. It was powerful enough to raise up an army of the undead. They didn't tell him the location. We only know it's somewhere in the ocean. They did give him a prophecy of a Zoglin with a powerful enough nose to sniff out the location of this weapon. But they also said that this Zoglin could be his undoing. I believe that Zoglin is you. I know this because I was there. I was part of the Horned Enderman's close advisors. But I couldn't stand by any longer and see him destroying so many lives. I deserted him and went in search for you myself. We can't let him find that Dark Trident.
I would never lead him to it. If you can get me home, you won't be able to use me.
Fate has brought you here, my boy. You must give in to your destiny. And your destiny is to rise up against the Horned Enderman.
I've run into him before. I couldn't defeat him. I have no idea how to do that. I just want to find a cure for my zombie form and go home.
You will find a way.
This was a lot to take in. I wasn't sure how I felt about it all. Of course I wanted to help, but how? Thanks for telling me all about it. I need to do some thinking outside. I went on a walk around the mushroom field at night to think about everything. The mushrooms were grazing in the field with their babies. Hogatha came and joined me.
You okay?
Not really.
Want to talk about it?
I just don't know what to do. I don't know how to fight Endermen at all, let alone an ultimate Enderman bad guy.
I know that Endermen don't like water. Maybe that can help.
That is something. I was hoping I could just cure myself and get home. Do you have a family, Hogatha?
No, the Horned Enderman took them all. It's just me now.
I'm sorry to hear that. I guess he really does need to be stopped. We sat and looked at the ocean. It was so peaceful to watch the waves and smell the mushroom aroma. Hey, do you see that light out there? I could make out a small roof on the mainland. There was purple smoke coming from the chimney, just like I had seen when I teleported here. Maybe it was where the witches lived. Maybe they could help me. I decided to go investigate in the morning. On day 44 to 49, I got into my boat and set sail across to the hut. It didn't take too long to find it in the daylight. The purple smoke smelled just like when I teleported. This had to be the witch's cottage. I made my way up the stairs. I knocked and there was some scuffling around inside, and then the door opened and a wand was shoved into my face.
Who are you and what do you want?
I'm looking for the Witches of Fate. Is this their cottage?
Of course it's not. This is my cottage.
Who are you?
I am Flimflam, the mediocre wizard. So don't try any funny business or I'll turn you into a mediocre newt.
Did you by chance cast a spell recently that could teleport someone from the Nether to the overworld?
How did you know that? Bless my soul, my spell did work. You're the Zoglin I summoned and then promptly lost.
I think you better explained some things to me. The mediocre wizard let me into his hut. He had all sorts of magical-looking items. He then suddenly shot his wand at the wall. I turned around and saw a call to action. An action to subscribe, that is. Which you should do. And also search for more of my videos. Zozo. Z-O-Z-O. Anyway, Mr. Mediocre, you were explaining something?
So you see, I knew I needed to get to you before the Horned Enderman did. I admit that although I've been practicing magic for a long time, well, I mess up a lot. So I found this spell to get you over here, but then I wasn't sure if it worked because you never showed up.
It worked, but you dropped me into a random place in the overworld. I wish you wouldn't have done that. I used to be a handsome hoglin. Now look at me.
Oh my, yes, I can see what you mean. But you know, there's a cure for that.
There is?
Of course. I know it takes a golden carrot and something else. I can't remember off the top of my head.
And if you got me here, you can get me back home, right?
Of course, but I brought you here for a reason. We need to find the Dark Trident before the Horned Enderman does.
If I help defeat him, can you cure me and send me home?
You got yourself a deal.
I was so glad I was finally getting answers. All this excitement really tuckered me out. I asked the wizard if I could sleep off some of my exhaustion. He was cool with it. On days 50 to 53, I looked around the wizard's hut and saw so many magic potions and wands.
I see you are admiring my collection of magical objects.
I like your wizard hat too.
Oh yes, this hat is awesome. I can use potions and they last forever. Maybe one day you can get a wizard hat of your own once you've learned some things.
So do you have a plan for how to defeat the Horned Enderman?
Of course, you. And that was as far as I got.
I bet some of your wands and potions will come in handy. Can I try one of your wands? The wizard agreed and selected an ice wand. I was pretty excited and I ran to the water to test it out. Abracafree stuff. I froze the water into ice cubes. I definitely like this idea of learning magic. I think you should come with me and meet our other friends. We have a mushroom base across the way. We can all make a plan. Can I take this wand with me? The wizard agreed, got in his own boat, and we sailed off. As we sailed across, we noticed something splashing on the surface. We got closer and saw it was a mermaid surrounded by a shark.
Looks like it's a good time to use that wand, Zozo.
I jumped out of my boat and jumped on the rock the mermaid was on, and excitedly took out the wand and started pointing it at the water around the shark. The water was turned into ice, and the sharks were frozen in ice cubes. You sharks need to cool it. Are you okay, mermaid? The mermaid came closer to me.
Thank you for helping me out. That was a close one. Who are you guys?
My name is Zozo, and this is Flimflam the wizard. We are just some friends who are trying to stop the Horned Enderman. You probably don't know who that is, huh?
Actually, yeah, I do. Those sharks work for him. They were trying to get me to tell them where the Dark Trident is.
What? Are you serious? That's why they want me too. We were just meeting up on the Mushroom Island to make a plan on how to stop him.
How about I follow you over there? I can team up with you.
That's a great idea. Follow us. We were assembling a pretty epic team. On days 54 to 57, we sailed up to the Mushroom Island. I told the mermaid to wait at the shore and walked up to the base. I introduced Flimflam to the group. Smithers and Flimflam were both suspicious of each other at first, but after some explaining, they both realized they were on the same side. I took some time to break away from the group and work some more on my statue. I added some good red coloring to it. I was halfway there. I made my way back to the base, and then I heard splashing in the water. I almost forgot about the mermaid. I went and spoke with her at the beach. Her name was Dolphine, but she went by Dolly. Dolly told me about why the sharks were after her. She knew of a portal called the Whirlpool of Want. They wanted the location.
This whirlpool takes you to the Witches of Fate.
I didn't think you could get to them.
That's what they want you to think.
What if you take us to this whirlpool? Maybe we can ask the witches if there's a weapon that can destroy the Dark Trident. Dolly agreed to this plan, and I went and let the team know where I was going. Before we left, I did what I could to make sure my health and weapons were shipshape. I was ready to follow the mermaid to the Whirlpool of Want. On days 58 to 62, we were out in the middle of the ocean when the mermaid pointed ahead.
There it is. Just sail straight into it.
You sure this will work? I didn't want to get stuck at the bottom of this whirlpool. Besides, I hardly knew this mermaid. This could be a trick.
Pretty sure. Here, let me go in ahead of you. Let me see what happens.
She swam right into the whirlpool and it swallowed her up. I waited for a few minutes. The whirlpool started to gurgle and out popped the mermaid. There she blows. Well, it looked like it worked. Onward. I jumped off the ship and into the whirlpool. The whirlpool had a portal at the bottom and it spat me out onto dry land. I was in the end?
And what do we have here? A wayward Zoglin.
A voice cackled from the sky. It seemed to come from all around me.
You seek how to destroy the Dark Trident. We know everything about all of you, but we don't do things out of the kindness of our hearts. We are witches. We make trades. What did you bring to trade?
I panicked. I didn't know I needed to trade something. 3 witches appeared in front of me.
Well, what will it be? If you want the Wand of Weather, you will have to give us something that interests us.
Wand of Weather? This wand will destroy the Dark Trident?
You bet your little Zoglin britches.
I offered them my wand, my swords, my potions, anything I could think of that seemed really neat, but they didn't want any of it. They already had piles of that stuff. I wonder if they would take something that only has sentimental value. I offered them the poppy that Geo had given me.
A poppy? You have got yourself a deal.
Poof, they disappeared, and in their place was a wand.
We forgot to mention one little thing. Only a true heroic act can activate this wand.
Their voices trailed off. A heroic act? I do those things all the time. That doesn't seem too difficult. I wanted to stick around to sniff around, but suddenly there was a whole mob of zombies headed my way. I ran for the portal and jumped through. On days 63 to 66, I was ejected out of the whirlpool. I told Dolly about everything and then sailed back to our base. There was smoke on the horizon. We got close to the island and saw our base had been attacked. The horned Enderman must have discovered our base. I jumped out of my boat and made my way to my base entrance where I saw Smithers. I found out that they had kidnapped Hogatha. They thought she was me. No, Hogatha, I will rescue you.
I will fly fast and try to find her. You need to continue on your quest. If you can defeat the horned Enderman, Hogatha will be spared.
I wanted to go with Smithers, but I knew he was right. Smithers would take good care of the situation. He quickly flew away. I was going crazy with worry, so I had to distract myself. Those henchmen had really done a lot of damage. We had so many repairs to make. There was only one way to handle this situation: a rebuilding montage. We upgraded a lot of things and then got started building a moat around the base. Flimflam suggested that we add a water path for Dolly to be able to swim in and out, so we added that too. Afterwards, I stepped back and admired our work. It's amazing what you can do when you're motivated. Just then, I wondered if my statue had been destroyed. I ran over to the field, and luckily it was just how I left it. I finished off the face. Can you tell what it is? I guess it's pretty obvious now, but I still needed to add the pièce de résistance. Later, on days 67 to 70, I tried out the Wand of Weather, but couldn't get it to do anything. Maybe it only worked around the trident. We had better locate the trident to try and destroy it. I hoped it would work for me. Flimflam appeared behind me and said,
Zozo, you're the one with the magical nose. Where do you think we should go to find the trident?
I closed my eyes and I sniffed the air, focusing on where it could be. All I smell is Hogatha. I'm worried about her.
I'm right here, silly.
Hogatha and Smithers were back. Smithers had found her wandering back to the island. They had let her go after realizing she was the wrong Zoglin, but Hogatha was certain they were tracking her.
We can use that to our advantage. We can have Hogatha stay here as a decoy while you sneak off to get the trident.
I didn't like the idea of potentially putting Hogatha in harm's way, but she insisted on the plan. Everyone else would stay at the base to protect Hogatha. Meanwhile, Dolly and I would go on our quest. I got on my boat and followed the faint scent of the dark trident. We eventually came into a desert with cactus and pyramids on the shore. Dolly pointed out that there were ancient ruins in the water. Perfect spot to find a trident, and I can tell we are close. Just then, my ship started to shake. What was that? I looked over the edge. Dolly, there's a lot of angry noodles wiggling around the water.
I don't think that's a noodle, Zozo. I think it's a giant octopus.
Yikes, we would have to think fast. I shot arrows at it, but that just made it more mad. It hit my boat and busted it. Oh no, he even managed to hit me a few times. He really packed a punch. I would have to swim my way out of this.
I'll use my siren song to lure it away. You head for a cove to hide.
What about you?
I'll be fine. I can outswim these guys.
Dolly started singing and the octopus was put in a trance-like state and started following Dolly. Meanwhile, I booked it for the shoreline. I saw a cove that had a very strong smell coming from it. I knew I was hot on the Trident Trail. Dolly was nowhere to be seen though. I hoped she was okay. The cove wasn't empty though. A pirate ship was there as well. Where there is pirates, there is treasure. I looked around and sure enough, I found not one, but two treasure chests. What does this one have? Whoa, it's a Respiration 3 helmet. Now that's convenient. I opened the other one up and it had a heart potion. I moved topside and took it and got 10 more hearts, and I grew into a large-sized Zoglin. Now we're talking. I was ready for some underwater exploration, but Dolly hadn't showed up yet. Well, I hope she can find me. On days 71 to 74, I started to swim through the shallow waters of the cove that led to a watery underground cave. It was very dark. I noticed some obsidian floating around in the cave and picked it up for later. The dark trident had to be around me somewhere. The scent was so strong. I could also smell trouble. I dove under the water to have a look around, but it was so dark. Suddenly, someone grabbed my hooves. Ah! Oh my goodness. It was just Dolly. She had found me. You scared the ham right out of me. I'm glad you're okay though. She held out her hand.
Sorry, Zozo. Look at this. This is a glowstone. It will help light our path.
Awesome. It was so nice having Dolly to help me. She set the glowstone on the floor of the cave, and we could see a little opening. We swam through it. It led into a big space with large wall ruins. There were lots of tall vines growing all over the ruin.
Hey, look!
The dark trident was just sitting on top of a mound of sand. Just then, out popped hordes of drowns. I didn't come this far to be beaten by a bunch of water zombie punks. You're going down. We fought with all our might and wits. We had to win. There were many, but we were mighty. Sure enough, we were able to take care of all of them. Hi, Finn, Dolly. We gathered around the trident. I got out my weather wand and nothing happened. We had just defeated all these drowns. That was super heroic. Shouldn't that heroic act have activated the trident?
Were those witches lying?
I don't know.
Well, grab it and let's go. We can try to destroy it some more back at the base.
I was hesitant, but I agreed.
Now that you have obsidian, you can build a portal back home.
Really? That will be awesome. Although, I'm still a Zoglin. We need a cure so I can fit back in at home.
I like you as a Zoglin. I think you look cool.
Thanks, Dolly. I just don't know what my family will think. Suddenly, everything started to shake. I reached and grabbed the trident. We had to get out of here. We swam back through the hole in the cavern wall and back up to the surface, and then back to the mouth of the cove. Everything was crumbling. We barely made it out in time. On day 75 to 78, I sailed back to our base. I thanked Dolly for all of her help, and she told me she needed to return to her kingdom before her family started to worry. I'll never forget you, Dolphine. At the mushroom base, I peeked through the window and saw my friends had finished my statue for me while I was gone. It looked great. It was a mushroom with a pumpkin on top to remember Burr by. You guys are the best. After that, we all gathered around the trident. I needed to destroy this thing quickly. I tried the wand again. Nothing. I've done so many heroic things. Why wasn't it working? I pointed it at the sky and thought about my awesome friends and how brave they always were. This time it jiggled a little, a few clouds came out, and made it rain a tiny bit. Well, that was something.
You'll get the hang of this in time, Zozo. I believe in you.
I was so distracted by the wand that it took me a while to notice the strong odor of evil floating into the base. The horned Enderman had to be near. I picked up the trident, started sniffing around, and went into my base. On day 79 to 84, I looked outside our window. A bunch of Endermen surrounded our base gate, and there was the horned Enderman standing there. You have got to be kidding me.
Little Zog, let me in, or I'll huff and I'll puff and I'll blow your base in.
That dude is terrifying, even when he speaks in rhymes. I'm going to start building that portal, and maybe we can take the trident to the nether.
You escape with the trident. I'll fight them off.
Smithers ran out of the room. I built and lit the nether portal.
You can't do this alone.
Agatha joined him to fend off the base. I thought to myself and decided not to run. I had to be a hero if I wanted this wand to work. I told Flimflam to guard the trident. I pulled my sword out and ran out as well. After fighting for a bit, I swapped my sword out for the bow and started shooting. With each arrow I fired, the Enderman teleported away. But suddenly, they charged me, and I took a big hit. Ouch! I started swinging my sword, and I did my best to take them all out. At long last, all of the Endermen were defeated. Where was the horned Enderman, though? I noticed he wasn't around. I looked up into the mushroom base windows, and there he was. He was in the room with Flimflam and the trident. Oh no! Smithers, the trident! Smithers flew up where they were. By the time I got there, Flimflam had been injured, and Smithers was facing off with the horned Enderman. With ease, the horned Enderman grabbed the trident and teleported out of the base. Smithers followed him outside, and I did too.
The dark trident can only work with a heart of pure evil. Watch as I turn this thing lethal.
With that, the horned Enderman hit Smithers with the dark trident. No, how could he? I pulled out the wand of weather and pointed it at the trident. Storm clouds gathered and it started to rain pretty hard, but it didn't seem to do anything to the trident. The rain did, however, scare off the horned Enderman since he teleported away. With the enemy gone, I ran to Smithers' side.
This is the end for me. Promise me you'll stop him.
Then Smithers disintegrated, leaving behind a nether star. I was so sad and picked up the nether star. I placed it down at the entrance of the house. It would forever shine bright on us, as Smithers did. On days 85 to 89, Agatha and I went through the portal to the nether. We knew time was short. The horned Enderman would be marching through with his undead army at any moment. We landed in the Crimson Forest. Welcome to my homeland.
Wow, everything is so hot and spicy looking here.
Home, sweet and spicy home. I miss the smell of lava. We started to walk around a bit when suddenly a mob of piglins was coming toward us. Well, looks like it's never a dull moment. Let's kick some hams. We used our arrows, swords, and strength to take down the mob. We continued exploring the nether for a bit until we got to the edge of a cliff. The lava was hot below us. I carefully laid down dirt to get across. I noticed more piglins coming at us, so I broke off a brick of the block bridge so they couldn't follow us.
Well, that was a very lava-hot welcome. Where's your family?
They aren't far. I can smell them. On days 90 to 94, I heard some low oinking. It was my family. They were munching on fungi, as usual. Hey, you guys, I'm back. Who the oink are you? Oh, great. It was Bebop, the bully. It's me, Zozo. I look a little different now. I'm bigger and
freakish looking. You're not one of us anymore.
I just returned from the overworld, so I got zombified. But I'm still Zozo, and these are my friends. We have come to warn you.
Warn us about what? Are you threatening us? You think you could just disappear one day and then come back and act all tough? That's it. No one threatens us.
No, I'm not threatening. Bebop came charging at me. I put my head down and got ready to return his blow. I hit Bebop a lot, and he simply backed off. I'm bigger and stronger than you now, Bebop. Time to stop picking on others, or I'm gonna have to teach you another lesson. I told the rest of the ZOGLIN family what I'd been up to and where I went. These are my friends. They've been helping me. You see, we got a weapon that can stop this evil dude from coming here and destroying everything. He's known as the Horned Enderman. Bebop must not have learned his lesson because he butted in.
We will never believe you. You're just a bunch of freaks.
I'd much rather be a freak than a boring old piece of bacon. I pity you. You can't see past your own snotty snout. I used to worry about what you all would think of me as a ZOGLIN, but now I don't care. I'm proud of who I am on the inside and out. My friends taught me that. You can either show respect for me and my friends, or you and I can settle this again, for good. Hog to Zog. I pulled out my wand of weather. It was suddenly glowing and surging with energy. I had been heroic by standing up for myself and my friends, even against my own kind. I was done being ashamed of what I looked like. I loved my zombie self. I held the wand into the air and created rain in the
nether.
Okay, I'm sorry. I won't pick on you or anyone else. Please make it stop.
I put the wand away and the crazy weather stopped. It was all the proof the Hoglins needed. On days 95 to 98, we decided we would make a big hill with a fortress on top so we could have the high ground. Flim Flam also came over from the overworld and insisted on making me wear his wizard's hat. It would keep my health up even after being attacked. Our hill fortress was looking pretty cool, and we were able to recruit some other nether mobs. We got mobs of piglins and wither skeletons. We set up inside the fort. It was then that the sky opened a portal and outpoured all sorts of undeads. Drowned necromancers, skeletons, zombies, zombified piglins, and husks. Fight hard and stay safe. We just need to stay alive long enough until I can attack the trident. The Zoglins attacked with their tusks to punt them away into the lava. The mutant piglins used their quality swords to cut them down. The mutant husks smashed with their fists. We were all fighting hard, but still, some of our allies didn't survive. I needed to find the horned enderman. The longer this went on, the more deaths there would be. The hordes of undead just kept coming too. But we fought with all of our might. After defeating some of the undead creatures, the piglin commander gave me a health potion. I drank it and my hearts leveled up. I got 20 hearts, and then I became even bigger. I couldn't lie, I looked pretty intimidating. After that, we returned to the fort. On day 99, I heard something happen at the portal again and ran out. The horned enderman finally emerged from the portal. Horned enderman, you are going down.
What are you going to do? Sprinkle me with water? Oh no, how will I ever survive such hullabaloo? Ha! See my mighty undead army. This world is doomed. There is no way to disarm me.
Go ahead and laugh, but this is for Smithers. He threw the trident at me, breaking my armor. He was terribly powerful.
Thank you for bringing me this trident. I think this is a death well spent.
I heard my friends shout, and they came to my side.
For Smithers!
Their chant brought me strength. I shot the wand into the air. For Smithers! It started to rain. Thunder boomed loudly, and there was a mighty zap. A powerful bolt of lightning struck the trident. The horned enderman exploded, and the trident shattered. We did it! Just like that! The wand had worked! We all cheered and celebrated. On day 100, after we had finished celebrating and honoring those who had fallen, I had to figure out what I was going to do with the rest of my Zoglin years. I said goodbye to my family and promised to come home every Sunday for Crimson dinner. I would be the Zoglin wizard of the newly named Smither Island. But in the meantime, I would study more magic and defend the weak, always keeping a balance to good and evil. And most of all, I'd spread heroic courage, a love for others and oneself, freakish looks and all. I knew Smithers would be proud.
On day 1, I spawned in as a rabbit. Oh no, I only have 1 heart. I'm gonna have to be really careful if I'm gonna survive. But check it out, I can jump high and I'm super fast. I took a look around and I could see there were tons of other bunny friends around. But suddenly, they all ran away. Hey guys, what's going on? Just then, a fox appeared. That must be why the other bunnies ran away. I had to be careful. If that fox landed just 1 hit on me, I was done for. Luckily, I was able to run really fast and jump super high, so I was able to outrun the fox and get away. The best thing I can do today is just survive. I better find a good place to hide for the night. I took a look around until I found a good spot. I dug into the side of the hill and hunkered down for the night. Maybe I can find all of my bunny friends in the morning. On day 2, I woke up and went to go look for my bunny friends. As I arrived back at the spawn point, I didn't see anyone around. Where could everyone have run off to? I wasn't sure where to start looking for them, but I had an idea. Maybe if I can build a really cool bunny house, they'll come back. If I was gonna build a cool bunny house, I needed some tools, so I headed off into the forest to get some supplies. After a while, I had gathered enough supplies to be able to build my first tools. I put as many tools together as I could, including a sword. With my new tools in hand, I headed into the mine to get some stone. As I was mining, I was suddenly attacked by a spider. Whoa, get back! I had to be really careful. If I took even 1 hit, I was done for. It's a good thing I had made myself a sword though, because with that, I was able to defeat him. Oh man, that was too close. I better get to work. On day 3, I got to work starting to build my new base. Since rabbits live underground, I thought it'd be cool to build out a bunch of tunnels underground. It was a lot of hard work, but soon, the base was all set up. Alright, the base is done, but I don't see any more bunnies. I better go look for them. I headed off into the forest, but I could hear someone up ahead. On top of a tree, I could see a little squirrel. Hey, what's going on? What are you doing up there?
I'm up here hiding from the big bad wolf. You better watch out too.
The big bad wolf? Oh man, he sounds like a lot of trouble. How about we stick together? It'll be safer.
I think that's a great idea.
On days 4 to 5, the squirrel and I headed into the forest to get some more materials. As we explored the forest, we came across some more friends. The first animal we saw was a raccoon. Hey, have you heard of the big bad wolf?
Yeah, that guy's a real jerk, but he's been leaving me alone for the most part. I don't know if I want to get involved. Sorry.
Well, I hope you change your mind. The squirrel and I kept going through the forest until we came across a bear and her cubs. Uh-oh, I hope that bear bear won't eat us. I took a deep breath and walked up to the bear. Hey, do you know the big bad wolf?
Yeah, but why would I care about that guy? He doesn't bug me and I don't bug him. Say, you're looking a little tasty.
Okay, well, thanks for telling me about it. Talk to you later. Bye. The squirrel and I got out of there. I didn't want to risk anything else wanting to hunt me. As we got deeper into the forest, we started to chop down some trees.
Hey, you!
I turned around and looked up into the tree. A monkey was looking down at me. Yeah, what's up?
That's my tree. What do you think you're doing, chopping down my tree?
The monkey was mad, but I only needed a little bit of wood. It didn't matter to him though, and he jumped down and charged.
You're gonna pay for this.
Uh-oh, if this monkey hit me, I was a goner. But just then, the squirrel jumped in and helped me out. Together, we were able to put up a good fight. The monkey wasn't gonna be able to hurt both of us. By working together, we were able to defeat him. Sorry, Mr. Monkey, I didn't want to fight you, but you left me with no choice. On day 6 through 8, the squirrel and I continued through the forest. We were feeling pretty good about ourselves. We had a couple of victories, and we were getting a lot of supplies. We'd even met a few of the other animals. As I kept wandering through the forest, though, I heard something scary up ahead. As we got closer, we saw the source of the noise. It was the fox, and he had a group of bunnies cornered.
You have nowhere to run, and now I'm going to eat you.
Oh no, I can't let him eat those other bunnies. But what am I supposed to do? I can't take him on by myself. That's when I remembered I wasn't by myself. I had my squirrel friend with me. Let's do this! The squirrel just started to charge. He didn't even wait for me. Wait, what are you doing?
Oh, a little appetizer.
The fox took one swing, and the squirrel was immediately defeated. Oh no, my friend!
Looks like there's another snack over there for me too.
The fox took one look at me, but I had to get out of there. I'm not gonna be his dinner today. I'm sorry, other bunnies, but you're on your own for this one. I ran as fast as I could, straight back to my burrow. I couldn't risk having him find out where I lived, or worse, eating me. I was just gonna have to help those other bunnies out another day. I feel bad about leaving all those bunnies behind, but what was I gonna do? I'm just not strong enough. On days 9 to 11, I was feeling bad about running away, but I wasn't strong enough to fight. As I ran through the forest, I came across an abandoned village. Oh look, a ton of carrots. I gathered up as many carrots as I could. There was even a bunch of wheat and pumpkins too. I decided this would be a good place to spend the night. In the middle of the night, I woke up to a strange sound outside. Oh no, there's a bunch of skeletons out there. I ran out of the house with my sword in hand. There was no way I was going to back down this time. I charged out of the house, swinging my sword. I'm not scared of you. I kept swinging until one by one, all of the skeletons were destroyed. Man, these fights are terrifying when you only have one heart, but I feel better now that I've won a fight. Even though I had won the fight, I was too scared to go back to bed, so I decided to spend the night looking through the rest of the village. I found some more food, as well as some other supplies. I even found a whole stash of iron. Awesome, now I can start making some iron gear. I ran back over to the crafting table and put together an iron chest plate and equipped it. On day 12, I emerged from my house in the village and headed back into the forest. I was running through the woods when I saw a carrot on the ground up ahead. Oh, what luck, a free carrot. As I continued through the forest, I saw there were even more carrots. I decided to keep picking them up. I was going to need as many as I could get. Just then, I picked up one of the carrots and suddenly fell through a trapdoor. Whoa! I landed inside a small room and there were several other rabbits looking at me. Hi guys, what's going on?
You're not the big bad wolf.
I turned around and saw a large elderly bunny looking down at me. No sir, I'm not. What's going on around here?
I see you're new around here. Let me explain. For years, the forest was a beautiful and peaceful place. All the animals were happy, living in harmony. The wolf would try to hunt us, but we could always get away. Then one day, something changed. The wolf had discovered some kind of magic, which he used to give himself a cloaking ability. Suddenly, we could no longer hide because we didn't know when he would attack. We have been in hiding ever since.
No, how can we stop him?
There is an ancient relic known as the Rad Glasses, crafted by our bunny ancestors. Its pieces have been scattered across the land, but if you bring them to me, I can craft them anew. They will allow you to see the wolf, even when he cloaks. Do you think you can help us?
I'm not very strong, but I'll do my best. On days 13 to 15, I had arrived back at my base and made a couple improvements to the inside. Then I went outside and started working on a farm and planted some of the carrots I'd collected. It wasn't much, but it was a place to call home. I needed to get some sand though, so I headed off to the desert to gather some. I managed to get a bunch of it when suddenly a group of rattlesnakes came slithering up behind me. Hey guys, can I help you? The rattlesnakes just stared at me, then they attacked. Hey, that's not very nice. Luckily their bite wasn't too bad because I still only had a heart. I was able to keep moving and I took them all out. Suddenly I felt a burst of energy and I grew into a bigger killer bunny. And look, now I have 5 hearts. I'm feeling way better already. On days 16 to 19, I returned back to the base and made a few adjustments now that I had gotten a little bigger and stronger. Later, as I was harvesting some of my crops, I saw a squirrel walking up to the base.
Hey, I've been looking for you.
Hey there, what's up?
I saw you were with my sister when that fox attacked her. She seemed to trust you, so I want to help you too, for my sister.
I'll take all the help I can get, and I'm sorry for what happened. I'm much stronger now and won't be running away from anything. We then set off, making some more improvements to the base. It turned out the squirrel's name was Rocky, and he was happy to help. After we had finished upgrading parts of the base, he pulled me aside for a chat.
Thanks again for letting me help, Zozo. I had an idea for the base. I think we should build something that will make the other bunnies know that this is a safe place.
Oh, I know just what to make, but we're gonna need a lot of orange dye. We ran off into a flower field and got to work grabbing as many orange tulips as we could to make the dye. On days 20 to 22, we were heading back to our base when the fox popped out from around the corner.
Ah, the bunny that got away. I'm gonna get you this time.
You aren't hurting anyone this time. I jumped into battle and started swinging away at the fox. Rocky jumped into the fight too. With my new strength, the fox didn't stand a chance. We beat him easily. Nice going, Rocky. How did he find our base?
I don't know. The only thing I can think of is that he must have seen me and followed me here. Sorry about that.
That's okay. But it reminds me, we need to start looking for the parts to those special glasses. Do you have any ideas of where we could look?
I've got one idea, but before we get there, we're gonna need some serious upgrades first.
On days 23 to 26, I was deep underground looking for resources. Luckily for me, I was able to find a bunch of iron, as well as some coal. This is just what I needed. Now I can finish making my iron armor. I took some of the stone I had collected and used it to craft a furnace. Then I added the coal and iron to smelt myself some iron bars. Once the iron bars were complete, I used them to craft myself iron tools, including an iron sword. Then I used the rest to finish crafting my iron armor. Now I'm really powered up. I decided to keep exploring the cave when I suddenly ran into a group of zombies. Try and fight me now, you flesh heads. The zombies could pack a punch, but they were no match for my new gear. I swung my sword and was able to take them out. I kept going down the tunnel when a spider dropped down from the ceiling. Oh, gross, spiders are disgusting. As the spider charged at me, I swung my sword. He managed to get a couple bites in, but he couldn't do much against my armor. Soon enough, it was defeated. I wonder what's going to be at the end of the tunnel. Up ahead, I could see something glowing in the distance. What could it be? I walked into a large open room and subscribe? Hey, it's not a bad idea. If you love going on these adventures as much as I do, I'd love for you to hit the button and the bell. That way, you'll never miss out. On days 27 to 31, Rocky and I headed into the woods to look for the first crafting item we'd need for the glasses. I could hear a noise up ahead when suddenly a wolf hopped up on some stone blocks, blocking our path.
Ooh, a delicious bunny. The big bad wolf isn't going to mind if I eat you myself.
Go on and hide, Rocky. I can take this guy. The wolf and I charged at each other. He was pretty strong, but so was I. He snarled and bit, getting some hits in. He even got me down to half a heart. But I knew I could win. Your bark is worse than your bite. I gave one more swing and took him out. As he disappeared, I saw he dropped some kind of special item. What's this? I picked it up and saw it was a fire rod. Oh, cool. I wonder what this will do. Later on, I was walking along the water when a crocodile popped out and attacked me. I swung my fire rod, immediately catching him on fire. Whoa, nothing like a well-roasted croc for dinner. The crocodile panicked and jumped back into the water. Yeah, you'll think twice about messing with me next time. On days 32 to 35, Rocky and I arrived in the Badlands. Rocky had told me he had seen something strange in the area and thought it would be worth checking it out. As we rounded the corner, I saw a weird sign. Let the water lift you up. What does that mean? There was a nearby lever, so I gave it a flick and nothing happened.
What happens when you jump in the water?
Rocky jumped into the water, but there was no effect. I don't think that's it. Let's try hitting one of these buttons. Rocky clicked on one of the buttons on the wall and an arrow came flying out right over Rocky's head. Whoa, I don't think that's it. I guess I'll give this other one a try. I nervously reached forward and hit the button and some redstone dust popped out.
Look, you can put the dust here to complete the circuit.
I walked over by Rocky and put down the redstone dust. Then I flipped the switch. This time, a column of water came pouring down. That did the trick. I jumped into the column of water and swam to the very top. When I reached the top, there was a chest. Inside of the chest, there were some different brick blocks, as well as one glowstone. This isn't exactly what I was expecting.
Zozo, up here.
I followed Rocky up another flight of stairs and saw some glasses frames at the top. This is just what we were looking for. The first piece. The Elder Rabbit will be excited to see this. On days 36 to 39, Rocky and I returned back to the base. First things first, I needed to craft a new fence. I couldn't risk another attack by the big bad wolf gang, or worse, the wolf himself. By using some of the brick, I was able to make a nice perimeter fence. Once that was complete, Rocky and I worked together to make him his own place too. Thanks for all your help so far, Rocky. I think it'll be good for you to have your own place.
I'm happy to be here. Let's build a pen and get some sheep. That way we can work on the statue.
Good idea. Rocky and I headed into the forest and managed to find a herd of sheep. Using leads, we roped them up and led them back to their new pen. With the sheep all locked up, I then took some orange dye and got to work dyeing all of the sheep orange. Orange, you guys glad you're not dinner? I went ahead and sheared all of the sheep, then collected all of the orange dye. From there, Rocky and I headed off to find a good spot to build the statue. Once we found a suitable location, we got to work clearing a space, building up a base, then working on the statue itself. After a bit, the first part was complete. Nice job, Rocky. This is a good spot to stop. As we were taking down the scaffolding, a group of parrots walked up to us.
Hey, you're a bunny. You must be against the big bad wolf then.
You'd be correct. What's up?
We've been on the run ever since the wolf started cloaking. Nowhere feels safe.
I know what you mean, but there's safety in numbers. You guys should come join us at our base.
That's just what we need. We'll go gather our things and then we'll meet you there.
I told them where to go, and they headed off. Back at the base, Rocky and I got to work building them their own house to stay. I couldn't believe the wolf was even hunting birds. We'd do our best to keep them safe. I started days 40 to 43 by putting in some paths throughout the base. The next morning, I got to work harvesting the carrots and planting some pumpkins. Then I filled the rest of the spots with carrots. We've got a lot of new friends starting to show up. I've got to be sure everyone is well fed. Just then, the parrots walked up and I finally got to show them the place I had built for them. They were really excited to have a safe place to rest. After they took a look around, their leader came to talk to me.
You're looking for the parts of the rad glasses, right? The ones that let you see the invisible wolf?
I am. Do you know something about their parts?
Only rumors. I've really only heard about one of the parts, that is. But I don't know if you're gonna love where you have to go to find it.
I'll do whatever it takes. On days 44 to 49, I was getting ready to leave my base for the new location. I think it'll be better for you to stay here, Rocky. I don't know if this will be the best place for a squirrel. Rocky understood and agreed to work on the base while I was gone. After a long journey, I finally arrived in the area the parrot had told me about. Oh man, it's freezing here. No wonder the parrot said I wouldn't like it. Just then, I stumbled across an abandoned igloo. This will be a great place to stop and rest. As I left the igloo though, I was suddenly attacked by a snow leopard. Whoa, where did you come from? The snow leopard was vicious. He had giant fangs and powerful claws. He must have set this camp up as a trap. I'll never let the wolf and his allies win. I swung with all my power and took him out. It's a good thing I upgraded all my armor before I left. Otherwise, I'd be rabbit stew. On days 50 to 53, I had finally made it out of the cold and arrived at the place the parrot had mentioned. As I walked up to the tower, I saw there were two wolves standing guard. Hey, can I come in? No. Well, that was a short conversation. I don't know why I even bothered asking. They're wolves. Of course they'll just attack me. This wolf was just a junior guard, so I finished him off easily. You're not getting in my way either. I turned and attacked the other guard too, who didn't put up much of a fight, and I defeated him in no time. All right, let's get that glasses part. I climbed to the top of the tower, but there was another wolf waiting for me. This one was stronger than the others. By using my fire rod though, I managed to light him on fire and eventually take him out, nearly losing my life in the process.
Hey there, can you help me out?
I took out my axe and started chopping away at the nearby cage. There was no part for the glasses, but there was a bunny trapped inside.
Thanks for breaking me out. Let me guess, you were looking for a piece of the glasses.
Yeah, I was. Do you know anything about it?
I was here looking for it too, but I guess it got moved to a dungeon far away from here. That's what I heard the henchmen saying anyway.
Shoot, that is in the complete opposite direction. Well, might as well stop at my base in the meantime. Feel free to join me there. The rabbit agreed, and we headed off for the base. On days 54 to 57, the bunny and I arrived back at the base, which was on fire. Oh no, what's going on? As I got closer, I could see that the base was being attacked by a pack of wolves. Standing outside the base, I could see the big bad wolf. He was giving orders to his men. The wolf gang headed into the base and rounded up all the parrots. They were taking them prisoner. I don't have the glasses yet, but I have to do something. I sprinted into the base, sword in hand. The wolves attacked. Get out of my home. We never did anything to you. One by one, I cut down all the wolves. Soon enough, the only one left was Mr. Big Bad. You're gonna pay for this. I charged at the big bad wolf, leaping into the air, when suddenly he disappeared. Ah, you coward. I'll find you. On days 58 to 62, I took a look around at all of the damage. I couldn't believe I didn't keep everyone safe. As I walked around, I could see that everyone was gone. That's when I heard a noise from under the table. Rocky, what are you doing under there?
Zozo, I was so scared, but this was all my fault. I told the wolves where the base was. He had captured my squirrel friend and said he would hurt him if I didn't tell him where to go.
Rocky, you should have told me. We could have rescued your friend together.
I know, I'm so sorry. In the end, he didn't let my friend go and just took away all of our new friends. I hope you can forgive me.
I felt bad for Rocky. I could tell he was sorry. It's okay. I know you just wanted to help your friend. We can figure it out together. In the meantime though, we better go get some supplies to rebuild the base. From there, I headed into the mines and managed to find plenty of iron, as well as some gold and coal. I smelted down all of the iron and used it to make some iron bars. Then I headed out to the river and scooped up a bunch of clay. I then used the clay to make more bricks. At long last, I headed outside and replaced the fence with iron bars, while also repairing any other holes with the bricks. It took a while, but soon, the defenses were complete. Those wolves are gonna have a heck of a time breaking in again. On day 63 to 66, I told the bunny and Rocky to hang back at the base while I headed out to the dungeon. This could be dangerous, and I didn't want to lose any more friends. The journey was a long one, and I passed through all kinds of different terrain. As I was passing over a mountain, I saw a wolf in the distance, just as it destroyed a baby elephant. It was the big bad wolf. What have you done? I charged at the wolf, but he disappeared again. What kind of monster would attack an innocent elephant? As I looked down, the elephant's mom came over the hill.
What have you done to my baby?
No, it wasn't me. It was the big bad wolf. The elephant didn't care, and she attacked. I took a few swings to keep her back as I tried to explain, but she wasn't listening. My only option was to run away as fast as I could. On day 67 to 70, I could see the entrance to the cave up ahead. It looked really dark and scary. This must be it. Who knows what's waiting for me inside? I entered the cave and soon found out waiting for me was a group of skeletons. Why are you guys so creepy? The skeletons swung their swords and shot their arrows as I jumped around, hitting them with my sword. They got some hits in, but I was able to take them all out. I headed deeper into the caves and saw a spawner. Let's just get rid of this. I can't fight these mobs off for forever. On day 71 to 74, I pushed further into the mines when I saw some diamonds.
Wow.
Oh, those would help me so much. I quickly put up a bridge to cross over when suddenly the wall exploded and a zombified piglin came bursting through. Whoa! I quickly pulled out my fire rod and lit him up. He lit on fire, but my fire rod broke. Ouch, he's so strong. I swung with my sword as my health dropped, finally taking him out. As he disappeared, he dropped something. I picked it up, a diamond hammer. This thing is powerful, and I'm getting it just in time too. Excited about my new weapon, I headed back over to the diamonds and mined them out, being careful not to drop them in the lava. With the diamonds in hand, I put down a crafting table and made myself a pair of diamond leggings to replace my iron ones. Maybe we can make it through here after all. On day 75 to 78, I had finally reached a big empty room. There was a chest on the other side. Hello? Looks like this place is deserted. I walked over to the chest when suddenly I heard a thump behind me. I turned around and saw a giant spider had dropped down from the ceiling. Oh, hey man, you mind if I grab what's in the chest and leave?
You wish, buddy boy. You're not getting out of here alive.
I thought you might say something like that. Just then, the spider leaped forward and attacked. I got hidden, but not before he started shooting his webs at me. Oh boy, this isn't going to be as easy as I was hoping.
Looks like it's time to get my very own lucky rabbit foot.
That's just a weird thing to say. The spider charged at me, but I was ready. I jumped out of the way, causing him to jump into the pool of lava. I'll keep my feet, thanks. Just then, I felt the energy surge through me, and I leveled up into a buff bunny man. Whoa, I have 10 hearts now, too. I went over to the chest and opened it. Inside were the lenses to the rad glasses, along with a bunch of diamonds. I can't wait to see what the Elder Rabbit can do with these. On day 79 to 84, I arrived at the Elder Rabbit's house. Sir, I've got everything you need to remake the rad glasses.
Zozo, well done, well done. This is just what we needed.
The Elder Rabbit quickly turned to his enchanting table and assembled the glasses, imbuing them with special power. He turned and tossed them back to me.
Take these and take courage. The hope of all bunny kind rests with you now. We know you can do it.
Thank you. I'll give it everything I've got. I turned and left his house. Time to get ready for the final fight. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back at the base and saw the rabbit and Rocky had done a great job improving it. Nice job, you guys. This place looks amazing.
Thanks, Zozo. We had a lot more creatures come and join us, so we had to build them all a place to stay.
Aren't they scared?
Yes, but they believe in you and know this is the safest place for them to be.
I sure hope so. That reminds me, we better finish our special project. There could be more creatures out there. Rocky and I headed back out to our statue and got to work finishing it up. This carrot was going to be a beacon to all the animals in the area that this was a safe place. It didn't take long, and we were soon finished. Now let's go get prepped. We've got some wolf butt to kick. On days 90 to 94, I was back in the base, putting together some diamond armor. I used the diamonds I had found in the dungeon, as well as some additional ones Rocky had found in the cave. I better go check the chest too. Rocky said he had some stuff for me in there. I opened the chest and saw it was full of healing potions. I grabbed them all and added them to my inventory. I'm feeling pretty stacked. Let's go wolf hunting. On days 95 to 96, I ran across the land in the direction of the wolf's base. It wasn't too long until I hit a river. The wolf's base was supposed to be further downstream, so I chopped down a nearby tree and built myself a boat. As I paddled down the river, I soon entered a dense jungle. It wasn't too long until I came across my first wolf. Hey, leave that cat alone! I ran ashore and started swinging, saving the cat.
Thank you. I thought I was a goner for sure.
No problem. I'm just glad you're okay.
You're so nice. Here, follow me. I saw something I think you'll find useful.
Cat set off into the trees as I followed close behind. We soon reached a small stone building covered in cobwebs. I cut down the webs and opened the chest inside. A trident and a shield. You're right. These will help a ton. Thank you.
Happy to help. I owe you after all.
I invited the cat to stay at my base, to which he happily agreed. I decided to give the trident a test, sticking it into the nearby tree. This thing is awesome. It's definitely going to help in the fight. I headed back to my boat and kept rowing down the river. Suddenly, the crocodile from before popped out. This guy again. I thought I taught him a lesson the last time. The crocodile lunged at me, catching me in his jaws. Oh, let me go! I swung my sword as he kept trying to do damage to me. This guy was tough. Let's see how you like this. I took out my trident and threw it, spearing him into oblivion. Better luck next time, pal. On days 97 to 98, I was rowing down the river when I saw my stop up ahead. I jumped out of the boat and started climbing the mountain. The wolf's lair soon came into view. As I got closer, a couple of wolves attacked. Sorry guys, but you picked the wrong guy for a boss. By using my sword, trident, and shield, I managed to fend them off. I entered the mansion, and more wolves attacked. They were vicious, but they were no match for my new armor and weapons. One by one, I took them out. Let's see, where could this guy be? I'll check the basement. I headed down the stairs and saw a tarantula at the end of the hallway, who charged. What's with this guy and spiders? The tarantula managed to stick me with a stinger, which poisoned me. It was doing damage, so I had to be quick. Luckily, I was able to take him out as the poison wore off. Let's try upstairs instead. I headed to the second floor as a couple of wolf guards came charging at me. I could tell these guys thought they were cool, but they couldn't get past my shield. Guess they weren't the smartest couple of doggos. I managed to take them both out. I was rounding one of the corners when a monkey came running up to me. Hey you! Oh hey, wow, you sound just like me. That's because I am you, from the other video. Oh yeah, the video where I survived 100 days as a monkey. That's right. Yeah, I just wanted to stop by and tell people they should come watch my monkey adventure after they finish this one. I think they'll like it. I agree, that was a crazy adventure. Tell Chim Chim I say hi. I will. Good luck with the wolf. Thanks. Wow, what a nice guy. On day 99, I reached the top floor of the lair where the big bad wolf was sitting on his throne, waiting for me.
Well, 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 if it isn't the little bunny who cried wolf.
You think you're so strong, but you attack bunnies who can't see you. You're a coward.
Is that so? Now you're just making me angry, and I was already hungry. You won't like me when I'm hangry.
The wolf leaped forward and attacked. He was strong, but I was ready. He got a few bites in, but I landed some blows of my own. I could tell he wasn't expecting me to be so strong.
Let's see how you like this.
The wolf started summoning in some smaller wolves who I was able to easily outmaneuver and defeat. Then I hit the wolf with my sword, causing him to retreat. Still a coward, hiding behind others to fight for you, I see.
I'm not a coward. I'm just powerful. Enough games. This ends now.
Suddenly, the wolf disappeared and started to attack me. And now you're cloaking? You're just proving me right. The wolf reappeared on his throne.
Who cares? You'll be gone soon. No one can stop me when I use my powers.
I quickly grabbed my rad glasses and put them on. The wolf used his cloaking power again, but I could still see him.
What? How did you hit me?
Not so invisible after all, are you?
How dare you?
The wolf let out a flurry of attacks, which caught me off guard, nearly taking all of my health. Maybe I was being a little too cocky. He only had to hit me one more time, and I was done for.
Zozo!
I looked over and saw Rocky standing by the stairs.
Catch!
He threw a splash potion at me, which immediately restored all of my health.
No!
I pulled out my trident and threw it at the wolf, destroying him for good. Rocky, I can't believe you followed me here. I'm glad you did, though. You saved the day. But our work here isn't done yet. On day 100, I headed down into the basement and used my hammer to break the animals out of their cages. Be free, my friends. It's safe now. After I had broken all of the animals out, I stood by the door of the mansion as the creatures ran to freedom. Sometime later, I was back at my base, surrounded by all my new friends. Thanks for all of your help, and I'll catch you in my next adventure. On day 1, I spawned in as a medieval knight. And look at that, I already have iron gear and 10 hearts. It was a good thing I had the gear, because I was immediately attacked by a group of hoglins. Where did you guys come from? Since I had an iron sword, I was able to defeat the first few with no problems. The last, however, started to run away. Hey, get back here! The hoglin ran into the woods and I ran after him, but soon I couldn't see which way he went. Which way did he go? I ran in the direction he had been going before, and soon stumbled on a large fort in the distance. I could see the hoglin looking down at me from the second floor. I started running toward the entrance of the fort when suddenly the ground opened up and I fell into a dark hole. Ah! 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 Why am I still falling? Just as I was starting to think I might be falling forever, I suddenly landed in a pool of water. Where am I? I swam out of the pool and saw I was in a dimly lit, dark underground area. And what was this? Now I only have 5 hearts? I was so confused. Maybe this was all just a bad dream. I saw a good spot to rest and set up a small camp. Maybe if I could fall asleep, I could wake up from this nightmare. On day 2, I woke up, still in the same place. I decided it was best that I look around and try to find out what was going on. Level 100. I guess I better see what's behind this door. I climbed up the stairs and saw another door, which was also labeled. Level 99. Okay, interesting. I'm guessing level 1 is how I get out of here. This is gonna be quite the journey. I better start looking for the door up. As I walked further into the room, I realized that this didn't look like a room at all. The area was a dark jungle, and there was even a sky. This must be some kind of powerful magic. I better start collecting some supplies. Who knows what could be hiding out here? I started by knocking some cocoa beans off a tree, then started punching the trees to collect some wood. After I had gathered a decent amount, I started walking through the trees to look for a door. I soon found a nice pond to stop at to rest. As I rested, I was suddenly attacked by a pack of mungai. What did I do to you? These little guys were vicious. You saw them from afar, you would probably think they were pretty cute, but it turns out they were all just a bunch of little imposters. Shouldn't you little minions be helping a supervillain somewhere? They put up a tough challenge, but my iron sword was too much for them, and ultimately, they were all all defeated. Sheesh, I gotta hurry and find that door. I kept wandering through the forest and eventually saw something glowing off in the distance. Is that it? Is this the door to the next level? I opened it up and headed up the stairs. On day 3, I emerged onto level 98. Okay, it looks like that was the door to the next level. I'm glad I didn't run into any more mobs, but I'll have to keep an eye out. Turned out I needed to keep an ear out too, because just then I heard someone calling for help.
Help me, can someone help?
Who could that be? I rushed toward the sound of the voice and stumbled upon a man being attacked by a group of Mungai. Uh-oh, not more of these fun guys. I hopped in with my iron sword and started slashing away. I could tell they had nearly killed this poor guy. What do you think you're doing? You belong in soup. I swung away until there was only one left, and as I killed the last one, my iron sword broke. Well, I'm glad they're gone, but so is my only weapon. Anyway, how are you doing, buddy? The man rose to his feet. He was clearly hurt, but was hanging on.
That was a close one. Thank you for rescuing me. I was a Z-man for sure.
No problem. Say, do you know what's going on here?
Well, one moment I was walking through the forest looking to sell my wares. I'm a traveling merchant, you see. And the next I was falling down what seemed to be an eternal pit. I landed at the bottom and have been trying to make my way out ever since.
Sounds like we're in the same boat. If we stick together, we can get out of here faster.
C'est magnifique. Let's do it. Oh, zoot.
The merchant tried to take a couple of steps, but his leg was clearly hurt.
It's my leg, but do not fret, mon ami. We will persevere. By the way, my name is Benoit. What is yours?
The name's Zozo.
Zozo what?
Just Zozo. Sorry, I phrased that weird. Let's go! On days 4 to 5, we had made our way up a few floors to level 95. On the previous floor, I had crafted some wooden tools to fend off some weaker mobs, but nothing too major had happened. Benoit's leg was keeping us from moving too fast, but everything was going well so far. Hey, it looks like there's some stone deposits up ahead. Let's try and get some stones for new tools. Benoit took a seat while I got out my wooden pickaxe and started mining out some stone. After I had mined out a decent amount, I put down my crafting table and fashioned together a full set of stone tools. I also made an extra sword so Benoit could defend himself. Here you go, Benoit, just in case anything happens. Using my new stone pickaxe, I decided to keep mining into the stone deposit. Maybe I could find some iron. As I continued to dig through, I couldn't believe what I found. Is this the next door? Why was it buried under the stone? These doors aren't going to be as easy to find as I thought. I opened the door and sure enough, there was a staircase leading up to the next level. Come on, Benoit, let's see what's waiting for us ahead. On days 6 through 8, we reached level 93, and I noticed things were a little different than the other floors. A few monkeys scampered by, and I could see an arena up ahead. Something doesn't feel right. Benoit, I think you should hang back while I go check things out. I approached the building slowly, but I didn't see anything, so I stepped inside. Just then, I heard a thump as a big bun fungus slowly emerged from the shadows and into the light. Easy there, big guy.
Carrot, give me carrot.
I don't have a carrot, but maybe we can find you something else.
Give carrot or you carrot.
Me carrot? I'm not a carrot.
No, you carrot. I eat carrot.
Me no carrot.
You carrot.
No carrot.
Carrot.
The bun fungus lunged at me and attacked. Our conversation wasn't really going anywhere, so it was probably best just to get into it. I'm not a carrot. Knock it off. For as silly as he was, the bun fungus was really strong. Clearly, he was always eating his carrots, which was contributing to his powerful blows. How about you take a bite of this? I swung my sword again and again as he chased me around the arena. He was getting some hits in, but I was holding my own. After a hard-fought battle, I was able to land the final blow, and the bun fungus was defeated. As he disappeared, I noticed he had also dropped a compass and a small crystal. I took a look at the compass first. Door locator? Is this what I think it is? I took a closer look at the compass and could see the compass was pointing me in a direction. I'll have to see if that leads me to a door. But before that, I took a look at the crystal. I'm not sure what this is supposed to do exactly. What happens when I place it? I set the crystal down, and suddenly, an image of a princess began broadcasting out of it.
Hello there. I've been captured by the wizard who controls this fort, and am in need of someone like you to rescue me. Help me, brave adventurer. You're my only hope.
Oh no, she must be in real trouble. I gotta get to the top. I headed back outside and met up with Benoit. I explained the situation and he agreed to help as much as he could. We took out the compass and headed in the direction it pointed us. We soon saw the door and headed inside, but this time there was something different, an elevator. I wonder what that's about. There was a staircase leading up to the next level, but next to the elevator was a power switch, so I flipped it on. Let's see where this goes. Benoit and I entered the elevator and hit the button inside. The elevator started to move. On days 9 through 11, we stepped out of the elevator into a large cave. Wait a second, this is the cave where I started. I took a look around to be sure, but there was no mistake. This was the same cave.
If this brings us back to this floor, that makes me think there will be more elevators on future floors. Maybe we can set up a base here.
That makes sense to me. How are you feeling?
Definitely better, but I don't know if I can keep going up the stairs. How about I get things started down here, and you go look for the princess?
That's a great plan. Before I go though, I think we should set up some kind of distraction to scare away any mobs that might try to come after you. I was thinking I could build a large statue.
Great idea.
I got straight straight to it, working on the statue. I thought it should be something scary, but also something that could believably be in this world. After a bit, I had finished the first part. This is coming along great. Can you guess what it's going to be? With the first part complete, I headed back over to the elevator and stepped inside. There was just a button inside. I wonder how high it will take me. On days 12 to 14, I emerged from the elevator to see that I had returned to the same level as before. I must have to activate the elevator on a given floor to travel to it. Looks like there's no shortcuts. I then entered the door to the stairs nearby and headed up to the next floor. When I walked out, I saw that the biome was completely new. I was now in a swamp biome. This is a swamp, but the water looks off. In fact, it looks poisoned. To test this out, I headed to the edge of the water and tossed some wood I had into it. With a sizzle, the wood disintegrated completely. Oh, I'm gonna have to watch my step. Otherwise, that could be me. Unlucky for me, though. I could see my only way forward was going to be jumping on lily pads across the swamp. I sure hope those parkour lessons were worth it. I jumped ahead, landing on the lily pad. I had some close calls, too, as some of the lily pads were actually drop leaves. That could have easily dropped me into the poison. Phew, I'm glad I made it across. Well, let's find that door. I started heading in the direction of the next door. I really hope I'm not too late to save the princess. As I was walking, I was suddenly attacked by a giant mosquito. No hugs, no hugs. The mosquito was vicious. I tried to keep it away, but it kept wrapping itself around me, trying to bite me. It did some serious damage. Get off of me, you bloodthirsty psychopath. I managed to knock it back and hit the mosquito with my sword, finally defeating it. Ugh, I don't want to run into another one of those ever again. I kept following the compass and headed off to find the next door. On day 15, I had made my way to floor 85 when I saw a house in the distance. Another house. I wonder if there's another monster hiding inside. I gotta be careful. I took my sword out and started sneaking up to the door when the door swung open. Charge!
Wait!
I stopped running and realized it was just an old woman. Oh, sorry about that. I'm not used to meeting people who don't attack me.
That is quite alright. I'm not used to meeting new faces either. I've heard of many people coming to this place, but so far none of them have made it this far. You must be the most skilled of them all.
Thank you, but you mentioned others? What do you know of this place? The woman took a deep breath before beginning her story.
Hundreds of years ago, a young wizard lived alone in the mountains. In his isolation, he became a powerful wielder of magic. For a time, he would show others his magic, but was laughed at and bullied for being weird. Then one day, a young knight asked him for his help uniting the broken kingdom. The pair forged a powerful friendship, and peace was restored to the land. However, the young knight, now king, wanted the wizard to do more. He didn't just want peace in his kingdom, but he wanted to control the entire world. When the wizard refused, the king banished him. Now he lives here, capturing and toying with wayward knights and explorers as revenge for what his friend did to him.
That's awful. It almost makes me feel bad for him.
Don't. He didn't have to do this. He made his choice. He's nothing like the wizard he once was, and has been corrupted in his anger.
I see. Well, that helps. I better get going. The wizard has to be stopped. You should come with me.
Thank you for the offer, but I'm actually quite happy with the new life I've built. It suits me here. But I have something that should help you.
The old woman tossed out a potion of endurance. I picked it up and took a drink. Immediately I felt my strength returning, and I regained all 10 of my hearts. Oh wow, I feel amazing. Thank you for this.
You're very welcome, young man. Take this as well. You might find yourself needing it out there.
She threw out a poison resistance potion, which I picked up. Thanks again for all of your help. I'm sure we'll see each other again. On days 16 to 19, I was traversing the swamp when I came across a cave. These stone tools aren't going to cut it for much longer. I should see if I can find some iron in that cave. I headed into the cave and soon saw several iron ores. I got to mining and managed to mine a few of them. Alright, let's go see if I can get a few more. I started making my way down the cave when I heard a horrible roar. I turned around and saw a huge crocodile looking right at me. Uh-oh, this doesn't look good. The crocodile charged at me and attacked. His powerful jaws did a lot of damage. My stone sword felt like it was barely doing anything. My iron armor was pretty weak, and he even managed to break some of it. With armor missing, my health was really starting to drop, so I had no choice but to run away. Okay, you win this one. I ran back out of the cave, and luckily the crocodile didn't follow me out. Man, there was so much more iron in there. How much did I get? I took a look and saw I had gotten enough for maybe a couple of tools, but that was it. Well, I don't have enough to fix my armor and make new tools. I'll only be able to do one or the other. I decided that I would build a sword and do my best not to get hit. I quickly made a forge, smelted down the iron I had, and crafted an iron sword. This is gonna be a risky move, but who knows how likely I am to find more iron. I equipped my sword and snuck back into the cave. As I made my way, I could see the crocodile just up ahead. He hadn't noticed me. With the amount of armor I had left, I could probably only take a a couple of hits. Here goes nothing. I sprang into action and started furiously swinging my sword. I jumped forward and back, doing my best to dodge the croc's bites. Despite my best efforts, he managed to get a hit in. Uh-oh, this is gonna be a close one. The crocodile snapped at me furiously, but at long last, I was able to land the fatal blow. Oh man, let's not do that again. With the crocodile out of the way, I mined out the rest of the iron I needed. With the freshly mined iron, I smelted it down and made myself a new set of iron armor, which I gratefully equipped. I'm feeling safer already. On to the next room. From days 20 to 22, I eventually found myself on floor 78, which looked extremely similar to the floor the bun fungus was on, or at least the building in front of me did. Okay, this building looks just like that other one. There's gotta be a scary monster hiding in this one. There was just one problem. The building was completely surrounded by poison water. How am I gonna get across this? I threw down a crafting table and quickly made a boat. I set the boat in the water, but it immediately started smoking and disappeared into the poison. That was when I remembered the poison resistance potion the old woman had given me. I drank it down and jumped into the water. I probably should have just dipped a toe in before jumping all the way in, but it seems to be working. As I crossed, I saw some clay at the bottom of the swamp, so I stopped and mined some of it out. I can use this for the statue. With the clay collected, I continued across the swamp and soon reached the other side. I made my way up to the opening of the arena and took a peek inside, but didn't see anything. The arena was filled with poison, but my potion had run out. I hopped across the drop leaves, just barely making it to the other side. Phew, that was a close one. I don't see anything though. What was that? Suddenly, a strange plant creature rose out of the swamp and started moving toward me. It was a whisperer. Alright, no need to panic. He let out a shriek and started to attack. This whisperer was insane. He would wave his arms, which caused plants to fly up from the ground. He also summoned a large flower that would attack me. Oh, I gotta get out of the way of these plants. I jumped around the arena, using the lily pads to try and get hits in, but his special attacks were making this difficult. The closer I can get, the better chance I'll have. It was risky having to jump across the poison pond, but if I couldn't get close enough to get hits in, there was no way I was going to win. You're not so tough at close range, are you? Finally was able to start wearing him down and let out a flurry of hits. Soon enough, he was down. As he disappeared, I noticed a chest on the other side of the room. What could be in here? I popped the chest open and saw it was full of gold ingots. I'm not sure what I'll do with these, but I'll hang on to them, just in case. With my new loot, I looked ahead and saw the door leading to the next level. Inside of it was another elevator. I flipped the nearby switch to activate it. I'll bet this takes me back to the first level. I should go see what Benoit is up to. I entered the elevator and headed down. On days 23 to 26, I re-entered the cave and saw that Benoit had been making some small improvements to the base. He had set up a small crafting and smelting area, but had another request for me.
Zozo, mon ami, could you give me a hand with this next project? I need a place to sell my wares.
I agreed, and we got to work building Benoit a shop. It seemed a little silly since, as far as I knew, I was the only customer he could have, but he was a nice guy and I wanted to help.
C'est bon, this shop is amazing. Merci, Zozo.
No problem. So have you got something to sell?
As a matter of fact, I do. If you have some money for me, I'd be happy to sell to you.
I don't have any money, but I do have some gold bars. Give me 1 second. I headed over to the crafting area and tossed out some of the gold bars. Using my pick, I managed to shape them into some gold coins. These should work great. I headed over to Benoit and asked him what he had in stock.
For now, the only item I have in stock is a bow and some arrows. I'm hoping to find some more inventory around the caves.
A bow could be really helpful, actually. I'll take it. I tossed Benoit some of my coins and took the bow and arrows off the shelf in return. With my new item, I was going to be even more deadly than before. On days 27 to 31, I decided I would do some work on the statue before heading back up the tower. Benoit seemed to be pretty safe so far, but the sooner we could finish the statue, the safer I felt he could be. Soon, I had finished the second part. Go ahead and put your guesses for what it will be in the comments. And while you're down there, feel free to hit subscribe and ring the bell. I love having you on these adventures with me. Next, I headed over to the elevator to take it back up the tower. On the next level, I saw I was now in a Badlands biome. Okay, I'm starting to see the pattern here. Looks like every so often there's a mini-boss, and then the next floors take place in a new biome. Interesting. I didn't have too long to think about it though, as I was suddenly attacked by a couple of tarantula hawks. Stay back, you buzzards! These guys weren't too big, but they were intense. I was actually really surprised by how strong they were, given their size. They were trying to keep their distance, but I was able to use my new bow to get hits on them. It didn't take too much longer, and I was able to take them all out of the sky. These mobs are getting tougher with each floor. I can't even imagine what's waiting for me on floor 1. That's when I noticed that the durability on my bow had greatly depleted. Hey, what's this? My bow isn't very durable. I'm gonna have to have a chat with Benoit about this later. On days 32 to 35, I had reached floor 64 when I noticed there was some terracotta nearby. Ooh, I'm gonna need that for the statue. I better go pick it up. I mined out a good portion of terracotta, then continued on my way. This Badlands area was huge. It's going to be tough to find the door. As I continued to explore, I nearly ran into a rattlesnake. Oh, watch out! I whipped out my sword and gave it a few strong swings, quickly taking it out. That was a close one.
Not too shabby.
I looked to the side and saw a small roadrunner was watching me.
I saw you fighting tarantula hawks earlier, as well as that snake. The tarantula hawks kidnapped my daughter. Would you be able to help me rescue her?
I'd be happy to help. Show me the way. The Roadrunner pointed to where I needed to go and I set off. As I reached the area the Roadrunner had mentioned, I realized I had made a mistake. Oh brother, this is obviously some kind of joke. The daughter was clearly a stuffed dummy, and there was a cage suspended right above it, plainly meant to trap me inside. What is this, some kind of kid's cartoon where a Roadrunner tries to outsmart those around him? Like I'd fall for that. I took another step forward to get a better look, when suddenly the sand beneath my feet gave way, and I fell into a massive hole. I can't believe I fell for that. On days 36 to 39, I was still falling. This feels like the hole I fell into on day 1. Seconds later, I crashed into a pool of water. I looked around and yep, I was back in the starting cave. You've got to be kidding me, this place is full of jerks. Which reminds me, I need to talk to Benoit about that bow he sold me. I made my way back over to the base and saw Benoit standing in a shop. Hey, that bow you sold me nearly broke after one fight. I paid good money for this.
Oh dear Zozo, I am so sorry. I would never intentionally sell you a poor quality product. Please, let me give you a discount on the next item.
Okay, fair enough. What have you got? Benoit tossed out an enchanted fire aspect iron sword.
I think you'll find this sword is the quality you're looking for.
I closely looked over the sword and everything seemed to be in order. Even with the discount, it still cost me the rest of my gold. From there, I headed back into the elevator and eventually reached the floor I'd been on before. I could see the Roadrunner not too far away. Hey you! What's the big idea? Throwing me down that pit? Upon hearing my voice, he jumped in the air and started running away. Hey, get back over here. I've got something to say to you. The Roadrunner was fast. I did my best to keep up with him, but it looked like he was getting away. Lucky for me though, he ran into a dead end. Now you listen here, I'm getting really tired of these games. I walked over to him and hit him once with my new sword.
Ouch! Okay, don't hurt me. I'm just so bored and thought it would be a funny prank. You didn't actually get hurt, right?
No, but I didn't think it was very funny. I'm in a bit of a rush, so it's frustrating to have to go up all those stairs over and over again. I'll let you live, but don't mess with me. I left the Roadrunner and headed in the direction of the next door. On days 40 to 43, I was exploring the new floor when I noticed something was following me. I turned around and caught a glimpse of who it was. That Roadrunner again. He better not be up to something. But just then, a huge guster came out of nowhere and attacked me. This big guy was tough. I tried hitting him with my sword, but he seemed to be immune from the fire damage. He managed to hit me a few more times, and my health was getting seriously low. He even managed to suck me into his vortex and throw me into the air. It looks like this might be the end for me. But before the guster could deliver the final blow, the Roadrunner jumped out and finished it off. Wow, thank you. But why are you helping me?
I felt bad for pranking you. Clearly you're just trying to do the right thing. My name is Rhodey. Here, let me show you something I think you will like.
I followed the Roadrunner for a bit, and soon saw he had led me to an oasis. There was a small hut nearby too. It looked like it used to be a smithy. You're right, this place is just what I needed. Thanks for showing it to me. Feel free to stick around. The Roadrunner agreed, and I went and looked in the chest. Inside, I found some iron ingots, as well as a shield. Using the iron ingots, I managed to repair my armor as well.
Take a look at that tree too.
I headed outside and saw that the nearby tree was no ordinary tree. There were some golden apples growing on it. I walked around the tree and knocked some of them off. These are going to be a huge help in the fight ahead. On days 44 to 49, we continued crossing the desert until we saw a large desert arena in the distance. I could see a corridor ahead leading into the stadium with 2 guards standing by. Hey, Rhodey, why don't you hang back while I check this out? It could be a trap, a real trap. I tried talking to the guards, but neither of them said anything. As I started to walk into the corridor, a bunch of arrows started firing. And this is the only way in? Great. I stepped into the arrows, trying to use my shield to block them. I managed to block some of the arrows, but I still took a ton of damage. With 1 heart left, I finally got through. Yeah, that could have gone better. I finally stepped into the arena. After I had stepped inside, the doors closed behind me. That's not good. Just then, a man dressed like a wither skeleton was standing on a platform at the top of the arena.
Ladies and gentlemen, our challenger has arrived. A big round of applause, please.
Hey, buddy. You know it's just us here, right?
Thank you for that warm welcome. And now, let the games begin.
This guy was clearly nuts. He must have been in the desert for too long. Just then, another door opened and a husk came running out. A single husk? What a joke. This is going to be so easy. Just then, a huge horde came running out after him. I guess it wasn't going to be so easy after all. The husks weren't very strong, but there were a lot of them. To keep them from ganging up on me, I ran ahead to get them in a line. Suddenly, the ground shook and parts of the arena floor opened, revealing pools of lava. What kind of sick games are these? I kept trying to get the husks lined up as I took care not to fall into the lava. Once they were lined up, I started to quickly cut through them, one at a time. It took a little while, but finally, they were all defeated. Okay, yay, I won. Can you let me out now?
We have a winner. Time for round 2.
The floor shook again as some pillars rose up from the floor, and this time, a few giant and normal-sized gladiators came charging at me. How many rounds of this am I gonna have to do? Luckily for me, the two big gladiators turned on each other, with one of them taking the other out. The bad news was that they were now all focused on me. I ran around the stadium, doing my best to try and block the trident throws and get hits in. This was a much tougher fight, but I was determined to win. Eventually, I was able to take out the trident guy, so I could focus solely on the gladiator. You know what they say about the big guys. The bigger they are, the harder they fall. I managed to get the gladiator lined up with a pit of lava. I swung my sword, knocking him in and defeating him.
Ladies and gentlemen, the final round!
The arena shook again as the lava pits and columns disappeared. Then a door opened and a huge scorpion came running out. This wasn't gonna be easy. This was gonna be my hardest fight yet. If I can just stay away from that stinger, I might be able to do this. The scorpion was tough and hit hard. Ouch! You'll pay for that. Suddenly, the arena shook again and the lava pits and columns returned. But this time, they kept moving in and out. That guy just couldn't make this easy for me, could he? Kept fighting the scorpion, and at one point, my health had dropped dangerously low. But I couldn't give up now. At one point, I was able to catch the scorpion in the lava pit, but he was able to crawl back out. Looks like I'm just gonna have to do this the old-fashioned way. I kept hitting it with blow after blow with my sword until at long last it was defeated.
And the crowd goes wild! Well done, brave sir, well done. Please take the spoils of your accomplishment.
Another door opened, revealing a room with a chest. I headed over and took a look inside. An elite power bow. And whoa, tons and tons of gold. Just then, Rhodey came running up to me.
Hey, nice job! I was thinking I would keep adventuring with you, but after seeing that, you mind if I live at your base?
That shouldn't be a problem. Let's go. I entered the next room where an elevator was waiting. We went inside and headed back to the base. On days 50 to 53, Rhodey and I emerged from the elevator back at the base. Rhodey was going to need a place to live, so we got right to work building him his own space. I wanted him to feel right at home. When we had finished, Benoit came over and asked if I could give him a hand with the statue. Benoit and I used some of the blocks he had collected to build out the next part of the statue. He said things had been going well since I had been here last, and he even had something new for me to buy in his shop. We soon finished, and I headed over to his shop. Alright, so you said you've got something new for me?
Oui, take a look. I have a whole stack of diamonds. I'm sure these will be very useful for you.
I paid Benoit with the gold I had won from the arena, then took all of the diamonds over to the crafting area. I put together a full set of diamond armor, then used what was left to make a diamond sword, as well as a whole set of diamond tools. That princess has nothing to worry about. I'm on my way. On days 54 to 57, I made my way back up the elevator and stairs and emerged in a frozen tundra. Oh man, it's freezing. I don't know how long I can stay out here. Just then, I noticed that my health started to decrease. I was literally freezing. To make sure I didn't freeze to death, I got right to work, building a quick igloo and campfire. This is going to be tough going. I'm not going to be able to survive away from a heat source for too long. Once I had warmed up, I set back out, following the direction of my compass. As I traveled, I kept having to take breaks and set up a small fire to warm up. Eventually, I found the door, built into an ice spike. I made one more stop to warm up. I wasn't sure what was going to be on the next level. Once I was feeling good, I entered and headed on up. On days 58 to 62, I had reached the next floor and noticed that the weather wasn't as bad here. I think my armor is enough to keep me warm. Thank goodness. I was moving at a glacial pace before. I pressed on and soon saw a penguin. How adorable. I should go say hi. I ran up to the penguin when it suddenly attacked. Whoa, I thought you were supposed to be cute and cuddly. I managed to fight off the penguin when I heard something just ahead. I ran forward and saw a bunch of penguins standing around something. It was another adventurer. Hey, leave him alone. I charged and began swinging at the penguins. They were feisty little fighters, but I was able to overwhelm them and take them out. I headed over to the adventurer. Oh no, it looks like he's dead. But what's this? Laying on top of him was a crystal, similar to the one I had picked up earlier. I set it down, and the princess appeared, saying the same thing as the one I had found. But wait a second, this princess looks completely different. There must be two princesses in danger. That's the only thing I can think of that makes sense. I better hurry up. Soon after, my compass had led me to the door, and I headed in and up the stairs. On days 63 to 66, I emerged on a floor that looked like an ice beach. Ahead in the water, there was a huge ice spike. My compass had been pointing me to it, so I assumed that was where I needed to go. In the distance, I could see a bridge leading out to the spike, but as I started to cross it, I saw that the end of the bridge had been destroyed. It looks like I can still get across by jumping across those smaller ice spikes, but it's gonna be tricky. If I slipped and fell, I'd be falling into sub-zero water, where I could quickly freeze to death. I had to be careful. I was about halfway across when I nearly slipped. Whoa, whoa, whoa! I was right on the edge, so close that it almost looked like I was floating over the edge. I regained my composure and managed to make it the rest of the way across. Phew, next time I do parkour, it's gonna have to be with lower stakes. I kept jumping and finally made it across the gap. I started to climb the ice spike. When I got to the top, I nearly jumped off in fear. There was a massive polar bear waiting for me. This must be the boss to get through to the next door. Wish me luck. I charged as the polar bear let out a large roar. He swung and nearly knocked me over the edge several times. This guy is tough. How am I gonna beat him? Just then, I had an idea. I was scared of falling off, but shouldn't he be too? I made some space between us and ran over near the edge. Come and get it. The polar bear charged at me full speed. At the last second, I jumped out of the way, causing it to slip right off the edge and down to the ground below. Piece of cake. As I looked over over the edge, I could see some of the ice below had melted too. Almost looked like it had formed a word. Interesting. With the polar bear gone, I entered the door and could see that there was an elevator and path to go up. I stepped into the elevator and headed down to the base. On day 67 to 70, I entered the base and went over to talk to Benoit and Rhodey. Both of them were really excited and impressed by how far I had gotten. They also told me how much fun they were having down in the base. I was glad to hear it, but something was bothering me. Oh, I wanted to ask you guys about something I found. On one of the last floors, I found a crystal with another princess message. Maybe there's two princesses, but something did seem off to me. Before they could answer though, the old woman from the swamp came out of nowhere.
This place is full of tricks. That's probably all it is. You should just ignore it.
Whoa, what brings you down here?
I thought I would pay you a visit. This is quite a nice place you've built down here. If your offer still stands, I wouldn't mind living down here after all.
I thought that sounded great, so I got right to work building her a house. I thought it was strange that she had changed her mind, but in any case, it would be good to have some more friends around. Once her house was complete, I headed over to Benoit to see if he had anything new to sell.
As a matter of fact, I do. I managed to find some lapis. You can enchant your armor with this.
I made a fresh set of coins with my gold and exchanged it for a stack of lapis. I entered the old woman's hut and used her enchanting table to upgrade my gear. I'll be able to tackle any biome or enemy now. I stepped outside to head back up the floors when I remembered we had a statue to work on. I made my way back up and got going on the next part. It didn't take too long and I was soon done. On to the next floor. On day 71 to 74, I returned to the last ice level, then started making my way up to the next door. Oof, it's usually not this difficult to reach the next level. Once I had maneuvered to the door, I entered in and was surprised by what I saw on the other side. Did I just enter the nether? The whole atmosphere had changed. But in the meantime, I decided to mine the magma blocks off the wall. I was going to need those for the statue later. I headed through the door. Wait a second, this looks like the same room, but the door is farther away. What's going on? I ran down the hallway and passed through the door. It was the same hallway again, but the door was even farther away than before. What kind of twisted joke is this? I ran through the next door, and it was the same thing, but the door was even farther away. I started running for the door, but paused about halfway through. I must have missed something. I'm gonna go back. I turned to go through the last door, when suddenly, a bunch of piglins came bursting through, wielding axes. I tried to run away, but didn't have any other choice but to fight. With my upgraded gear, I managed to knock both of them out pretty quickly. Okay, maybe I just need to keep moving forward. I moved ahead when suddenly a couple of blazes spawned. I swung furiously to avoid catching on fire. Suddenly, there were more piglins too. I kept fighting and swinging. I had come so far. Soon, they were all defeated. Okay, let's keep going. Wait, which way was I going? I was completely turned around. I headed toward one of the doors to go through it. At the time, I didn't know that I was heading back the way I came in, but it turned out that was just what I needed to do. On days 75 to 78, I emerged from the door and found myself in the end. What is going on? Now I'm jumping through dimensions. I took out my compass to figure out where the next door was, but it was just spinning in circles. Looks like I'm going to have to find the next door the old-fashioned way. I started making my way toward the nearest end city when I accidentally looked at the nearest Enderman in the eyes. He attacked! Back off, Slender Boy! It took a few swings of my sword, but I was able to knock him out. It might not be a bad idea to gather up some Ender Pearls, actually. Those could come in handy. With this in mind, I started my raid on the Endermen. One by one, I struck them down and collected the Ender Pearls. At one point, I even had multiple of them attacking me at once, which was a little scary. But eventually, I'd gotten all the pearls I felt I needed. That ought to do it. But hey, might as well collect some blocks for the statue too. I took out my pick and mined up some of the endstone on the ground, getting everything I needed. Then, I headed to the nearest structure, which was covered in shulkers. Time to duck and cover! The shulkers started firing at me, and I did my best to block their shots with my shield and hit them with my sword. I wasn't perfect though, and soon started levitating. Ugh, that doesn't feel so good. The levitating effect wore off, and I dropped to the ground. Luckily, I wasn't too high, and it didn't do too much damage. Finally, I was able to get close enough to the shulkers to finish them all off. Alright, let's see what's up here. I entered the end city and started following the path. There were more shulkers along the way, which I was able to fight off. Sometimes their levitating power even helped me out. It took a little bit to get through everything, but eventually I emerged on the roof and could see a door. That door looks a little weird, but it must be the way through. Let's see what happens. On day 79 to 84, I suddenly appeared on the end central island, and much to my fear, I could see the Ender Dragon flying around in the distance. This wizard isn't messing around. Looks like I'm gonna have to fight the Ender Dragon. I lunged forward as the dragon swooped around overhead. What ensued was an epic battle. Okay, first things first, I gotta take care of those end crystals. It's a good thing I got those Ender Pearls. By throwing the Ender Pearls, I teleported to the top of the towers and destroyed the end crystals. I had to be careful not to blow myself up, but one by one, I managed to destroy all of them. Alright, big guy, it's just you and me now. I ran into the middle of the island and worked on bringing down the dragon's health. The dragon flew by overhead, trying to blast me with its dragon breath. The dragon soon landed, and I was able to get some hits in. As the dragon flew around, I took aim with my elite bow and managed to get some hits in that way too. At long last, the dragon swooped in low, and I hit him with an arrow, finally destroying him. He exploded, dropping a ton of XP orbs. I did it! If I can beat the dragon, surely I can beat a wizard. It was just then that I noticed a chest had appeared on top of the center column. I ran over and opened it up. Look at all these nether scraps. And what's this? In the middle of the chest was a paladin sword. I took it out and equipped it. With the sword in hand, a bunch of lights started sparkling around me, and I leveled up into a full-blown paladin. I feel even stronger now, and look what my sword can do. As I swung my sword, I could see it was launching a light sword in the direction I was aiming. So cool. Just then, I noticed there was a button and trapdoor nearby too. I hit the button and dropped into the hole. When I landed, I saw a familiar room, one with an elevator and some steps. I hit the switch and headed into the elevator. On days 85 to 89, I emerged in the base where Benoit, Rhodey, and the old woman came running out to meet me.
You're back. That must mean you're getting close to the top. You're doing great.
Thanks. I've just got a few things to do here, and I think I'll finally be at the top. First of all, I wanted to finish the statue, using the extra materials I had collected. No dragon was as scary as one breathing fire in your face, so I made sure to add a stream of fire. And just like that, it was finished. Is this what you thought I'd build when I started? Let me know what you think. With the statue complete, I headed down to the crafting area and used the gold and netherite to create some netherite ingots. Then I used the ingots to upgrade my tools and sword to netherite. Now that everything was upgraded, it was time to say goodbye to my friends before heading up to the final floors. Well guys, it looks like there's actually some hope of us getting out of here. It's been awesome getting to know you, and if I don't make it, hopefully this base can help you until the next adventurer comes along.
You are a great friend, Zozo. I know you can do it. We will see you soon, mon ami.
I turned and headed for the door. I was a man on a mission, and no one was going to get in my way. On days 90 to 94, I emerged in a stone corridor. As I stepped into the room, I was immediately attacked by some hoglins. Luckily, I was able to quickly destroy them. There was something familiar about this place. Wait, I think that was the hoglin from day one. This must be the castle I saw before. I was getting close, but I had to stay focused. I opened a nearby door and immediately took some damage. What was that? I took a look inside the room and didn't see anything dangerous. I shut the door again and took more damage. Oh boy, this place must be trapped. I'm gonna have to watch my step. I proceeded down the hallways and ran into more mobs. This place was crawling with enemies. The mobs fought like their lives depended on it, which they did. Unlucky for them though, my new armor and weapons were stacked. They didn't stand a chance. After a ton of fighting, I finally pushed through a large group of them and had a moment to heal up. Well, I might have a few arrows sticking out of me, but I'm still here. I headed back into the corridors, fighting off skeletons as I went. This paladin sword was definitely coming in handy, as I was able to cut down enemies from far away. I kept pushing, taking out piglins and other enemies along the way. I finally entered a room and could tell something was different. On days 95 to 96, I entered a banquet hall and saw something illuminated on the wall. Subscribe. I keep seeing this word everywhere. In any case, I'm happy you're here and appreciate your support. If you liked the video, please consider subscribing. On days 97 to 98, I had gone through a side door and found myself facing a white wall. Suddenly, there was a clicking sound as a drawbridge lowered. Standing in the center of the room was a giant pigless. Uh-oh, this isn't gonna be an easy fight. The pigless charged at me. He quickly hit me twice with his mace, which nearly depleted all of my health. If I was gonna survive, I was gonna have to be more careful. Not bad, Baconator, but let's see how you like this. Huh? I had swung my sword, but the pigless disappeared. Where did he go? Suddenly, he reappeared right next to me, nearly catching me off guard. Holy cow! This guy packed a punch. It took everything I had not to get hit, and I had to keep eating golden apples to stay in the fight. By using my paladin sword, though, I was able to hang in there. My friends are counting on me. I can't lose. I kept swinging and fighting until at long last, I landed the final blow, destroying the pigless. It was time to face the wizard. On day 99, I stepped into a large hall. Up ahead, there was a large wooden door. I stepped forward, and the door creaked open, revealing the wizard standing on a platform ahead of me. I walked into the room. Wizard, your traps have failed to stop me. I won't let you continue to keep people captive, and I'm going to free the princess. Get out of my way, or I'll move you myself.
Ha ha ha, you've done well, but I can't allow you to leave this place. Knights and adventurers can't be trusted.
Then you've made your decision. Think fast! I swung my sword, sending a sword beam flying at him as flames began to appear around me. I jumped out of the way and the flames exploded. This guy wasn't messing around.
I'll show you what real magic can do.
The wizard shot blasts of green energy at me as I continued to fire off sword energy. He was strong, but I was getting hits in. Suddenly, there was a crash of thunder and a red cloud appeared above me as fireballs started to rain down. Ah, that's hot, that's hot!
Haha, what do you think of this?
There was a poof, and a bunch of wizards appeared, who all charged at me. Holy cannoli, I didn't even know it was possible to do this kind of magic. The wizard clones were aggressive, but I was able to cut them down pretty easily. Then, I kept firing off sword blasts.
Oh, why isn't this working?
The wizard was getting frustrated. I was winning. Suddenly, he started firing off all of his spells at once. This was starting to be too much to handle. I could just keep hitting him. As one of my sword hits landed, he suddenly started to glow and burst into an explosion of light. Was that it? I I did it! I think. Something didn't seem right about that. But the princess, I need to save her. On day 100, I took a look around the room and saw there was a lever hiding behind one of the banners. I flipped the switch, which opened a secret door. I headed inside. I'm Zozo. I'm here to rescue you.
Zozo, my hero. Your hair.
Where's the other princess?
The what? Oh, yes, the other,
Oh, forget it.
There was a burst of light, and the wizard was standing in the place of the princess. I defeated you, and I'll do it again.
Wait!
Sorry, it's hard to keep doing the voice. I really didn't mean any harm.
What are you talking about? You threw me down a hole. You set me on fire. I fought a giant scorpion in an arena.
All illusions. In case you didn't notice, I'm pretty good at magic. In fact, it has all been an illusion, including everyone you've met. They're all parts of my personality, manifested by different people. You were never in any real danger.
Then what was the point of all of this?
The truth is, I'm just lonely. The only true thing was the story the old woman, I told you about the king.
Well, I'm sorry that part is true, but don't you think if you have the power to create anything, it'd be better to do something that actually helps people? The wizard thought about it for a second.
Yeah. I guess I was too busy feeling sorry for myself to see that. I'm sorry for all the trouble I've caused you. Please, let me send you on your way.
There was a flash of light, and we were suddenly back outside of the castle. I ran back into the land as the wizard and all his personalities waved goodbye. I guess in the end we all got what we wanted. I escaped, and the wizard got himself a new friend. Perhaps one day we will go on an adventure together. On day 1, I woke up in a basket, floating down a river. Whoa, where am I? Who am I? The basket washed up on the edge of the river, and I hopped onto the shore. That's when I noticed I had a cane in my hand. I took a closer look. The cane of Moses, a reminder of his parents. I'm Moses, but I'm just a baby with 3 hearts. At least my parents gave me this cool cane that doesn't seem to have any special powers. I wonder where they are. Just then, I heard a splash in the water behind me, and a crocodile came jumping out of the water. Ah, I gotta go. A giant crocodile like that could eat a baby like me in one bite. As I ran into the desert, I soon climbed a hill, finding a small village on the other side. A village! I'll bet there's someone here who can help me find my parents. As I ran into the village, I noticed there didn't seem to be anyone around. Hello? Anyone? Can anyone hear me? Hello? I had run through the whole village, but nobody was here. Another mystery to solve. It was soon getting late, so I decided that I'd spend the night here. Maybe I could find out what was going on tomorrow. On day 2, I woke up to the silence of the abandoned village. If I'm gonna find out where everyone went, I need to be prepared. The house I was in needed some repairs, so I headed over to the trees to get myself some wood. Using the wood I had gathered, I made myself a stone pickaxe as well as some wood slabs. Then I used the wood slabs to fill in the roof. Next up, more tools. I headed over to a nearby hill and used my pickaxe to gather limestone that could be used to make limestone tools. As I was mining though, a husk suddenly appeared at the top of the hill. Oh no, I don't have any weapons yet. I hurried and put together a crafting table, then used that to craft a limestone sword. I turned around just in time. The husk and I had a fearsome battle, and he brought me down to half a heart. Armed with my sword though, I was able to deliver the final blow. That's what you get for trying to mess with me. It was at that moment that I realized I didn't have any food. I had seen a wheat field earlier, so I built myself a bridge across the river so I could go to it. I was pretty sure I couldn't swim. I was just a baby after all. With my stomach growling, I quickly started harvesting as much wheat as I could. Suddenly, I heard something rustling in the wheat behind me and turned to see a hippo. Ah! Oh wait, you're just a baby, like me. What's your name? Just then, I heard a terrifying sound and turned to see an adult hippo looking right at me.
Get away from my little brother!
He looked angry, and I still only had half of a heart. I had to get out of there. I ran back across my bridge, breaking a couple blocks behind me. Once I had gotten away, I hurried and made myself some bread. Bread has never tasted so good. Later that evening, I heard a sound outside my window. When I looked outside, the baby hippo from before was out there.
Hey, I'm sorry to bug you, but I wanted to apologize for earlier. My brother Hugo is kind of intense.
I hopped down the side of the building. That's okay. He really scared me. You seem nice though.
I try to be. My name is Harry. Here, I brought you some fish to say sorry. I'll see you around.
I thanked him for the fish and quickly got them cooking in the furnace so they could be ready for the next day. Then I used some of my remaining limestone to finish making a set of limestone tools. On day 3, I woke up in the middle of the night to the sound of footsteps. The villagers, they must be back. I hurried down the ladder to greet them when I was suddenly swarmed by a group of husks. Oh no, I forgot to fix the door. The husks tried to surround me as I ran out of the house. I could fight one of them off, but it wasn't looking like I could handle a whole group of them. Just as all hope was lost, Hugo came charging in to help. In no time, he managed to fight off all of the husks. Wow, you saved me. Thank you.
No problem. Harry told me he stopped by and said you were a nice guy. Sorry for scaring you earlier.
That's okay. Those husks should have been more scared. Feel free to stop by anytime. After Hugo had left, I suddenly felt more strength returning to my limbs, and I grew into a teenager. And now I have 7 hearts. The next day, I was walking around the edge of town when I saw someone taking a look at the basket I had spawned in. Just then, the crocodile that had attacked me showed up again, catching her off guard. Hang on, I'll help you. I ran over to her and started fighting off the crocodile. With my new strength, I was much better suited for this fight. I kept swinging my sword and was able to take him out.
Wow, nice moves. I thought I was a goner for sure.
I'm happy to help. Say, I was hoping you might be able to help me me with something. The village over there is completely empty. Do you know what happened to everyone?
Oh, yes, the people that used to live here. They're gone.
Yeah, do you know where?
Yeah, I do. They moved.
Oh, really? All of them? Something bad must have happened.
No, not bad. They all live in the city now. My dad is actually the pharaoh there. Speaking of, you should come live in the city. It's really not safe out here.
I agreed, and she showed me the way. I was getting tired of being attacked by crocodiles and husks every day. On days 4 to 5, the princess and I arrived at the big city. The princess, whose name was Nubia, showed me around. Wow, this city is huge. It must have taken a long time for you guys to build everything. Nubia simply nodded as we walked closer to the palace. She was taking me to meet the pharaoh. As I entered the throne room, I could see the pharaoh sitting on his throne.
Nubia, welcome home. And who do we have here?
Father, I wanted you to meet Zozo. I was attacked by a crocodile, and he saved me when I thought all hope was lost.
Nubia, what have I told you about wandering along the river? Thank goodness young Zozo was here to save you. Zozo, I am in your debt. Please, let me settle it by giving you a place to stay, here in our prosperous city.
Wow, that would be amazing. This is a beautiful city.
I will give you one of our finest rooms. You can live next door to my son. Ramses, come say hello to our new friend.
Ramses came running over with 2 servants behind him.
I heard you saved my sister. Nice going. Although don't get too comfortable. She's always needing someone to bail her out.
Nubia rolled her eyes as the pharaoh led us out to a balcony overlooking the city.
This city is my pride and joy. As our newest citizen, I just want to make sure you understand its history. Many years ago, I was born to rule and lead these people. If not for me, this place would be a disaster. So anyone who lives here should be happy and grateful to be here.
I nodded, but man, this guy really seemed full of himself. But I did appreciate having a place to stay. I couldn't wait to meet all the happy people in the kingdom.
Nubia, please, show Zozo around the city so he can see everything I've accomplished. Ramses, you join them. Go on.
Ramses, Nubia, and I left the palace, and they began to show me around. There were some really amazing things to see. There were monuments, statues, and lots of buildings. This was some of the best building I had ever seen. Wow, I can't believe your dad was able to build all of this. That's really impressive.
Well, he didn't actually build it himself. The people from the desert villages built a lot of it.
Yeah, but if Dad wouldn't have given them direction and a place to live, they would have been miserable. They're much happier here.
We continued the tour, but I started to notice that most of the people didn't seem to look very happy. In fact, I thought all of them looked like they were hungry. I wasn't so sure about all of this. At the end of the day, Ramses showed me to my room. It was a lot nicer than the rooms of the people we had passed. He told me to get some rest, as tomorrow there was a special show scheduled that he thought I'd enjoy. I headed over to the bed and laid down for the night. On day 6 through 8, I followed Nubia and Ramses out of the palace and to the city coliseum. Ramses seemed pretty excited about the special show we were going to. We soon reached the VIP booth where the pharaoh was already seated.
You can take my seat, Zozo. I like to get close to the action.
As I sat, I noticed that Nubia didn't seem very happy to be here, but she didn't say anything. Just then, a door in the arena opened and a gladiator came walking into the arena as the crowd cheered. Were we about to watch some kind of fight? Then the door on the opposite side opened and a giant hippo entered the arena. Is that Hugo? Hugo was chained to a post and the gladiator started to attack him. The crowd began to cheer. What is he doing? He's going to hurt him.
Yes, my boy, that is the point. That's our strongest warrior down there, giving us all a little entertainment after a long week's work.
But it's not even a fair fight. Hugo's chained to the post. He can barely fight back.
Hugo, don't tell me you've named the beast.
He's no beast. He's my friend. I'm sorry, but I have to do this. I thought I saw Nubia give me a small grin as I jumped down into the arena. I ran up to the gladiator and hit him with my sword.
What the? Where did this keep come from?
My hit had managed to distract the gladiator for just a second, which let Hugo start to get some hits in. With the gladiator distracted, I quickly broke the post he was chained to, then jumped on his back.
Enough!
Several pillars rose up from the ground as the pharaoh rose from his seat.
Zozo, we opened our homes to you out of the kindness of our hearts, and this is how you repay us? If you won't accept us, then we can never accept you. Leave now, or my gladiator will destroy you. You are hereby banished.
This hippo is my friend. I can't support someone who would hurt him for their own entertainment. I'm sorry. I turned and rode out of the city on Hugo's back. How was I going to survive now? On days 9 through 10, I was wandering in the desert. Hugo had told me to stay with him, but I couldn't risk putting him in danger, so I continued on alone. But I couldn't feel too bad for myself, as I was suddenly attacked by a pack of hyenas. I'm definitely not in the city anymore. Get back, you fiends! The hyenas snapped at me, but I managed to hit them enough to keep them all away from me. I better hurry and find some place to set up camp. It's starting to get hot out here. Lucky for me, I soon came across some old ruins. There are all kinds of cool structures here. As I walked through the ruins, I also saw there was an oasis nearby. Oh man, this is just what I needed. This oasis was a beautiful spot to build a camp to live in, so I got right to work building myself a house. It wasn't anything big or fancy, but it was just right for me. I soon finished. Well, I might as well check out some of these ruins while I'm here. I hiked into some of the nearby ruins and started looking through the dusty crates. There were some basic food and resources, but the real gem was the golden desert armor. I kept looking through the crates and was able to find an entire set. This is great. I'm already starting to feel safer. I hiked back to my camp when I heard some sheep nearby. I gathered them up and put them in a pen. These sheep give me an idea. I found a nice plot in the desert and started working on a statue. I think this is going to look really cool out here. I'd love to hear what you think it's going to be. After a bit, part 1 of the statue was complete. On days 11 through 12, I woke up to something interesting outside my door. It was a note. Hello, I saw you come to the old ruin down below. I saw you build with such passion and enthusiasm. You show great promise. I would like to meet you. Come to the location marked on the map. It is in the mountains near here. This could be a trap set by the pharaoh, but I think it's worth the risk. They might be able to help me. With the map in hand, I made my way out into the desert. I had to climb a large hill, but as I reached the top, I saw a torch outside a cave. Inside the cave was an old man.
Zozo, I'm so happy you've come.
Hi, who are you?
I used to be the leader of the desert people, but the pharaoh came and forced them to work for him. He says everyone is happy, but that's because anyone who says otherwise is never seen again.
I knew something was off. I could tell the people in the city weren't as happy as he said they were. Are you going to save them? The old man smiled.
In a way, but that work will be done through you.
Me? How could someone like me ever defeat a powerful pharaoh?
He is powerful, but he relies too much on his own strength. There are other ways we can defeat him.
What do you mean?
That city is his greatest source of pride. If we can destroy his city, not only will he fall apart, but the people of the city can rise up and escape. That city is nothing without the work of the people. It will be up to you to make things bad for him. I should also mention that there is a powerful item buried in this cave. You're not ready for it yet, but I know one day you will be.
I'll do my best. I think I know where to get started. I thanked the old man and headed out of the cave. It was time to head back to the city. On days 13 to 15, I crossed the desert back toward the city. The city soon came into view, and I started stacking my way to the top of the city. If I was going to cause some disruptions, I needed to get a closer look at what was around. I ran along the top of the city and looked over the edge. That's when I noticed there was a water supply running through the center of the city. If I could disrupt the water supply, that would definitely cause some problems for the pharaoh. But I can't cut it off. That would hurt innocent people. Just then, I had the perfect idea, but I needed to head back to the river. I ran back across the city top and headed to the river. Soon, I had reached the riverside, and I could see flowers on the other side.
Need a ride?
Hugo, perfect timing. I was just wondering how I would get across. I soon reached the other side and started gathering up as many roses and poppies as I could. I was going to need them for my special project. Once I had finished collecting as many as I could, I met Hugo back down by the river.
Hey, I found this health regeneration necklace at the bottom of the river. I thought you might be interested in it.
Hugo tossed out the necklace, which I picked up and equipped. He then let me hop on his back and gave me a ride back across the river. Time to get back to the base and start working on my secret plan. On day 16 to 19, I got right to work building a mill. I had a big project in mind, so I was going to need a tool to help me get all of the work done quick. The mill was soon complete, and I got right to work, adding all of the flowers I had gathered the day before to the machine. It didn't take too long, but I soon had a large amount of red dye. This ought to be enough dye. It's all coming together. Just then, I heard a sound outside and went to check out the noise. There was a group of tomb raiders outside. They must be here to raid the ruins. They caught sight of me and charged. I'm not a bad guy. Back off. The raiders were strong and nearly took all of my health. They had some good gear. I wonder if they found all of this in the old tombs. Thankfully, though, I was able to overcome their sword swings and take them all out. As they disappeared, I noticed that they dropped some iron bars. Iron! This will help me be even stronger than before. Guess I'm glad they came here after all. Just then, I felt more strength surge through me, and I grew into an adult. And check it out, I even have a beard. Oh, and more hearts, too. I headed over to the crafting table, and by using the iron I'd picked up, made myself some new iron gear. If anything went wrong on my secret mission tomorrow, I would be ready for a fight. Then I went over to the statue and got to work on the second part. It might look like I'm finishing it, but I have a whole other part to do. Be sure to keep watching to see what it is. On days 20 to 22, I snuck my way back over to the city, ready to put my plan into action. But first, I had to make it there, as I was suddenly attacked by a group of wraiths. Ah, you guys are freaky! With my new iron gear, though, they were going to have a hard time taking me out. I swung my sword and was able to destroy all of them. That was scary, but I've got a mission to complete. Soon, I was making my way through the city streets. There were a lot of guards wandering around, but if I was sneaky, I could weave through the buildings. I had to get to the water supply. I almost got caught, but finally, I made it to the source of the water.
Halt!
Uh-oh, looks like I've got company. A small group of guards attacked. There were a lot of them, but I had to see this through. They hit me again and again, nearly taking all of my health. I can't let them win. I must save the people of this city. I rose up and started swinging even stronger than before. I was starting to win. There was only one guy left, but he managed to get away. I better hurry. I'm sure there will be more guards coming soon. I ran back over to the water supply and started throwing the dye into the water. If I could turn the water red, people might start blaming the pharaoh for their lack of clean clean water. It took a little while for the change to take effect, but soon the water had all turned red.
What do you think you're doing?
I looked down and saw the guard had returned with the gladiator from the arena. I wasn't going to be able to run away this time.
Who do you think you are, coming back here? And what happened to the water? What have you done?
The pharaoh is no hero. He's forcing people to work for him. It's not right. He needs to let these people go.
No one's gonna ruin our city, especially a little desert man like you.
The gladiator attacked. This was their city's strongest warrior. This was going to be quite the fight. He had a massive sword that really packed a punch. It doesn't have to be like this. Surely you can see that the pharaoh is evil.
My life seems pretty good. Too bad yours is over.
My health was nearly gone, but I had to keep fighting for these people. I kept moving and was finally able to land the final hit. As the gladiator disappeared, he dropped his sword. A claymore, huh? This thing is huge, but it's as light as a feather. I took a look at the guard, and he took off running again. What a wimp. I took a look at the water again. Well, I'm surely going to get the pharaoh's attention now. Just then, I heard a bunch of feet running. A whole battalion of guards were running right at me. That's my cue. Time to go. I jumped over the wall, and the guards ran up and looked down at me. Now I just need to wait and see how the pharaoh responds to my mission. On days 23 to 26, I was still making my way across the desert. Up ahead, I could see some orange rocks. Oh, I could use those for the next stage of the statue. I ran over and got to work mining them out. I've got a cool idea for what I could add to the statue. I think everyone will really like it. As I finished mining, I noticed there was a cave nearby. Maybe there are resources inside I could use. I made my way down into the cave and soon came across some iron ore. Perfect, this is just what I was looking for. I kept going deeper into the cave, mining more resources. Suddenly, the room opened up and there was a massive subscribe on the wall. Oh wow, thank you to everyone who has already subscribed. I'm having a lot of fun and I hope you are too. If you haven't subbed yet, I'd love to have you join the team. On days 27 to 31, I was out of the cave and heading back to my base. As I was crossing the desert, I saw a bunch of camels escaping from their caravan. Hang on, I'll help you. The camels went running off behind a small dune and I followed them to the other side. I soon saw that the animals had gathered at a nearby oasis. Hey guys, you were just a little thirsty, weren't you? Suddenly, the camels ran away and a giant crab came walking out of the water. Whoa, where the heck did you come from? The crab snapped at me with his pincers as I swung my sword. His hard shell was difficult to crack, but not too hard for my new sword. The crab was quickly defeated. Phew, now let's get these camels back to their rightful owner. I led the camels back to the grateful trader.
Thank you, sir. Say, are you the one who changed the city water red? I'm glad someone is standing up to the pharaoh. I have a lot of good friends trapped in that city. I passed by there and the pharaoh was pretty mad.
Oh yeah? I'm glad to hear it worked. Hopefully it'll make the people angry enough to rise up against him.
Well, everyone is upset and he's mad, but he's made it even harder for everyone. He's also doubled security around the city. I'm afraid it didn't do what you were hoping.
Oh no, I'll have to figure something else out.
I know just the thing.
The trader headed over to one of his chests, then returned and placed a strange box in front of me.
Here, you can have this. Think of it as a thank you for rescuing my camels.
The trader opened the box and a bunch of frogs jumped out. I didn't see how a box full of frogs, which now had no frogs in it, was going to be any help, but I didn't want to be rude as he was clearly excited to give it to me. Wow, that is so cool. Thanks. I invited the trader to come stay at my base with me to sell his wares. The city wouldn't be safe for him if people knew he had helped me. He agreed, but needed to take care of some things first. I picked the box up and headed back to my base. What could I do next to stop the pharaoh? On days 32 to 35, I returned back to my base. I wasn't sure what to do next yet, but figured it would be a good time to empty my pockets and start smelting the iron I'd collected. With the iron ingots, I then crafted a full set of desert iron armor, as well as a new set of iron tools. I had also gotten a few diamonds in the cave earlier, so I used those to make myself a new diamond pick. Whatever my next step is, I'll be ready for a fight. Just then, I heard the sound of a camel outside and met the trader as he rode up. Hey, glad you could make it. I was thinking about it, and I think it'll be a good idea if we build you a shop. Maybe people are scared to leave the city because they have nowhere else to go.
That is a brilliant idea. I just picked up some fresh items, so I have plenty of things to sell.
I quickly got to work building the trader a shop. If I couldn't free all the people from the city, at the very least I could give the ones who do escape a place to live. The shop was soon finished. Once the trader had settled in, I walked up to see what he had to sell. Hey, I hope you're all settled in. I was hoping you might have some kind of special item that could help me get back at the pharaoh. The trader gave me a confused look.
What do you mean? I thought you would be able to do something with the frog box.
Oh yeah, I mean it was really cool when you showed me it was full of frogs, but since they all had hopped away, I don't really know what to do with it now.
I see. I may not have explained it very well. You see, it's an infinite frog box. Every time you open it, more frogs will come out. You will never run out of frogs.
Man, this guy was really into frogs. But just then, inspiration struck. I had a new idea to get back to the pharaoh, but I was gonna need some help from some old friends. On days 36 to 39, I had arrived back at the river where I met up with Hugo and some of his pals. Hugo, I had a question for you. I recently got this box that can create infinite frogs, and I know just what to do with it. The problem is, I don't have a good way to get into the city now that it has increased security. Do you know a good way in? Before Hugo could answer though, the small bird on his back piped up.
Oh, I
know just the thing. Hang on one second.
The little bird flew off. Where could he be going? Moments later, he returned with a much bigger bird.
This is my friend. We're all sick of the Pharaoh capturing all of our bird friends and keeping them in cages.
The big bird explained that he could pick me up and carry me over the city, which would let me shake the box, dropping frogs through the whole city. That's a perfect plan. Meet me at the mountaintop near my base tomorrow morning. We've got some frogs to drop. On days 40 to 43, the big bird met me on top of the mountain. I hopped on his back, and we flew away toward the city. As we got closer, I could see all the new guards defending it. Let's see them defend against this. As we flew over the city, I started dropping frogs. Down below, I could see the city had started to wake up, with a few people roaming around the streets. As the frogs landed, I could hear screams as people began to panic. It looks like the plan is working. By the time I had finished dropping the frogs, the sun had fully risen, and the whole city could see something was wrong. I was too busy looking down at the people when I accidentally slipped and fell off the bird, landing in the water below. Oh, that wasn't part of the plan. I hopped up as a couple of townspeople ran over to me.
Zozo, these frogs are disgusting, but we're so glad you're here. The Pharaoh is so mean. We want to help, but don't have anywhere to go.
Just then, I heard a shout. The guards were coming. Stay behind me. I have a safe place we can go. We ran for the exit as a group of guards charged at us. Looks like I'm gonna have to fight my way out of this one. The guards were intense, but I was able to cut them down and keep pushing for the exit. Soon enough, we had fought our way out of the city and ran to the desert. I wonder if the frogs would be enough for the Pharaoh to let the people go. On days 44 to 49, I arrived back at the base with all of the villagers. We went to have a chat with the trader.
My goodness, Zozo, look at all of these customers. People. I'm so happy they were able to escape.
So am I. They're here to join our cause. Hopefully we can help everyone else escape too. But in the meantime, let's start building a place for you all to stay. Out behind my house, I got to work making a space for all of the villagers to build their homes. Once the area was prepped, they helped me to build their houses. We had a real town coming together. Soon, all the houses were done. Good job, everyone. This place is looking really great. I can't wait to get more people to move in. With all of the villagers moved in, I was feeling inspired to add the next part of the statue. With a little bit of help, I was able to finish the first part of the next section. Any guesses what I'm building next? After I was finished, the villagers came up to me with a real problem. If people were going to live here, we needed a way for everyone to eat. That's a good point. I think it's a good chance for us to strike back at the Pharaoh too. I think we should go back to the city and bring all of their livestock here. That food should belong to you. The villagers agreed. The city would surely fall without a food source. This is a great idea, but I'm sure the Pharaoh is going to have increased security. How am I going to be strong enough to get in this time?
Zozo, who are you talking to? I think the heat might be getting to you, but I did find something in the ruins. It might help with your problem. Follow me.
On days 50 to 53, the trader led me to the tomb entrance. He explained that the tomb seemed untouched, but he was too scared to go inside. Well, I'll go take a look. Hopefully we can find something helpful. I ran inside. Right ahead of me was a book on a pedestal, so I opened it up. Yeah, this book isn't very helpful. If I can't even read the book, how am I ever gonna get into this place? Wait a second, what's that? Just behind me was a button. I hit the button and heard a secret panel in the wall open. I headed through and entered a massive room. This must have been a pharaoh's tomb.
Who dares enter my tomb? If you can defeat my guardians, then perhaps I will share my secret power with you.
Suddenly, a bunch of gas appeared and started to attack me. Ooh, scary. But that secret power sounds just like what I need. The gas were not very happy to see me and kept shooting fireballs. Unlucky for them though, I was able to hop around and hit the fireballs right back at them. As I destroyed them, I saw that they were dropping gunpowder. Gunpowder! That gives me an idea for the next time we go to the city. I kept fighting until finally all of the gas were defeated. I picked up the gunpowder and took a look around the room. I soon saw a passageway which led me deeper into the tomb.
You may have defeated my gas, but I am not finished with you yet.
Just then, I ran into a jackal, and boy was this guy strong. Those spears are way too OP. I was able to use my shield to block, but just a few hits from the jackal would take me out. I managed to eat some food and heal up, then began to fight back. It was a close one, but I was able to win the fight. I kept going through the tomb when I saw a small tunnel up ahead. Suddenly, I fell down a hole, landing in a small pool of water.
What? How did you get this far? Well, you won't like this.
Just then, a bunch of blazes spawned in and started to attack. One of them even managed to catch me on fire. The fire definitely didn't feel good, but luckily, they weren't as strong as they looked. I was able to defeat them pretty quickly. There was a staircase nearby, so I followed that. I had to be close. Just then, I entered another room and saw the mummified pharaoh appear. I made it! I'll take that secret power, please.
You know, I thought about it, and I decided I want to keep it. Shazam!
A bunch of mummies spawned and attacked me. They were slow, but strong. But I had made it this far, and nothing was going to stop me. The mummies were soon destroyed.
Okay, I guess I'll just do this myself.
Pharaoh hopped down and started to attack me too. You know, we don't have to fight. You can just give me the prize.
Do you have any idea how bored I am? At least this is something to do. Hi-ya!
Honestly, if this guy wasn't attacking me, we'd probably be friends. Soon enough, I had landed a bunch of blows, and he was nearly defeated.
Okay, I think you've proved your point. Go ahead and take the prize.
The mummy pharaoh disappeared. I hopped up and took a look inside of his tomb and found a totem of undying, a set of raw armor, and Horus's ascension. I quickly put on all of the armor and equipped the weapon. Just then, the power began to course through me, and I leveled up into a powerful, full-grown man. And check it out, my beard is legendary! Before leaving the tomb, I had to try out the new weapon. Outside the room, I ran into some more mummies. I hit them with the Horus's ascension, which sent them flying into the air. Looks like it's time to head back to the city and get those animals. On days 54 to 57, I emerged from the tomb, then returned back to my house to craft. At my crafting table, I put together some TNT. You know what they say, the best way out is always through. We're gonna blast our way right through the walls. I went to talk to the villagers, and a few of them agreed to come with me to help. We traveled across the desert and soon came to the farm on the edge of the city. I set up the TNT and set it off. Fire in the hole! The TNT blew a hole in the wall and we ran into the farm. Alright, you guys start wrangling the animals and I'll get us some hay. I ran into a nearby shelter and picked up a few hay bales. I ran back outside and handed them out to the villagers. With the hay in hand, they managed to round up all the animals and lead them away. Looks like they're gonna make it out. I might as well grab some more wheat before I leave. I quickly got to it, cutting up as much wheat as I could. I had just about finished gathering all of the wheat and seeds when a group of guards ran up, but look who was leading them. Ramses, what are you doing here?
Zozo, you're the man from the desert? I barely recognize you. I'm so happy to see you again.
You're not angry to see me? I thought you were here to attack me.
No, in fact, I've been trying to join you. All of us here have seen my father's power and influence fading. Please, let us join your community.
I couldn't believe my luck. Ramses had been so nice to me before, and I was happy to have him as part of our group. The more people we had, the better chance we had to free the rest of the villagers. On days 58 to 62, I was back at the base when one of the villagers pulled me aside. He was nervous about Ramses being there with a bunch of palace soldiers. Could we really trust him? Before I could answer, Ramses walked up with his guards.
Don't worry, friend. You don't have anything to worry about. If I didn't come with good intentions, I wouldn't tell you this. The pharaoh is actually putting together a large army and plans to attack.
If that's the case, then we need to get prepared. Please, if everyone could give me a hand, we can build everything we need.
Don't you think it'll be wiser just to leave things how they are? This is a nice community here. Attacking the pharaoh will only end in failure. I've seen how powerful this army is.
I think you lack faith, my friend. We won't rest until everyone has been freed. I'm positive we can find a way to win. Ramses didn't seem convinced, but he agreed and asked what we needed to do to get ready. First things first, we started to clear out some of the old ruins. This was going to be the perfect place to set up our farms. We had an army to feed, so we had to make sure we had a good farm. Next, we got to work building a barracks for all of the soldiers. This would give them a place to rest and get ready for the fight ahead. I was able to get plenty of help, so we were able to finish it pretty quickly. Then I met Ramses outside. Ramses, I know living in the desert is quite a transition for you. I can build you a special place if you'd like.
That is okay. I will live in a regular house like everyone else. However, I wouldn't mind helping you out with that statue.
Ramses then joined me as we worked on the next part of the statue. It was really starting to come along. As we worked, I mentioned that I would go speak with the old man in the cave to see if he had any ideas. When I mentioned the old man, Ramses asked to join me, to which I agreed. We would go in the morning. Soon, the next part of the statue was complete. On days 63 to 66, Ramsey and I headed up the mountain toward the cave. As we crossed the mountaintop, we ran into a bunch of spiders. What are these spiders doing all the way up here? Ramses and I sprang into action, fighting them off. Working together, we were able to defeat them in no time. It was nice having a good fighter to help out. As we approached the cave, I could hear the old man's voice calling out to me.
Zozo, you may enter, but only alone.
Sorry, Ramses. You'll have to wait out here. Ramses agreed, and I entered the cave.
I know why you've come. The pharaoh is gathering his armies, isn't he?
Yes, I was hoping you might be able to help us. I thought maybe that buried item you had mentioned before might be useful at a time like this.
In fact, there is a hidden item that can help, but it is not the one buried here. I will give you the directions to the cave.
The old man explained where I needed to go to find this item. Excited to have a special item for the fight, I was getting ready to leave.
But before you go, Zozo, I leave you with a warning. I know your community has grown, but are you sure everyone can be trusted?
I nodded, but I wasn't sure what he could mean. Maybe he was talking about Ramses, but he had done more than enough to prove he wanted to help. I would keep my eye out for any suspicious villagers. Outside the cave, I told Ramses all about the item and where we needed to go. He was just as excited as me, so we headed off to find the cave. On days 67 to 70, Ramses and I had entered the cave. Soon, we saw an interesting looking statue in the middle of the tunnel. I'm surprised someone took the time to build a statue deep down in a cave like this. Suddenly, the statue sprang to life and started to attack us. It's a good thing Ramses had come with me though, as together we were able to quickly defeat it. Nice one, Ramses. Let's keep going. We continued down the tunnel and eventually saw two more statues. We stood there for a moment waiting for them to come to life. Maybe these ones are just statues? I guess, whoa! The statues had come to life and started to attack. There were 2 of them this time, which made it harder than before. But even then, we still managed to fight them both off. I wonder how much deeper we have to go. I mean, what's next? 3 statues? We continued until we saw a larger room. Inside was a huge statue, way bigger than the other ones. Well, I think it's clear what we have to do. Let's do this. Ramses and I got to work, attacking the big statue. His big arms landed some heavy blows as we jumped around, getting as many hits in as we could. We even had to run out of the room and hide to heal up. Thankfully, though, we were able to get enough hits in, and the giant statue was destroyed. As he vanished, we saw something left in his place. This must be that special item the old man was talking about. With this, we'll be able to beat the pharaoh once and for all. Come on, Ramses, let's...
Sorry, Zozo.
Ramses hit me on the head, knocking me out. Before I blacked out completely, I saw him pick up the item. On day 71 to 74, I woke up to see that I was all alone. Oh, my head hurts. Ramses must have stolen the weapon and escaped. I've got to go make sure everyone is okay. I quickly ran out of the cave and headed straight to the old man. When I arrived, his cave was empty and all of his stuff was gone. Ramses must have beaten me here. What am I supposed to do now? Just then I remembered the buried item. I began digging around. Surely I could use whatever this mysterious item is now. I uncovered a chest and opened it to look inside. A note. You had the power with you the whole time. Use your power of hope, will, and the strength of your people to overcome any obstacle. It's just a motivational note? I don't need that. I need a weapon that can save everyone. Oh no, everyone! I ran over to the other side of the mountain and could see our town was in flames. Why would Ramses betray us like this? I should have listened to the villagers, the old man. They were right about him. I hurried and ran down the mountain to look for survivors. As I got closer, I could see several of the villagers, and the trader came running up to me.
Zozo, where have you been? Ramses returned to gather all his soldiers, and they all attacked.
I'm so sorry. Ramses knocked me out and took the special weapon we had found.
That must have been what he was using. He had some incredible abilities and had turned into a monster, but somehow we managed to push them out.
I've got to stop him before he can give the item to the pharaoh. I better get to the city quick.
That's the thing. I don't think he went to the city. There's a fort near here. I think you should go there to face him.
I thanked the trader for his help, then went into the desert. I sure hope I can get the item back. On days 75 to 78, I could see the fort in the distance. I couldn't waste any time trying to be sneaky this time. I was charging through the front. As I entered the fort, Ramses' soldiers tried to stop me. Good luck! You guys are all traitors! I ran through the base, using my main weapon to throw them high in the air. I felt like I was running through the base, flipping pancakes. You're gonna need a meal on this flight. One by one, I tossed the guards into the air and out of my way. At long last, I made it to the main tower and ran up the stairs. As I reached the top, Ramses was waiting for me. On days 79 to 84, I stood face to face with Ramses. He didn't look like a monster.
I don't want to do this, but I can't let you go any further. Your story ends here.
Ramses put on a battle helmet and attacked. Ramses, how could you betray me like this?
I never wanted to betray you. In fact, I wanted to save you. You can't face my father. He'll destroy you and all the people you're fighting for. I thought if I could take the special item, you'd give up the fight.
I can't stop fighting though, can I? Your father will never stop. And even if we can live in our village, there are still hundreds of people still being kept as his prisoners. Just give me the item and we can stop him together.
It's too late. I've already sent it to my father. Just surrender now, and we can be done with this.
I don't want to fight you, but I can't let these innocent people be captured. I'm sorry. Just then, I landed the final blow, defeating Ramses for good. In another life, maybe we could have been brothers. I hope one day we can meet again. I picked up the helmet he had dropped and put it on. It was a sad day, but it was time to save everyone. On days 85 to 89, I arrived back in the village and met up with the trader. I told him everything that had happened and that the pharaoh now had the special item. He encouraged me to keep fighting, but first, we needed to fix the village. We all got to work cleaning up the damage in the village. The soldiers had really hurt the buildings, but it wasn't anything we couldn't fix. It took a long time, but soon everything was back to normal. I then headed over to the statue and got to work finishing that up. Before I went to the city, everything needed to be properly put into place, just in case I didn't return. Soon, the statue was complete. Don't forget to subscribe so you can be the first to go on our adventures with us. On days 90 to 94, I decided to take a walk around the base. I wasn't sure what to do next. As I saw the villagers tending to their crops, I noticed the ditches they had dug to bring the water in. Suddenly, I had an idea. I hurried to tell all of the villagers my plan. With the villagers on board with my plan, I gathered up as much sand as I could. I was going to need a lot of it if this was going to work. I also went back to the pharaoh's tomb to fight more gas and collect gunpowder. As a final step, I met back up with Hugo to ask for his help. He was pretty excited about what I had in store for the pharaoh and was happy to help. All his friends agreed to help too. All right, everything should be in place. The pharaoh better watch his back. I'm coming for him. On days 95 to 97, I made my way back to the city with Hugo and his pals. Everybody ready? Charge! I quickly put on my armor and we ran into the city. There were even more guards here than before, but they were no match for my gang of hippo pals and powerful items. The higher they go, the harder they fall. I flipped guards in the air as we made our way toward the palace. As we got closer, storm clouds began to roll in and lightning started striking the ground. It must be the pharaoh using the special item. We have to hurry. As we ran through the square, we told as many many people as we could to flee to our desert base. The lightning strikes were getting really scary and hit some of the villagers. It even hit one of Hugo's pals. Luckily, he was able to shake it off and keep going. Soon, we were at the entrance to the palace grounds. On day 98, we entered the palace grounds and began fighting our way through. It felt like there was an endless stream of guards attacking us, but they couldn't handle the strength of me and my hippo team. Hugo, you know what to do. Wait here for me. I ran into the palace and managed to fight off the guards on the first floor. All that was left was to head upstairs and face the pharaoh.
Hey, hang on a second.
Nubia came running over to me. Nubia, what are you still doing here? Your father has become too dangerous.
I know. After you stood up to him in the arena, it inspired me to do the same. I had always felt like what he was doing was wrong, but it wasn't until then that I felt like I had the courage to say something. After I told him what I thought, he kept me trapped here in the palace. It wasn't until you stormed the palace today that my guards finally left me alone.
Wow, I'm sorry to hear things have been so bad for you, but hopefully we can bring an end to it soon. If I don't make it, the people of this desert will need a strong leader like you. Stay safe until this is over. Nubia nodded and ran off to hide. It was go time. I climbed the stairs and saw the pharaoh waiting for me.
So, you think having a beard makes you a man? Please, you're just the same little boy I banished into the desert.
Don't bring my beard into this. You must let my people go.
You can ruin my water and fill the streets with as many frogs as you want, but I will never let them be free.
Just then, the pharaoh stepped forward and activated the special item. There was a burst of fire, and he transformed into a giant Egyptian monster.
How do you like this?
I was surrounded by a ring of fire and was suddenly hit by a bunch of lightning. To be honest, I didn't really like it. I couldn't wait any longer, so I ran forward and attacked. The pharaoh hit me back, which nearly ended me in one hit. Looks like it's time for plan B. I turned and ran down the stairs and out of the palace.
What's wrong? Too afraid to fight?
Hugo was waiting for me, and I hurried and jumped on his back as the pharaoh and his men chased after us. They were close to catching up, but we managed to stay ahead as we ran out of the city. Once we were out, Hugo really put on the speed, and we got far ahead. There was a dried riverbed, which we quickly ran across. As we reached the other side, I turned to see the pharaoh and his army stop on the other side. Don't try to follow me or recapture the people. If you do, I'll have no choice but to destroy you.
Destroy me? Destroy me? I don't think you're in any position to tell me what to do.
The pharaoh and his army entered the riverbed, but I was ready to do my secret plan. I turned and hit a nearby button. The sound of explosions could be heard in the distance. The villagers had put TNT by the dam, which was holding back the water.
No, it can't be!
The water came rushing in, covering the pharaoh and his army. It looks like the plan worked. There's no way he's going to be able to escape all of that. Just then, I heard a splash behind me, and the pharaoh came rising out of the water.
You may have destroyed my army, but I won't go down that easy.
The river was my last plan. How was I going to defeat him now? On day 99, the pharaoh stood on the riverbank, looking down at me.
Enough of these games. I won't have a little bearded man boy ruin everything I have worked so hard to build.
My mind was racing. What could I do? Just then, I remembered the note I found in the old man's cave. You had the power with you the whole time. It couldn't be that simple, could it? Suddenly, a burst of lightning hit me, destroying all of my armor.
What are you waiting for? I'm here to end this now.
I looked at the staff I had carried with me. The staff had been with me the whole time. Now that I was a grown man with new power, I gave the cane a shake. There was a burst of light, and I grew into a massive, super buff version of myself.
What? Where is this power coming from?
I felt amazing. I knew that I was going to be able to fulfill my destiny. Just then, a ring of fire appeared, and the pharaoh hit me with lightning. It was on. The pharaoh and I swung our weapons, doing our best to get hits in. He was strong, but so was I.
You may be bigger, but I still have my lightning.
The pharaoh kept trying to hit me with lightning, but with my new abilities, I was able to dodge it. I couldn't dodge it every time, but it was clear he was running out of ideas. It was time to end this. This one is for my people. I leapt into the air and struck the pharaoh, which caused him to begin exploding. Soon, he disappeared. With the pharaoh gone, I focused my energy and returned back to my normal size. It was time to return to my people. On day 100, the world was finally free of the pharaoh's influence. I traveled to the city to meet with Nubia, who is now the ruler of the city. She was a nice ruler who let the people live freely, whether in the city or not. And she always made sure everyone was paid for their hard work. Our small village continued to grow, and I remained with those who chose to live there. Peace had been restored, and everyone could freely live their lives. On day 1, I spawned in as a baby Na'vi from the movie Avatar. I was surrounded by a bunch of other Na'vi, but I was the only baby. Why am I a baby? Are you my parents? Just then, Colonel Quaritch showed up with a bunch of soldiers.
Consider this a warning. In 100 days, I'm going to attack and destroy the Tree of Souls. Without the Tree of Souls, all the Na'vi will disappear.
Everyone around me was angry, and they attacked. It was no use though. We were no match against the colonel and his men.
Quick, Zozo, take this.
My parents threw me a ceremonial bow and some arrows and told me to hurry and hide deeper in the cave. No, wait! My parents joined the fight, but they too were quickly defeated. I had no choice but to run away and hide in the cave. I have 100 days to stop the army from destroying the tree, but how can a baby like me stop an entire army?
On day 2, I ran deeper into the cave. I had to be careful because I only had 4 hearts. Just then, I heard footsteps behind me. Someone was coming. I hurried and hid. A few military guys came running up and stopped in the tunnel.
Did you see where that little baby Na'vi went? Colonel is going to make us do 200 push-ups if we don't find him.
You mean that baby? Uh-oh, they saw me. I hurried and pulled out my bow, trying to hold them off. It's not working. I can't die already. Suddenly, something came running up to me. It was a hexapede.
On my back. Hurry. What's your name, little guy?
It's Zozo. What about you?
Nikayu. Pleased to meet you.
On day 3, Nikaru and I had reached an area deep in the woods. The space was filled with all kinds of creatures. Wow, I was wondering where you guys went to hide from the soldiers. Nikaru then brought me to the wise old leader of the hexapedes.
And what brings such a small Na'vi to a place such as this?
I told him about the soldiers and how they had ambushed my colony. I also told him that I had less than 100 days to save the Tree of Souls.
If they destroy the Tree of Souls, all life on our planet will disappear. We must protect the tree at all costs. You aren't planning on taking the whole army down alone, are you?
They took out my whole tribe, so it's just me.
You're going to need all the help you can get. I'm too old to fight, but please take these supplies to aid you on your journey.
Thank you. I don't know how I'm going to stop them yet, but I will do everything I can.
We believe in you, but be careful. Colonel Quaritch will not hesitate to destroy anyone who stands in his way.
I nodded and prepared to leave. Before I could get too far, Nikaru stopped me.
This battle affects us all. I'm strong and can help you in the fight.
I would love to have your help. Let's do this. On days 4 to 5, I decided it was time to start preparing myself for the fight. I went around punching trees and got enough tools to make myself a crafting table. With the crafting table completed, I then made myself a wooden pick. Let's get stony. Using my wooden pick, I mined a bunch of cobblestone, then used the cobblestone to craft a full set of stone tools. After I finished crafting, I realized it was starting to get late. I better start building my base. I can't risk getting attacked at night. I quickly got to work, building myself a base. I had found a giant tree and decided to build a base inside of it. I built rooms for both Nikaru and me to live in. It's just a simple base, but it should keep us safe for now. By the time I finished building, it had gotten late. That's when some spiders attacked out of nowhere. Oh no, I spoke too soon. I swung my sword furiously and was able to take them all out. Just then, I felt a burst of energy and gained 10 hearts. Oh yeah, I'm even stronger. Before I went to bed, I decided to set up some torches. No more random mob attacks for me. On days 6 to 8, I woke up and decided to check the village from earlier for survivors. As I looked around, I saw that the soldiers had totally trashed the place. Then I saw a girl running from a soldier. Hey, why don't you pick on someone your own size? The soldier heard me yelling and stopped running after the girl. Then he turned and ran toward me. I had gotten stronger, so I wasn't afraid. I used all of my weapons and abilities, but he was still really strong. It was an intense battle, and we ended up on a balcony. I swung as hard as I could and knocked him over the edge. As the soldier disappeared, I saw he dropped something. The girl he was chasing ran over and picked it up. Find anything good?
It looks like a map to a prison. Thanks for taking that guy out, by the way. What's your name?
My name's Zozo. What about you?
Neytiri.
Nice to meet you. What were you doing out here anyway?
When these soldiers attacked the village, I escaped during the fighting. I came back to try and find my parents.
It looks pretty empty here, but maybe the prison on that map is where they're being held.
I'll try anything. Let's go.
On days 9 to 10, Neytiri and I made our way toward the prison. We carefully followed the map and soon saw a small prison in the distance. That must be it, but it looks like there's no guards.
Let's get closer and find out.
Just then, a grenade was tossed in front of us, blinding us. When we came to, a tough-looking soldier jumped out and attacked. They must have seen us coming. I tried my best to fight him off, but he was too strong. This was a fight I wasn't going to win. Neytiri and I had no choice but to jump down the tree and run away. Once we had gotten far enough away, we paused to talk. It looks like we're not strong enough.
This all feels so helpless.
Don't worry, we can figure it out. In the meantime, you can stay at my base. On days 11 to 12, Neytiri and I arrived back at the base. I hurried and built her a room to stay in.
Thanks for looking out for me, Zozo.
No problem. I wanted to ask you though, what do you know about the Colonel and these humans?
I doubt I know much more than you, but when our village was under attack, I did overhear the Colonel saying he will rule over our planet once we're all wiped out.
We can't let that happen. I was feeling angry about the Colonel, so I decided to look for more materials. I I soon found some iron and coal. Back at the base, I loaded up some furnaces and started smelting. Then I crafted some iron tools, along with some iron boots and leggings. Nekaryu then came over to me and let me know he was feeling a little hungry, so I went out to try and find some food. After some walking, I found some carrots. Oh yes, he'll love these! I returned back to the base and dropped off the carrots to Nekaryu, then headed outside to start a carrot farm. Now we'll never run out of food. On days 13 to 15, I wanted to get stronger, so I asked Neytiri if she could help.
The strongest warriors would train by hunting manticore, but only the adults. True warriors never harm the babies.
Okay, I'll give it a try. I left the base and soon found myself in a tundra. The manticore should be close by. That's when I noticed some manticore feathers on the ground. Aha! I must be getting close. I looked a little further when I saw 2 manticores up ahead, a baby and its mom. I started to sneak toward the adult when suddenly a couple military guys jumped out and took out the baby. Those cowards! They then tried to fight the mom, who quickly took out one of the soldiers. It wasn't enough though, and the other soldier took her down. I rushed in. What do you think you're doing?
The Colonel has given us orders to destroy all the animals. We can't have you Na'vi trying to get stronger now, can we?
That's assuming I'm not strong enough already. I charged at the soldier, angry at their disrespect. The soldier thought he was a tough guy, but in a few moments, I showed him up and took him out. As he disappeared, I saw he had dropped a manticore heart. I picked it up and took it with me back to the base. Back home, I went over to Neytiri and told her what happened. Then I showed her the manticore heart.
That is what our warriors are after when they fight the manticores. Eat it.
Eat it? If you say so. I scarfed down the manticore heart, and to my surprise, I gained 6 more hearts. Now that's some powerful stuff. On days 16 to 19, I headed out to do some more exploring. As I wandered, I soon found an ogre village. As I watched the ogres living peacefully in their home, I suddenly remembered my own life, a time where I lived peacefully with my own parents. Those evil humans want to break up all these wonderful families. I won't let that happen. Speaking of which, a group of soldiers had just shown up, and they were attacking the village. The ogres all ran into their homes afraid. It was up to me to help them. Not today, humans! I charged in, using all the weapons I had at my disposal. These soldiers were tough, but with my training and upgrades, I was getting tough too. After a bit, I had won. A dad and his baby ogre came out of their house. He thanked me for defending the village, then offered me a jar to say thank you. Is this a jar of farts? I'll find a good way to put this to good use. Thanks. On days 20 to 22, I started heading back to my base. I was thinking about the jar of farts when I was attacked by a crimson mosquito. How do you like this? I unleashed the jar of farts, which took him out with ease. Well, that didn't stink. Later, I saw some iron ore, which I mined up. Back at the base, I smelted the ore into ingots, then crafted them into a chestplate and sword. With my new equipment, I returned to the prison. Maybe I'd have better luck this time. As I arrived back at the prison, I saw another stun grenade pop out. It was the guard. He fired his weapon at me, but I was able to sneak up behind him and knock him out of the tree. This guy was tough and managed to hit me with a poison dagger, which really hurt. Even though he had grenades and weapons, I was able to get him down to half a heart. Before I could finish him off though, he started to laugh. What's so funny?
Whoever you're looking for here is already dead.
I suddenly saw a vision of Neytiri's parents being interrogated in the prison. They refused to tell the colonel anything about the Tree of Souls.
Then you will die. Goodbye.
Back in the present, the soldier tried to attack me again. He was weak though, and I finished him off. Inside the prison, I saw it was empty, apart from a necklace memento. I'll have to take this to Neytiri. Maybe it can help. On days 23 to 26, I arrived back at the base with some bad news for Neytiri. I soon found her. Hey Neytiri, I managed to get into the prison, but I'm afraid it's not what we were hoping for.
My parents are gone, aren't they?
I'm afraid so.
I thought that might be the case, but was hoping maybe I'd be wrong.
If it helps, I did find this. I gave her the memento. I could tell it really helped her feel better.
Thank you, Zozo. But hey, I have something to show you.
Neytiri brought me outside and showed me that she had collected some chickens. This was perfect, as I was starting to run low on feathers for arrows. I got right to work building them a chicken coop, then bringing them into it. I then went out to get more supplies. I found more iron, as well as some diamonds. I made an iron helmet to complete my armor set, then crafted a diamond pickaxe. To finish it all off, I got to work improving the base. I wanted to make it a little nicer for everyone. When I finished, I realized it was missing something. I think it just needs to be a little bit more avatar-y. On days 27 to 31, I headed out to find the materials I needed. On the way, I ran into a couple chocobos. Hey, are you guys okay?
We're looking for our favorite food.
Nightshade berries. These soldiers kicked us out of our land, so we don't know where to find it. I don't know where to look, but I'll keep an eye out. I invited them back to my base in the meantime, to which they happily agreed. I soon came across the soul lights I was looking for and started mining. Suddenly, a flock of pateras started to attack me. Hey, I'm not bothering you. Leave me alone. I managed to fend the pateras off, and then I finished mining up the soul lights. Back at the base, I used the soul lights to finish the decorations. It was looking really great. I then built the Chocobos their own rooms to stay in. They were really happy about that. Then Nakaru came running up to me.
The soldiers are attacking my herd. Come quickly.
I jumped on his back and we rode off to help. On days 32 to 35, we hurried back to the herd. As we arrived, I could see the place was filled with soldiers. We've got to help them. I rushed in, knocking out as many soldiers as I could. The hex beads had really hurt them, so I was able to finish several of them off. That's when I saw a soldier fighting the elder. Hey, get away from him! The soldier hit the elder, a hit he surely couldn't survive. No! I rushed in and took out all of the remaining soldiers. I approached the elder, but it was too late.
Zozo, stay strong and keep fighting. And please, keep looking after my son.
And before I could respond, he died. Nakaru, I'm sorry. I didn't know he was your dad. All I could think about was the moment my parents died. My heart hurt for Nakaru.
It's okay, Zozo. Looks like we're both orphans now.
We still have each other. You can stick with me for as long as you want. On days 36 to 39, I decided to spend some time out alone. It had been a rough few days. That's when I heard someone call out to me.
Hey, you! Wait!
What's going on?
My house has been taken over by a boar. Everyone is too scared to help me.
Okay, sure. I'll help. Tell me where to go. I headed off in the direction the goblin had pointed me. I soon saw the cave he described, and when I went inside, the boar attacked me. Hey, don't be so mean! The boar was tough, but I finally managed to beat them back. I was about to deliver the final blow when a voice cried out.
Wait! Please don't hurt my mom!
I turned and saw a baby boar. I asked them why they were in someone else's house, but before they could answer, the goblin from earlier showed up.
What are you waiting for? Take them out!
Wait, something isn't right about this. Just then, the goblin went to attack the boar. But before he could do any real damage, I stepped in and took him out.
Thank you! That goblin was trying to kick us out of our home.
Wait, that's what he said you did to him.
He was lying so you'd come after us.
That's when I noticed he had dropped a note. It was from the Colonel. It read, "Destroy as many animals as you can, and you will be rewarded greatly. He's trying to turn everyone against each other. We've got to hurry and stop him." On days 40 to 43, I arrived back at the base. I felt bad for everyone who had lost a friend or family, so I decided to improve the base. I went around and made each room a little nicer. Now that's looking great.
I'm really worried about the herd. My father had really given them a home.
Then tell them all to come live here. Nakaru went to tell the other animals, and I got ready, preparing a place for them to stay. We were all going to be one big happy group, and I couldn't wait for everyone to arrive. Just as I finished up, the Chocobos from earlier came over to chat. They told me they were now big fans of carrots, but unfortunately they were going to need their favorite food. Otherwise, they couldn't survive. Okay, don't worry guys, I'll find it. They explained what it was and where I could find it, then I hurried off. On days 44 to 49, I arrived in the location that the Chocobos had told me about. As I was exploring, I nearly ran into the Colonel.
Aha! I knew I would find you here.
What do you want?
You keep attacking my men and saving all the animals. Stop getting in my way.
I'll never stop, not until you're defeated.
Good luck with that.
The Colonel waved his arm, and a super soldier dropped from a Samson aircraft in front of me. The Colonel chuckled and left us to fight. This was going to be my hardest fight yet. The super soldier was strong, bigger than normal humans, and had attacks I had never seen before. He shot rockets from a tube he was carrying on his shoulder. What lab did this guy crawl out of? I did my best to hit him with my bow, but it didn't seem to do much damage. The arrows weren't working. Looks like it might be time to try something new. On days 50 to 53, I kept fighting against the super soldier. It was time to stop fighting from afar and get up close and personal. Take this! I charged in and started swinging my sword. With me being this close, his rockets were completely useless. Now that he wasn't hitting me as hard, it was only a matter of time. At long last, I delivered the final blow. Looks like I'll be the one fighting another day. As I looked around, I saw the Colonel had been watching the battle.
I'll be back for you, Zozo. Mark my words.
I charged at the Colonel, but before I could get a hit in, he threw a stun grenade right in front of my feet. When the smoke cleared, the Colonel was gone. I'm the strongest I've ever been, but it's still not enough. I have to get stronger. On days 54 to 57, I remembered I was supposed to be finding the Chocobo's food. At long last, I saw what I was looking for. As I got closer though, I was suddenly attacked by 2 hammerhead titanotheres. Oh man, I must be on their turf. The 2 hammerheads were incredibly strong, working together to hit me with their attacks. It wasn't enough though, and I managed to take one out. Uh-oh, looks like the other one is really mad now. The remaining hammerhead charged at me, no longer trying to be strategic. It wasn't much longer, and I had taken them out as well. As it disappeared, I noticed it had dropped poisonous skin. I bet I could use this to make poison arrows. Oh, this will really help me out. I then collected the nightshade berries and headed back to my base. Back at the base, I met up with the Chocobos and gave them the nightshade berries. They jumped for joy and told me that they could now access their special power. Special power? You should have mentioned this before. The Chocobos explained that they can tap into the planet's life force and communicate with those who have passed on, but only for short amounts of time. So, my parents. The Chocobos nodded and then put their head down. There was a glow, and suddenly I could see my parents in front of me. Dad? Mom?
It's us, Zozo. We're so proud of you and what you're doing. Keep fighting. We know you can defeat the Colonel.
There was another bright light, and they disappeared. Thank you for doing that for me. Now let's win this fight. On days 58 to 62, I got to work planting some of the nightshade berries so the Chocobos would have a constant supply. As I finished, Neytiri came up to me.
Thanks for getting these planted. I've been enjoying taking care of the other plants, so I'll make sure these are good as well.
I thanked her, then left to try and go find some more diamonds. As I went deeper and deeper into the mines, I soon found a whole bunch of diamonds. Before I could start mining though, I was attacked out of nowhere. What are you doing down here, you creep? I then mined up all the diamonds and went back to my base. With my diamonds, I made myself a couple of pieces of armor. Then I headed out to the farm and made some improvements, so Neytiri could feel happy while she worked on the farm. On days 63 to 66, one of the Chocobos came running over to me. They told me they had spoken to a great warrior who had died long ago. This warrior told him about a powerful weapon that could defeat the Colonel. That could be the very thing we need to win. The Chocobos told me that it was in a different biome and told me where to go. I set off right away, and I soon reached the vortex. As I searched, I soon saw a temple, and I noticed there was a Leonopteryx flying around overhead. As long as he doesn't bug me, I won't bug him. I approached the temple and headed inside. This had to be where the weapon was kept. Suddenly, a Thanator jumped out. I took my sword, ready to fight. Then the Thanator spoke.
Wait, don't attack.
I thought you were going to attack me.
Of course not. I'm super nice. This temple is my home, but some other not so nice mobs have kicked me out.
Oh man, well I'm looking for some kind of ancient weapon here. Do you know anything about it?
It's possible. The temple is filled with all kinds of old relics. Clear the place, and you can take whatever you want.
Deal. On days 67 to 70, I followed the Thanator deeper into the temple. As we walked, I noticed several pieces of art and books that looked like they were centuries old. Eventually, we stopped outside a room, and he turned to me.
They're in there. Viper wolves, and lots of them.
I'll take care of it. You hang tight. I ran into the next room, and sure enough, there were a bunch of Viper wolves. They immediately attacked, and I did my best to fight them off. My ticket to beating the Colonel could be hiding here. I had to win. Time to say goodbye. I kept swinging, and at long last, the Viper wolves were all defeated. I heard a noise in the corner and saw there were some smaller Thanators hiding nearby.
Thank you, Zozo. This is my family.
They all thanked me, and I took off to look for the weapon the ancient warrior had mentioned. I looked and looked in every nook and cranny, but there was nothing. Shoot, the weapon must not be here anymore. I met back up with the Thanator and invited him and his family to live at my base, but he said they were happy here. I thanked him for letting me look, and then left to go back to my base. On days 71 to 74, I left the temple as the Leonopteryx circled in the sky above. I paused for a moment. Did you know this isn't my first adventure? You can watch more of my videos after this one is over. Just search for Zozo, Z-O-Z-O. I was getting closer to my base when I came across a group of soldiers. More of these guys, huh? Not for long. I charged in and started taking them out. The less pesky soldiers there were, the safer the land would be. Soon, I had taken them all out. That's when I noticed one of them had dropped a note. It said,
"To all soldiers, there is a Na'vi named Zozo who needs to be defeated immediately. I, Colonel Quaritch, am working on a special weapon to destroy the Tree of Souls. It will be done at the end of the 100 days, but this Zozo needs to be dealt with immediately. All soldiers will be on double shifts until he is destroyed."
It looks like I'm making a dent, but what is this weapon he's working on? I have to find a powerful weapon of my own, and fast. On days 75 to 78, I arrived back at my base and went to talk to the Chocobos. I went to the temple and searched everywhere, but I didn't see it anywhere. The Chocobo was really confused, as the spirits they talk to are rarely wrong. But unfortunately, they didn't have any other ideas. They promised to try and figure it out. I decided that in the meantime, I would improve the base. It was starting to look really good now. I could tell everyone was really happy, and I hoped it could always be like that. When I had finished making my upgrades, Neytiri came over to talk to me.
Zozo, I have some great news.
What is it?
I have been experimenting with the plants and developed a superfood. I want you to be the first to try it.
I picked it up and ate it down. It was delicious. Suddenly, I felt energy flow through me, and I grew even bigger, with even more hearts. Whoa, this is awesome! On days 79 to 84, I decided to test out my strength. I soon arrived in a new place and spotted the perfect test subjects. How do you like me now? I jumped in and managed to take them out in just a few hits. Now that's what I call power. Just then, I spotted someone watching me from afar. It was another Na'vi. He came over to me.
You're pretty strong.
Thanks. I can take on anyone.
You could be stronger though.
Oh, what makes you think so?
Well, I'm stronger than you. Check it out.
The Na'vi hit me, and he was right. He was strong. Ouch! Okay, you didn't have to hit me. I believed you. What's your secret?
Come, I'll show you.
The Na'vi then put me through a training program. He had a lot of good advice, and I was able to learn so many new things in a short amount of time. Once we were done training, the warrior tossed me an upgraded bow. Thanks, I'm feeling even stronger already. By the way, how did you get so strong?
It was my mission to ride a Leonopteryx, but I've never been successful. Now I don't even know where to find one.
I didn't know you could ride those. I actually saw one not too long ago. I could show him to you.
No, I'm much too old now, but I think you could do it.
Yeah, I'll give it a try. Say, why don't you come live at my base with me?
No thanks. The wilderness is where I belong.
I thanked him for his help, then turned to go back to my base. On days 85 to 89, I returned to the base and saw it had been attacked. Buildings were broken and no one was around. Oh no, what happened? Where is everyone? I ran around the base, looking to see if I could find anyone. I soon found Nakaryu. He was injured and hiding in one of the ruined buildings. What happened here?
The soldiers! They came out of nowhere! They took Neytiri!
Oh no, I have to save her! Where did they go? Are you okay?
Yes, I'll live. Quick! They only left an hour ago. They went that way.
I hurried in the direction Nakaryu had mentioned, looking for any signs of the soldiers. Then I heard someone calling for help. Neytiri! I ran toward the sound, but saw it wasn't Neytiri. It was a dire horse, who was clearly injured. Before I could say anything, it spoke.
Are you looking for that girl?
Yes, have you seen her?
I tried to stop them, but they knocked me out of their way. They're moving quickly, faster than you can run. But there is another way.
What's that?
Nearby is a special plant. Blue orchids grow on top of that tree right over there. Harvest one of the leaves and rub it on my wound. Then I can carry you to them in no time.
Okay, show me the way. He told me where to go, and I ran off. I soon saw the tree. It was extremely tall, and the leaves I needed were at the very top. Let's get jumping. I jumped from branch to branch, doing my best not to fall. At long last, I reached the top and grabbed the leaves I needed. Sometime later, I was back by the dire horse. I applied the leaves, and he immediately hopped up.
Hop on, there's still time.
On days 90 to 94, the dire horse and I could see the soldiers appear in the distance. There was no time to waste. As we got closer, I could see Neytiri. She was being guarded by a few guards, as well as another super soldier. But this super soldier looked even stronger than the first one. I jumped off the dire horse and told him to get a safe distance away. I faced him. Let her go!
Come to save your friend, huh? You'll never win. Get this Na'vi punk out of my sight.
The normal soldiers charged at me, but I knocked them out with just a few hits.
Huh, you're stronger than you look, but not stronger than me.
The super soldier charged at me, unleashing a special attack. I didn't see it coming, and it did a lot of damage. This was going to be tough. We'll never take our land, our people. I took out my bow and landed a perfect shot, which seemed to disable his special attack. Now the fight was really on.
You'll pay for that.
On days 95 to 97, our battle raged on. He was madder than ever, now that he didn't have an advantage. Both of our hearts were dropping, and it was only a matter of time until one of us fell. Suddenly, he stepped back. One more hit, and I would win.
You think beating me changes anything? I've done my job already.
What is that supposed to mean?
The Colonel has already completed his weapon to destroy the Tree of Souls. We took the girl to take you out of the game. You're too late.
No! I jumped toward him and destroyed him for good.
Then I noticed he dropped something. With this, I can do his same special attack. I quickly freed Neytiri. Hurry back to the base using the Dire Horse. I'm not strong enough to defeat the Colonel yet, but I think I know what I need to do. Neytiri nodded and ran off to find the Dire Horse and get back to the base. I don't know if this is going to work, but I'm crazy enough to try. On day 98, I rushed back to the temple. The ancient warrior said this was the location of the weapon, but he never said it was inside of the temple. I looked up at the Leonopteryx. If I can tame it, I'll finally be able to be the ultimate warrior. The Leonopteryx kept flying around, ignoring me completely. I thought about it for a moment, then pulled out my bow. I aimed and fired. The arrow was a direct hit. The big bird let out a screech and headed right at me. Oh boy, I may have really stepped in it this time. The bird swooped down to hit me. I jumped to the side and tried to get on its back. I was close, but missed. Shoot, I've got to keep trying. The bird was interested in attacking me now, and I did my best to avoid it. Sometimes it hit me, but most of the time I was able to land on its back. Finally, after several attempts, it worked. Got you. The Leonopteryx was mad at first, flying around like crazy, but soon it recognized it had lost, and soon it was smooth sailing. We bonded through the flight and soon landed back on the ground. I hopped off as the bird flew away, and suddenly I felt the power flow through me, and I leveled up into my biggest, final form. At long last, I'm ready to take this Colonel down. On day 99, I returned back to the village where it all began. The Tree of Souls was nearby. I passed through the tunnels I had run through nearly 100 days ago. I had grown so much since then. Suddenly, there was a flash of light, and I could see my parents standing before me. I was so close to the Tree of Souls, it made it possible for them to show themselves to me. Mom, Dad.
Great job, Zozo. We've been watching your journey and are so proud of everything you've accomplished.
Thank you. I just wish I could have saved you too.
Don't worry about us, son. Everyone on the planet is counting on you, but we know you can stop the Colonel and save our way of life.
I will do my best.
We will be watching and supporting you. Do not lose hope.
There was another flash of light, and they disappeared. I soon emerged from the tunnel into a large cavern. I could see the final tunnel to the Tree of Souls, but an army of super soldiers were blocking the path. Oh no, how could I possibly get past all of them?
You won't be alone.
I turned and saw Nikaryu, along with all of the friends I had made along the way.
We will distract them. You go for the Colonel.
I don't deserve friends as great as you.
We don't deserve a friend as great as you.
I smiled and thanked them for being my new family. It was going to be a tough fight, but it was for our home. Everyone ready? Attack! My friends charged at the super soldiers, who were shocked to see that they were the ones being overpowered. As they fought, I saw a chance to run through the tunnel. I took it and headed in. Hopefully my friends could stay alive long enough for me to take the Colonel down. On day 100, I entered another large cavern. In the center of it was the Tree of Souls. It was still standing, but the Colonel was in a mech suit, shooting it with energy beams. Colonel, it's over. I'm here to stop you for good. You'll pay for the lives you've taken.
Stop me. Can't you see you're too late? This weapon can't be stopped, especially by a weakling like you.
You'll have to destroy me first.
I've spent 100 days developing this weapon. That will be easy.
The Colonel then turned and fired his beam at me. It landed near me, causing an explosion. The explosion knocked me to the side, causing a lot of damage. I hurried and got out my bow, firing off arrows as fast as I could. I got some hits in, but it looked like it wasn't doing much damage.
Arrows? Really? Do you see what you're up against? Give up now, and I'll let you stay alive as my pet.
I'll never stop fighting! He shot off a beam again, this time hitting me. It nearly took all of my hearts. I ran and hid behind some rocks so that I could hurry and heal up.
See what I mean? You have no chance, cowering like a small child, because that's what you are.
Just then, I saw a wood sprite land near me. A wood sprite? It's a pure seed from the Tree of Souls. I could tell it wanted something with me.
Accept me.
I closed my eyes, and the wood sprite flew into me. I felt myself get stronger. Suddenly, more and more wood sprites started to appear and start flying into me. The power of generations began flowing through me. I grew even bigger and now had 100 hearts. I stepped out to face the Colonel again.
What? How?
You failed to understand the world around you, and so now you'll fail to defeat me. The Colonel yelled and started firing his energy beams at me. They still did some damage, but I barely felt a thing. I charged at him, sword in hand. I jumped into the air, slamming my sword down on top of him. His suit exploded, and he was destroyed. The world was safe once more. I celebrated with my friends. If anyone else tried to hurt us again, we would be ready.